This is the D6 generation with your hosts Craig Gallant,
little thing I like to call a joke,
Russ Wakeland. I'd put the little white handkerchief on my head and go, "Oh, my brain hurts!" And Rafe Hollywood Granger.
HD is in the house.
With contributions from our lovely wives.
He cheated. Cheater, Russ. You guys have to know the rules before you play him.
And our loyal listeners.
Drago, we made you out of steel.
Welcome to another edition of Rapid Fire, the roundtable discussion of all things gaming, coming at you with the speed of lone wolf loping through a moonlit winterscape after its natural prey. Ooh. Today's edition is brought to you by Elan, or Squid Eye, from Toronto, who would like to congratulate Wayne and the gang at the Dueling Grounds on its grand reopening and thank them for running the most inviting place to play games, from board games to Pokemon to Flames of War, in the Toronto area. I'm Geekly McNardigan, your host. Today, as always, our panelists are Russ Benedict Arnold Wakeland and Rafe Harry Ears Granger. Let's begin. Issue number 1. The Grey Wolf, or Canis lupus, also known as the Timber Wolf, or simply wolf, is the largest wild member of the canine family. It is an Ice Age survivor emerging over 300,000 years ago. It is considered in all of its many habitats as an apex predator, or the top of the food chain. Mankind has always had a complex relationship with the wolf, with some societies revering them for their strength and loyalty to each other, while others fear or denigrate them for their lack of civility or a supposed lack of good faith. Question: if, while walking through the woods on a way to a gaming convention, you were to run into a wolf, which of the following would you most likely do? A. Carefully take out your copy of Agricola, hoping to bore the wolf to death. B. Run, knowing that you are faster than the average gamer you are walking with. C. Throw your miniature case at the wolf, assuming that you do so will do some serious damage because of that much lead. Nice. Or D. Try to convince it to let you in on the latest Army Builder beta test. Rafe, feeling charming with your game of farming?
A. Engage it in a fun game of Agricola.
Ross, feeling limber? You're going to go with the timber?
I'm going to choose E. Let him bite me so he'll turn me into a werewolf.
Wrong, because the answer E is actually all of the above.
Damn it.
Scatter the colorful bits of wood from Agricola when the wolf comes to sniff at them, hit it over the head with your army bag, run to a safe distance, and then hit it up for a free upgrade. You can never be too safe, after all. Issue number 2. Betrayal is the breaking or violation of a presumptive social contract, trust, or confidence that produces moral and psychological conflict within a relationship amongst individuals, between organizations, or between individuals and organizations. Often regarded as the worst of all possible crimes and the only sin that would land you in the 9th innermost ring of Dante's Inferno, traitors are almost always an exciting part of games with a cooperative bent. Question: on a scale of 1 through 10, with 1 being the gamer version of George Washington who could not tell a lie, and 10 being a gamer version of Judas Iscariot, the disciple who betrayed Jesus, how likely are you to be the traitor in any game that would give you that option? Russ, like a wraith, would you keep the faith?
Oh, like 9.
Rafe, for a chance to gloat, would you turn your coat?
3.
Interesting, and revealing much about your wealth of honesty. I'll give you a break today, assuming you can't really be wrong here, and just assign you the actual correct answers. Russ, 10, Rafe, D10, and add the number of pies you baked last night. Issue number 3. Werewolves, also known as lycanthropes, from the Greek words for wolf and human or man, are mythological or folkloric humans with the ability to shift shape into wolves or anthropomorphic wolf-like creatures. Almost universally viewed as creatures of evil, often associated with pacts with the devil, there are rare cases in folklore where these creatures are claimed to be the hounds of God, fighting the minions of the devil all the way to hell itself. Question: although the most common lycanthropes in folklore are wolves, many cultures have figured that you can turn yourself into all sorts of animals. What would be the animal you would most likely turn into should the full moon ever get the better of your DNA? Russ, when it comes to fishing, do you hold with tradition?
Walrus.
Rafe, with a heart that's full, would it be a British bull?
Sheep.
Well, you both clearly know what's next.
You can't beat those.
Wrong! Rafe, following your adopted kin from Irie, you would be turned into a swan as the child of Lear. Ross, you would be a werepig. Issue number 4. A spreadsheet is a computer application that simulates a paper worksheet displaying multiple cells that together make up a grid consisting of rows and columns, each cell containing either alphanumeric text or numeric values. The word spreadsheet comes from the spread in its sense of a newspaper or magazine article that covers two facing pages, extending across the center fold and treating the two pages as one large one, harkening back to old business ledgers whose columns and rows stretched across two pages for bookkeeping purposes. Many war games use spreadsheet-like sheets to keep track of their armies, and constantly updating these sheets can take up to hours of gamers' hobby time. Question: before the use of purpose-built army-building software, what was the best way to keep track of your forces? Ray, for tracking guard, can you beat a card?
Legal pad.
Russ, is it no scam when you say you can program?
I use Excel spreadsheets.
What an interesting array of answers, at the same time insightful, innovative, and wrong! Have you been spoiled by these programs and you should destroy our computers and go back to good old days when you had to remember everything and trust that the other guy remembered his stuff? These programs have made us effete and no longer the warriors that we once were. Throw off the shackles of technology and join me in my Luddite crusade to regain our former glory! Sorry. Thanks again for listening, and good night. You're listening to the D6 generation.
Hello! Hello! And welcome to episode 35 of the D6 generation.
Now you know why I'm excited about episode 35?
Why is that?
Because it's the episode before 36, and you'll have to wait for episode 36 to find out why I'm so excited about episode 36.
You know why I'm excited about episode 35?
Why?
Seriously, who ever thought I'd still be sitting here on my sore you-know-what?
Yeah, but you can't go to that well so many times either. I mean, how many more times are we going to talk about how none of us thought you would make it to episode 3?
I still lost that bet.
35 episodes.
But
I know.
Anyway, I'm Russ Wakeland.
I'm Craig Alon.
And I'm Rafe Hollywood Granger.
And on today's show, we're going to have an interview with Colen McAlister of Lone Wolf Productions. Product software?
Hello.
Good one. Let's go back to hello.
And Lone Wolf makes such products you might have seen as Army Builder.
Oh, man. Russ.
And
Get that man a coffee.
Jesus. I don't know what he needs, but whatever it is, it's not in that Diet A&W he's guzzling.
which I believe HeroLab, maybe. HeroLab? Yeah, they do that.
I'm sorry. Are you continuing to talk?
I'm trying to. HeroLab, Army Builder, and CardVault. Mm-hmm. All excellent products for a variety of gamers. Want to check that interview out to learn more about that and what they're up to.
Yeah.
And also, we're going to be doing our first ever cage match.
That's right. Steel cage match.
Right. We decided it'd be kind of fun to do an interview with two games at once head to head. What the hell's my problem?
What is going on?
Two games at once. Two games at once. Head to head.
Things are not going well at the Wakeland compound.
We're going to be talking about Werewolf and Are You a Traitor? How are these games different?
Head to
How are they
head.
the same? And which one's better?
Because everybody is out there saying that Are You a Traitor is the next evolution in the werewolf game.
And is it? Stay tuned to find
we will
out.
answer that question for you
It's like Russ's,
later on, after Russ tries to pronounce 4 or 5 more multisyllabic words and fails.
It's like
Oh my goodness, what's going on with me today?
it's like his tongue got stung by a bee. What was that movie?
What's going
I
on
don't
here?
know. It's like Novocaine was actually accidentally injected into his tongue.
We have to thank some people who help make the show possible.
Yes,
One of those people.
Don't you mean tank them?
Tank them. That's you, not me. One of them is Myriad Games.
Would like to thank Myriad
Who
Games.
likes to take them? Craig, what is Myriad Games all about?
We'd like to thank them for supporting the D6 generation on behalf of friendly professional gaming stores everywhere.
That's right.
And isn't there a competition going on right now? Your favorite local gaming store?
Your favorite American gaming store.
There you
can
go.
vote for your favorite gaming store in America, and they have been nominated. Myriad Games has been
Yes,
nominated,
they have.
and you can go there and vote for them. And there's a promo later in the show that tells you where
Yep.
to go.
So listen
anywhere
for that later in the show on where to go and vote for your favorite Local gaming store.
Right.
And somebody emailed us and said they were kind of traveling through the Northeast or something, and they wanted to stop by the famous Myriad Games. I thought that was cool.
On their way to Maine. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to have one of those pictures of us guys, that are screwed into the wall somewhere over there.
Like we sign it like at a restaurant.
Yeah.
I've done that.
Yeah.
I'm going to talk to Dan about that.
Yeah, you guys go ahead and do that.
Yeah, okay. We also want to thank BattleFoam.com.
BattleFoam.com. Taking care of your army so you don't have to.
Right. They make awesome army transports and foam for miniature war games to help you get your stuff from here to there. In
all
one piece.
shapes and sizes.
You know what I'm excited about?
What
What's
are
that,
you
Rafe?
excited about?
Well, now that I'm building my Marine army, I want to buy that the special Marine tray. I call it the special Marine tray because you can fit like an ungodly amount of Marines in there.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I'm
Ungodly
going
+1.
to order that up.
I did. I actually think it is ungodly +1 is the
It is.
contractual limit.
We also need to thank Lone Wolf Development, of course, just started sponsoring the show, supporting the show last episode.
Big fan. We have been big fans of them.
We have for a long time.
They are what we would call the big fish.
I have to say ahead of time, too, I was thinking about this. We love these guys. It's not because they're advertisers.
No, it's because the advertisers of this show are some of the folks, they're the best in the industry at what they do.
Yeah.
They really
Exactly.
are. And we're proud that they've chosen our show to help
Yes.
support.
And
let
we've
them
had
know who they
a
are.
past history with every one of them before
Right.
they became advertisers
Right,
that's right.
also.
So we want to thank them. Go to www.wolflair.com to set up all their stuff, and that'll be great. And, of course,
You can demo it all.
you can, and
Free
just
demo.
for all information
all
about that.
three of
Free.
those things.
Yep.
And listen to later on to Colin's interview. He's going to actually tell you
Craig and I have
what
been
each
working with
demo does it.
We've been working with HeroLab now for our Serenity stuff.
loving it.
Oh, man. Anyway, also paintedfigs.com.
Love them.
They've been doing great too. They paint your figures so you don't have to. They'll take
By
care
the
of you.
time we're done, you're not going to have to worry about this whole
You don't have to
hobby
do
game
anything.
thing.
That's right. Just kick back.
That's right. It's just, and of course, Rafe, who else do we need to thank?
Well, we need to thank John Pryor over there at Doghouse Systems.
You
for
know what you could
waking
run
up,
on a doghouse system really well?
Blood Bowl.
for
Army
waking
Builder.
up and making a doghouse.
Or Army Builder. Nice.
Do
nice.
Army Builder. See?
Nice. You could.
Yeah, I'm thinking, ready? You use Army Builder on your doghouse system, have
Correct.
Painted Figs do your models, and then
Battlefoam
take them on the battle
carrier.
foam
Right.
and
Yeah,
go
that's
play on one of those little tables at Myriad Games.
There you go. You're good to go.
Tell them the
at
special
right there.
thing with the doghouse code.
Oh,
D6G
yes.
code.
Right now,
Oh, yes.
when you order something from Doghouse, if you put in D6G in the code, you get free shipping anywhere in the United States.
Yeah, and that's not like, mamby-pamby,
No,
I
'cause-
need two
no.
models.
These are some.
This
I mean,
is-
the laptops
these
are small, but the desktops are huge.
These are
baby.
computers you're
Yeah,
getting
these are
shipped.
very expandable rigs with huge bays for all kinds of stuff. And
I saw Rafe's for the first time
Yeah.
last week. Oh, that sounds dirty.
that's what she said.
And
Now, Craig.
it looks awesome. Russ's looks neat too. I mean, that generation.
Thank you for throwing me a little bone there.
There you go.
Russ's is like an acorn next to an oak tree.
Well, but yeah,
All right.
I'm partial.
shipping,
I'm
though-
partial to all the cool details on the doghouse.
Yeah,
one,
it's got cool. It does look cool.
If you were worried about I was worried about having my thing shipped. I'm not in the computer industry, but they do this like whole box within a box system with like spongy foam core
Spongy
stuff.
foam.
it's all
was
about.
cool.
Is it battle spongy foam?
No, it's
Not
much
yet.
stiffer.
Now, also, we need to thank the folks who purchase shout-outs for our show.
We do.
Each of our segments is a little shout-out to just a listener like you. You can go on eBay.
from a listener like
Yeah, from a listener, maybe to a listener.
it could be to a listener,
Many
could be
times
to a
they are.
shop.
Yep. So if you want to have a shout-out included and be part of the show, you just go on over to eBay or our website and click on the link there next to the megaphone. It'll show you all the current running auctions.
Yep.
And they start at only 99 cents.
Right.
And you can write us
And
one
if
little
you
sentence.
don't bid, then the threat is that Russ will twit you until you do bid.
Tweet. The word is tweet.
No, to you it's tweet. To the rest of us,
All right.
it's twit. Purple
I will.
nurple.
Purple nurple. I'll come over to your house. No, but that really helps the show out, too. We really appreciate that. And also, of course, Rafe, what's other ways people can help out the show?
The donate button.
The donate button.
It's
So
easy. You go on our website, which is www.the d6generation.com. You click on the donate button and you donate $1 million. Let's say.
Well, you know what's cool? We're getting less donations, but the reason that is because now there's ways you can support the show and get stuff back.
Although
That's
you
right.
can give donations and get stuff back.
You can, because the Myriad Games will hook you up with some Myriad money if
right.
you donate. And that's all details on their website. But another way you can get stuff is you can buy D6G merchandise.
You know it.
Eh?
And you get cool D6G bling, and we get the ka-ching.
What'd you notice
Nice.
about me on Tuesday there, Russ?
I saw you sporting the little D6G TACCOM button.
Rafe's
That's right, I was.
sporting his button wherever he goes.
And remember, we're going to Gen Con, and if we see you at Gen Con with the TACCOM button, we will hook you up with a little D6G something. We're not sure what
Look
that is
under
yet.
your seat. Everybody gets a new car.
Easy, Oprah. Easy.
No cars?
No cars.
No.
Absolutely none.
Well, I figured since we all own car companies now, I thought we could.
Oh, we're all as American taxpayers now.
Can't we get employee discounts?
We should get an employee discount. Well, didn't they start doing that anyway? Pretty much.
Yeah,
Anyway.
we kind of did. Yeah.
Kind of did. So
The whole thing melted down pretty quick.
anyway, we won't go there. Moving right along. Now, also, we have to thank some of our supporters here because they help you. Help us help you by giving us some contest stuff to give away. That's right.
Now he sounds like Randy from American
Hey,
Idol.
Bamayumba. And it's going right to Fat
At
Albert
that
now.
part, he would say, for me, for you, for me.
From me, from you, to me, to you. Painted Figs, running the contest right now where
PaintedFigs.com.
go to our website. Go to our website. Need jingles now? Is that what
I
it's called?
think so.
Go to our website. Click on the button there, contest. It'll tell you how to sign up. Get on their emailing list. And if you're on the emailing list,
What are they going to win, Rafe?
Ooh, I want to do this, Mr. Kata.
All right.
10 painted plastic Cadians of the Imperial Guard.
There
Nice.
you go.
Painted anybody
I'm
like.
excited about the next announcement.
Me too.
What is the next announcement?
We are finally going to give away these Dark Heresy books that we haven't been able to pry out of Rafe's cold dead fingers for months.
That's not true because over at Mirror Games,
Excellent.
Somebody's
I bought
been
all
working
three
on
of
the
these
hot
books
buttons.
myself.
What's that,
I
Rafe?
know.
We missed that. Craig was all
I
excited
said
about
over
the
at Myriad Games, I've purchased these books about 100 years ago.
You
Nice.
didn't
I've
been
purchase
keeping
you.
I've been
You for
keeping
yourself.
the
Yeah.
prize books pristine.
Good.
Right.
Good call. Good call. It wasn't really your fault. It was mainly everybody's fault because we kept doing other things.
So what's the deal with it? What's the contest?
All right, so here you go. Ready? This is what we have for you, and it's perfect timing because this is going to totally flesh out your collection for Dark Heresy in time for you to launch yourself into the big
Space.
game.
Rogue
Stop talking.
Traitor.
Rogue Trader. Okay, the next big step in the Dark Heresy role-playing system. You're going to get, this is the prize. Are you ready? This so kicks the butt of any Munchkin cards. Not that wasn't a cool prize. You get the Creatures Anathema, the big book of monsters. You get the Inquisitor's Handbook, the book that adds a whole bunch of new character traits and career paths. You get Tattered Fates Part 1 of the Harlock's Legacy Trilogy, which is a whole series of campaigns. Do we have any other books?
Yeah, we have one more, and I'm drawing a blank as to what it is.
So another one.
Oh, the conspiracy one, right?
The Disciples of the Dark Gods.
Disciples of the
Wow.
Dark Gods. That's a huge prize pack.
Wait, how many
That's
books
my
is that?
favorite
That's
book.
over $100 worth of books.
And these
That's
are
my
all like the
favorite
full
book.
color.
These are all the full color hardcover.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, I can't believe I forgot.
this may
that
be one of the
Disciples
coolest
book.
contests yet.
It's one of it's right
It's
up
up there with the
there.
Cutthroat
Now, I
Cowboys
have an
one.
exception to this.
What's that?
I thought the Inquisitor's Handbook was Hollywood's.
Nope,
No,
Dang.
sorry.
gone.
If I had gotten something from Ross at Adepticon, then you could keep the Inquisitor's Handbook.
Nope, they're all going out. When people give us stuff, we give it to you. That's how it works.
Then I did read it.
Oh well. You'll get that as a free gift that may or may not be used by Rafe. So what do they do to win these
Okay,
things?
so ready? I want you to listen carefully because I've actually got it written down this time, and this particular contest is not going to
Yeah,
morph.
FFG's involved with this, so this is kind of a big deal.
Okay. You are going to write to us because we got so much. We love you guys sending us the audio files. Unfortunately, it generally cuts the response down to 25%.
Right. So we want more people to be able to get
we
in.
want as many of you to get involved as possible because literally you go out, you buy the basic rule book, and then you get everything you need to be completely up to date so far.
Right.
Okay? So what I want you to do is write to us at info@the d6generation.com. I want you to put Dark Heresy Contest in the subject line, and here is the contest.
Here we go.
You will write a maximum 3-sentence declaration of exterminatus in character. That's it. Now, for those of you who are not in the know, exterminatus in the Warhammer 40,000 universe means that the Inquisition has given up on your planet, and they've decided that they're going to completely
Wipe it out.
Wipe it out. They're going to eradicate all sign of life on your planet.
So this would be the declaration. The messenger shows up.
Exactly. Not a messenger.
Or an announcement?
There's a Lord Inquisitor in orbit.
Right.
And this is the 3-sentence declaration of Exterminatus that he broadcasts on all frequencies right before the virus bombs
It's like
begin to
when
fall.
the Vorgons were hovering over
That's
Earth,
right.
and they said,
Sorry for the inconvenience. Bam!
right, your planet is in the way of the highway. Have a good day. You know,
Okay, now I get it. I didn't get it before, but now I get it.
But it obviously more flavorful and in the style of 40K.
Exactly. And the deadline is midnight Greenwich Mean Time on Tuesday, August 4th.
Right.
Okay, so you're going to have a month to do this. When we are done on August 4th, so on August 5th, we will all be choosing our 5 favorites, assuming that there's enough to justify it. If not, and please do that, because this is such a cool prize.
It really is a cool
so
prize.
please give it a chance.
You know what?
And
If
you
they
guys,
don't, we get to keep it.
what are you going to give?
We'll get
No.
Trust me,
We'll
there will
get
be entries.
I
I'm just trying to
especially
incite the masses.
There's about 10 of you guys that missed the deadline. Actually, 3 of you missed the deadline for the last one, and I kind of let you in. And then 7 more of you missed the deadline by more than a day. In fact, 2 of you missed the deadline by you actually sent us to us after we recorded.
You can tell he's a teacher because he's now chastising the entire class for the 3 who didn't get.
That's
Look,
right. It's called collective responsibility. Folks.
Right.
It worked for the Soviet Union for decades. Okay, didn't end up well, but you know. Okay, so anyway, so you're gonna send it to us on that Wednesday. We're all going to choose
Or
our
before.
5 favorites. No, because the deadline is Tuesday.
Yeah.
That Wednesday we're going to choose our 5 favorites.
Okay.
I am going to send those to Ross Watson at Fantasy Flight Games, and the Dark Heresy team is going to choose the winner.
Right.
Okay? And then Ross was going to join us on that next episode to announce who he's chosen
Excellent.
as the winner. Okay? So this is
Excellent,
big.
Smithers.
This is a big deal. It's getting you noticed by Fantasy Flight.
Right.
The guy in charge of the whole product line is going to be reading all of those.
Right.
The Lord Inquisitor.
Himself.
The Lord Inquisitor himself, exactly. So that is the new contest, and it is on now.
Right.
Oh, it's on.
It's on. Let's get it on.
Now, one more thing we want to say. So that's our contest, but
That's the
we
contest.
have an also very special announcement. A friend of the show,
Yeah.
who goes by Paul. Paul has a website called View from a Turret.
View from the turret.
From
Awesome
the
stuff.
turret. It's a great blog. But Paul was kind enough. He was cleaning out his basement.
Yeah.
And he said, "Guys, I got this stuff in the basement. I don't know what to do with it. So I'm going to send it all to you." And we thought we'd get like
It was a little, we thought we'd get 1 or 2 things.
Oh my head! He sent us like all kinds of great stuff. I mean, it was mostly cool terrain. Stuff that would make
Paul single-handedly
it's
took care
amazing.
of the Postal Service's shortfall for 2009.
I mean, we've got tons of stuff. I can't even describe how cool it is. Most of it's mint in box. It's just great
Arriving
stuff.
at the Wakeland compound by the pallet load.
I mean, it was just coming in. So Paul gave us all this stuff, and he's like, I don't know what to do. I just want to help the show out. So we decided our big thing is we're trying to raise the money to go to Gen Con. And thanks to our advertisers and our supporters, we're very close. But we figured we would auction off all this fantastic stuff
Yep.
as sort of like a channel, PBS fundraiser.
That's right.
Like for the D6 generation to go to Gen Con.
So, for instance, if you donate, no, you can't.
Right. It's like you get the umbrella, right?
But
we're not-
way cooler than an umbrella.
Way cooler than an umbrella. And you're going to be bidding on eBay. So whatever it goes for is whatever it goes for. So we're going to start putting this stuff up probably next week.
Yep.
So the second week in July. So keep an eye out for that. We'll put a post on the website. It'll be on the Twitter feed. It'll be on the Facebook thing. And we'll put it on the, we'll mention it now. And so check this out, and you will see all this great stuff. And remember that when you're buying this stuff, it's going to help get to Gen Con.
Yep.
And be sure to go over to View from the Turret and check out their stuff and thank Paul because he's really helped us a lot by giving us this great stuff. So.
This is crazy stuff.
And we want to keep some of this stuff, but we felt that it was best to help the show out.
Some of
and do
it
that.
may fall off the truck.
It may have, but it's phenomenal. This stuff's great, and when you see it, you're going to make wow.
It's actually it's a bunch of stuff that I almost bought for myself.
Oh yeah, we've
year
been
ago.
looking at this stuff before. This is not just like
this is like.
So thank you, Paul, so very much, and
Absolutely.
look for the auctions real soon, folks.
Yep.
And remember, as a reminder, because our Gen Con trip, we're going to be having a seminar at Gen Con.
You betcha.
Now, these podcasting seminars, I mean, think about this for a minute. You're going to Gen Con, you're going to game, and I don't know that a lot of people actually go to these podcasting seminars to learn
We have
about
no idea.
podcasting. My suspicion is not a lot. So we're kind of using this. We're going to definitely have a presentation. We're going to definitely go over the introduction to podcasting with our friend Dan from Myriad Games. He'll be there too. And he's got a podcast also. We'll be going over that. But really, what I'm thinking is we're going to be in this one spot for a very specific amount of time. It's a great place for
find us.
For listeners of the show to come find us and say hi because we're going to be there.
Yep.
So, and we're hoping that we'll have a nice little crowd of listeners there, so we can use the time. If it's just listeners, and we're like, hey, we know a podcast.
Well,
Let's just chat.
any seminar has a question and answer.
Right, exactly. So come on down, and
you can steer the conversation wherever. I mean, that's not us. I
want to have a keyword maybe next show, and if you're a listener to the show. And if I say the keyword, maybe you do the wave in the audience, just kind of like whatever.
Wow. See, the funny thing is that
that'd be kind of cool.
Russ is really downplaying this verbally, but in his head, he's at a baseball stadium giving a seminar. And in my head, it's like this room in the basement with a bunch of folding metal chairs and four
that's
people.
What I'm picturing.
Yeah, in my head, it's a beatable classroom and it's like 6 chairs, right. and there's 7 people. One guy's got to stand, and only 3 of them are listeners. So like, 3 guys do the wave,
the 3-person wave. Right. Very impressive.
That'd be phenomenal, though. That'd be great.
Yeah. The word for the day is.
And even if you don't have a TACCOM button, if you do the wave, I'll hook you up.
Every time Russ says leverage.
All right.
Yeah,
now,
leverage.
Today we also want to go over iTunes and voicemail, but instead of doing it now, we're going to put it later in the show to kind of break things up a little bit.
We've got some voicemail. We've got a lot of iTunes.
So listen later for a little segment about our iTunes thank yous and voicemail.
Let's go to Podcast
Video
Alley.
tape.
Let's go to Podcast Alley, guys.
Oh yeah.
Every month. You don't have to give a review, or you can. You can change it every week. I mean, every month. So if you didn't like something we did, then go ahead and do it. Or if you did like it and you wanted to do something more, you can go to do that. But do it. Go to Podcast Alley.
But it's time now for
Achievements in Gaming.
Nice.
And
Achievements in Gaming is brought to you by Beshkano. That's it. Just Beshkano. Thanks, Beshkano. And now, what have we been playing today, Rafe? Rafe, go.
Trying to think.
Let me help you out. You and I were at Ian's Games Day.
No, but I didn't play that today. I was trying to be funny, but I lost it.
Well, epic fail.
But at Ian's Game Day, I played my favorite game of all time. Actually, my rail building favorite game of all time is Iron Dragon. But I played the original version that started Iron Dragon called Empire Builder. They had a new revamp. Dan hooked me up. He's like, hey, you want the new revamp of Empire Builder? I'm like, yeah, sure.
Is this the game that's got the map of the United States and little dots and crayons?
Yep. You have the map of the United States, a bunch of dots. God, I got rest
the
disease.
2 of you.
See,
and you get a grease crayon, Russ.
A grease crayon. Crayons are not made out of grease, dude.
It's made out of wax.
It's kind of greasy.
No.
And you connect the dots and you drive train, and it's a rail building economics engine.
Nice.
It's fun.
Ooh, sounds exciting.
And what's fun about it is you need a good chunk of time to play. We play with 4 people. Probably takes about 4 to 5 hours. What I like it is it's a social game. Between drawings, you're hanging out, you're chatting. So
yeah. That
was
cool.
good. Ian's was fun
Which is
for that.
interesting because to any other game, he would say, too much downtime, I'm bored. But for some reason, with Empire Builder, it's
He's
a
not
plus.
bored at all. Right?
I actually don't mind analysis paralysis. The problem with games where you have to think, though, is that if other people are talking, then they don't do their turn. When they get to the turn, they're now thinking about their turn. This game, you don't need to think. Once you think, you sit back, you chat, you're ready to go when your turn rolls around.
Okay.
All righty then.
Well, I was at Ian's party, too, and we got a lot of gaming in. Ian Clark hosted this awesome party, and we played all kinds of crazy stuff. We played Tomb. We played Bang with the new Dodge City expansion. That is a lot of fun.
Well, Craig wasn't there. He didn't.
Craig was not there. Bang with the...
I was outside at a big picnic cookout.
How'd that go for you?
No, that's not the real reason.
That's good.
No, what was the real reason?
You hate Ian.
Oh, that's
nice.
so not
nice.
True.
You do.
Very good.
I do? I think Ian's one of the funniest. He's way funnier than you two.
Anyway, we also played Bang with the Dodge City expansion, which I really enjoyed. That was
fun.
So check your friendly local game store for that one. And then also,
I saw my friendly local game store. They get the Bullet.
The Bullet is out also.
Yeah.
Now, here's my word of caution. The Bullet is cool looking, and it looks really, really good.
Ooh, you gave this warning when we reviewed it.
I know. The Bullet is awesome, and it does come with things that can't be gotten any other way.
Jesus.
Acquired.
There you go.
Obtained.
Any other way. There's some cards in there that are unique to the bullet. So, and it comes with a sheriff's badge, which is awesome. But the bullet does not have the little mats. So if you want the mats, you got to buy the two things separately. It's complicated, but the bullet is so cool. I want the bullet now too.
That can't be right. That's not good.
Well, it's because the bullet's round and the mats would curve.
I know, but it's not
also
good.
played HeroScape. Haven't played that in forever. That was fun.
That I'm sad I missed.
And Shadows over Camelot also went over very, very well. In fact, Ragnar's wife played with us. And I would not really have pegged Shadows as sort of a game. She's a little bit of a gamer, but she, after it was over, she ended up being Traitor. And she was like, I would like to play this game again and really know the rules well, because I think she really liked it. So
I didn't know that.
That was fun. And then also, this has become a signature thing now at our little Games Day things, is Rock Band was on all day in the background.
That was
which
fun.
Is just fun because, you in an elimination game like Bang or whatever, you knocked out, you go play a little Rock Band while you wait for the next game to reset. It's kind of a fun little filler event. So that was
fun. It was fun playing Empire Build and having people rocking out behind us.
So thank you, Ian, for inviting us and
Yes, thank you.
and hosting such a great event.
Sorry that Craig hates you. He would have liked it there too.
Sorry I didn't make it, Ian. I really would have enjoyed being there.
And I got some crazy games, and I got Gloom, which last episode the wives interviewed Michelle from Atlas Games, and they had this game called Gloom. They mentioned,
Which sounded very interesting in the interview.
Oh yeah, that did sound fun.
it is fun.
Because Russ went and got a copy from Andy.
Andy let us borrow a copy. And we played it yesterday night, and it was or Tuesday night. It was fun. It was a fun
Is that
little
the one
game.
where you try to kill your family off?
Yes, and it's got this
It looks great.
clear cards that you look through and you stack them on top of it, and all the mechanics come right through the plastic. It's really
It's like the story for each character evolves as you put other
very
cards on
ingenious.
them.
So you're basically trying to make your opponent's people happy and your people miserable and kill them while they're still miserable. It's just really funny. Very witty too. The writers over at Atlas are very, very, very sharp.
I think the funniest thing that I heard that night was, is this the one where you're trying to make your own guys miserable? And Russ like, doesn't count unless they die miserable. Now that's my kind of game.
It's awesome. Also, Craig and I played more Gut Shot, and that's just
we had
fun.
a big crowd playing Gut
We
Shot
did.
last week.
And
that was last week. Okay.
yeah, this is last week. And then Shifty whipped out Kingsburg,
That's what she said.
which I have not tried before. And Kingsburg is a nice little game from Fantasy Flight. It's a dice rolling game where you pick your
looked
resources, and it kind of reminds me of Pillars of the Earth a little bit.
I think
a little bit
what
like
you're
that.
looking at is Pillars of the Earth without maybe quite as much replayability.
Yeah, I don't know. It's neat. Yeah, it's neat.
I
think
I
prefer Pillars, but
haven't
it's
played
fun.
it once. I just watched it
Yeah,
being played.
but it was cool. It was
But
nice.
it definitely looked like something I could probably get Karen to play too.
Yeah, and also I've been playing a
Oh my
lot
god!
of
If
Blood
I get
Bowl.
another email about Blood Bowl,
Ooh,
Bowl-
see, I like getting them.
See now,
actually.
see, Blood Bowl's out for the PC, and our whole group pretty much downloaded it the night it became
in
available.
fact, Shifty was ninth in the world for most of last week.
Yes, he was. Will has been
I
doing
didn't
very
download
well. And what's cool about this is it's got a real-time mode. I'm not sure about that, and we'll probably talk about this game more in the future. But basically, some folks have already emailed me. I did create a league on there called the D6 Generation. I'm like, oh, Russ, I saw you created the league. I mean, these people already found it. I didn't even
Really?
make it public. I was just goofing around. We're probably going to run some kind of league. Worlds and Radio has already been emailing me. We got to do a league. So we're going to do some kind of league for this thing. We'll figure it out. It's all automated. It's really, really cool. And it is Blood Bowl on the computer. It's not like some kind of hybrid thing. It's actually Blood Bowl. So it's very, very nice. So if you ever cared about Blood Bowl at all, just go buy it.
Would I like the game?
If you like a tactical sports game, then yes.
No. Don't give me that. Would I? You're talking to me, Rafe. Because
You know
Dave
why
doesn't
he's
think
saying?
I'd like it.
Dave gave him a real thumbs down on it.
I think you would.
No,
be...
Dave loves the game.
No, I
but
know,
he's-
but I had lunch with him today, and he was mentioning how he nothing would make him happier in life than being able to play this game with you online. But to be honest with you, he had to
Yes.
really downplay it.
That's right.
I think you would. I think you would find the ability for players who know what they're doing to totally destroy a person who does not know what they're doing frustrating.
Yeah, I think so too.
See, for me, I think that's a hallmark of a good game. But in Blood Bowl, kind of like War Machine, actually, if you really know what you're doing, you can just decimate your opponent, and they won't even know what happened. It'll be over, So it's kind of like that. But what also makes Blood Bowl strong is that the rules are so tight, they're so well developed, and the game is so. There's some luck in Blood Bowl, obviously, too, just like in any
Is
any
it
big
is it
game.
gradated? Kind of like if I go on to Rainbow Six, I'm only playing with privates, or no?
No,
I could get an
it does
opponent.
have all that. There's worldwide rankings, and you can create a league that doesn't allow players who are too experienced or highly ranked in there right now and that kind of stuff. So once all that washes out, the problem you have, though, is it's because it is exactly the board game, a new player to the game might be new to the computer game and ranked 1, but he may have been playing Blood Bowl for 30 years. Like I know when World's End Radio comes on, they're going to destroy us because these guys play all the time.
I see what you're saying.
So if you're a veteran of the board game, you can just turn this thing on, not even read the book, and know what you're doing.
I see.
It's
okay.
really good. So, anyway,
are you liking it, Russ? You're liking it?
Very much so.
Because I've never
Very,
seen
very
you
much
play
so.
Blood Bowl, the board game. Ever.
No, John used to be very into it. And I used to play with him a lot.
Okay.
Back in the day.
Now, was John going to step away from WoW to do this?
I hinted to him that he might want to try it, and he said no. But I bet I can get him to play.
But you're talking about a guy who will actually forego actual plans with real people on a Friday night because he's got a raid planned.
Yeah, he's
raids are fun though.
Very well.
Poor John.
And last but not least for me, I have been playing a lot of another game, Rafe, that you do enjoy, which is Magic on the 360. Because the Magic the Gathering game came out on the 360, and I've actually been enjoying that a little bit. Because there's no collectible element. That's my
I
favorite
did the
part.
demo. I played 3 games.
Yep.
I liked it, but it didn't want to make me buy it afterwards.
It's Magic. I mean, you like it or you don't.
Well, I actually like the collectible part of it.
See, I don't. I like that it doesn't have the collectible part. That's the best part.
Yeah.
It's like
There you go.
you fix deck, and when you play somebody, they got the fixed deck too, and it comes down to table skill, which I like. So.
Yeah.
Anyway,
That's pretty cool.
That's my achievements, which I haven't given any out for, so I'll take 2.
He's
What are you up
loving
to?
these hot buttons.
I have fast buttons. I'll take one more for my new button configuration. Look at
There
that.
you go. Okay. And he's got a little cheat sheet too.
I have to, yeah.
No, you
Eventually,
need labels.
I'm going to label the
Yeah.
keyboard. Yeah, eventually, we'll do that.
For Father's Day, Karen and I went over and played some Small World with her dad. And I think that was the beginning of the end for me. Because although...
You mean the
she
end of
didn't
liking the
win
game, or you're actually starting to lose them?
No. Although she didn't win the game, they both came ahead of me.
Ooh, achievement for Karen.
And then
And her dad.
we played at home, and she beat me.
Whoa, I'll give her 3 for that.
Yeah. And she beat me fair and square, hardcore,
Nice.
all
No
the way.
sickness, no excuses.
I didn't give any excuses last
You
time.
certainly did.
No, you can spin it however you'd like, Mr. O'Reilly, but you do not know the facts.
Right. This is a no spin zone.
Yeah. Not with you at the mic. So that was that.
All right.
Gut Shot still going strong. We're starting to make our own characters and come up with names, and probably thinking about having a little kind of a campaign or leaguish thing going.
Leaguish.
Leaguish.
That's the word for the day. Leaguish.
Exactly.
I mispronounce them. You just make them up.
I do. Excuse me. Do you have a degree in English? I don't think so.
No, I don't have
You
the
know that
Webster's
on
license.
I do.
on your diploma where it says all ranks and privileges thereonto.
Is that what
That's
one
one
of
of
them
the privileges.
Okay.
It says it in the fine
Make
print.
crap up. I got it.
Exactly.
Cool. I get to do it too.
Do you? All right.
Yeah. Well, whatever.
Rafe, what else have you been
Leave
doing?
my jokes alone.
Or is this you or Rafe?
I am not the Omega Marines.
What's
so-
an Omega Marine?
You know, Ultramarines.
Oh, is that what that is?
Yeah, so I played 40K.
Yep.
I played against Brian,
Why
and
is it
it was fun because Brian told me that his exterior he's all bubbly and happy, but his interior is very competitive.
Yeah, I don't think
So
Rafe's
when
aware
he was
that the
getting
Omega
very
and-
serious in the game, I was enjoying it. 'cause
Oh,
I
you were-
knew that he was.
Now, did you win?
No, I did not win.
Oh, okay.
However, a credit to the 40K new edition. Although I did not win, and it probably became clear that I wasn't going to win because I had to try to take down one of those monoliths.
He had
Yeah.
he had the Monolith and the Nightbringer in one 1,500-point army.
Yeah, and I just
That's a
couldn't-
lot of nearly unkillable weight of metal in one army.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a lot of.
and it was frustrating because I got to
Now,
pound.
I
on
thought the
it.
new Necrons are wimpy in 5th edition. What happened? I got to know.
Well, if you listen to people, they'll say if you handicap yourself by not taking the Nightbringer, then they're wimpy.
Yes.
Right. But Brian was cool about that because he
No,
he
he's
didn't make
very
any bones
cool.
about
Yeah.
it. He was like, oh no, this thing's a beast, that kind of thing. But no, I mean, I got my Dread Knight on it. I pounded on it with my Strength 10 weapon, and I would hit it, and I would pen, and then I would lower roll pen result.
Oh.
So, but anyway, so I kept pounding on that, which then makes you question, should I be pounding on this or killing Necrons,
Yeah.
But even with that being said, it was one of those objectives where I had to keep hold of my objective in my backfield. He had to keep hold of his in his backfield. And I still felt like it was a game, even though I felt like I was losing.
Yeah.
Because
Now,
in
if
other
that
words,
Dreadnought had gone after Necron Warriors on the other side of the board,
my Dreadnought, no, it was just regular tactical Marines with just two.
If your
jump
Dreadnought
packs.
had gone after
Oh, yeah.
those guys and been killing 2 or 3 a turn,
would have been a different story.
would have been a different game.
Yeah.
You got to get him down to their.
Rafe Boo Boo.
You got to get him. No, if he had rolled better against the monolith,
good
it would
point.
have probably had the same result.
Exactly.
But
That's cool. So I'm glad you get a 40K game.
It was fun. The rules kind of came back intuitively. Yeah, fun. And it was fun to see Brian like chewing his lip kind of thing. It was cool.
All right,
Played more
40K.
Cryostasis. Really loving that PC game. It's just totally my speed. Again, when I read the review and they were like, the monsters are easy to kill, I'm like, that's my game.
This game is too easy. Ray's like, sign me up.
Yeah, well, because it has a good story, and then I don't get jammed on level 3 because
Right.
I can't kill the big boss.
That does get
you know.
frustrating. Yeah.
So for me, it's perfect. No Latro, sadly.
Wow.
I'll give you a
And there's a lot
positive for that.
going on.
There's a sad little. I haven't
Little sad
baked a pie
smarty.
face.
Yeah.
Real
Well, there's a
big
lot going
pony.
on. Book 8 is out. There's a new summer festival. You can get a couple new horses, and I was bummed. I've just been stressed.
Can't miss the festival and the horses. I don't know what to do.
No, I know.
Especially as a dwarf.
Right.
Yep. Last week, did we play D&D?
Yes.
I didn't.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
I don't even remember if I played, but it was awesome.
I'm going to step in here and I'm going to remind our listeners how frustrated and angry Rafe was that Russ played every other week a game of Descent that took up probably 3 hours a night and took our friends away from us after about halfway through the night.
Oh, yeah. And I would piss and moan with Craig about that.
And here is Rafe every other week, not even at the game store. They have taken our social game night and this group of almost the entire core of our friends, our gamer friends, leaving basically Ragnar, Will, Russ, and a few others.
Don't downplay the folks that are still there. Like
Oh,
Will
I'm going to
and
downplay it because
Ragnar.
this is like the inner circle
And Will's
from years
friends.
ago.
Yeah, but Will's friends are there now. I'm
Yeah.
making a new inner circle. They can
you
go.
know what? You know what? You're a social gaming butterfly.
All right.
That's
and
right.
I'm a man who
Russ-
has
the
my
Russ doesn't
friends.
bother him.
Okay.
I've discovered
Russ-
I'm missing a violin button here. I need
Russ
to-
is the reason that we're still at the game store, which ended up being a good thing. But when we lost our local game store, I thought it was going to be really exciting, and many of us thought it was really going to be really exciting to start meeting at somebody's house and playing, and it would be great. And Russ was like, "Oh, then we won't bring in new people." Well, apparently we need them because you guys just went off on your own.
See? That's right.
But ultimately,
Achievement for forward thinking.
yeah.
That's right. And, Craig, I had to issue what to Russ in an email?
You apologized.
You
You
did
were man
apologize.
enough to apologize, but that doesn't fix my social game.
All right.
No, it
It's starting to
doesn't.
sound like whining. Let's move along.
I'm gonna hit you with your mic stand.
All right,
in
move on
the
to
face.
let's move on
It's
to
been so fun. Dave's one-off campaign has turned into like a 4-off campaign. We've just been having a blast. And what makes it even more fun is HeroLab.
Yeah, it's working
Wait
out
till
for
I
you.
tell Dave about the tactical map for
I
HeroLab.
did.
I haven't had a chance to tell him
yeah.
yet.
I
It's
talked to him
phenomenal.
all during lunch.
What did he
HeroLab is-
say?
Yeah, HeroLab's awesome.
He thought it was really neat, a really great idea.
Did he poop a brick right there in lunch?
It was hard to tell he was doing that anyway. It was that kind of lunch.
Nice. All right, moving right along. Modeling. I've started now. I remember I was painting the Valkyrie. Valkyrie.
Valkyrie.
Valkyrie.
Sound of music. So Valkyrie start assembling.
Dun 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 dun.
Yes, I started clipping it apart and assembling it, which is great. The only problem with painting on the sprue, here's my little warning. When you paint on the sprue, the problem is that, of course, the primer gets to all the edges of the pieces. So when you want to
That's
glue
right.
them together,
Yep.
you got to scrape off the little edges, which I've had this problem before, and it's just
Yeah.
annoying, especially with polystyrene cement because you get a big mess. So,
It's
but I'm working
annoying.
on that. So it's slow, but I'm going well. I'm very happy with it.
I can't do it that way because of that reason.
Yeah, but there's so much interior components in this one. I kind of felt I should. Now, also, I got some new toys. I have ordered some models from Weird Miniatures, WYRD. They make all kinds of crazy stuff, but they do make some miniatures that look a lot like cowboys, but they have this sort of alternate reality cowboy thing going on. So
Kind
they're
of a
little
freaky,
but
spooky.
I
cowboy.
love the sculpting and the dynamic poses of these guys, and I wanted to get them for our Gut Shot games and
Yep,
Old West
yeah.
games and what else we're doing. So, ordered a couple of them. They came in. I love them, and I got the new P3 primer finally came out.
And how'd that work for you?
I love it. I am in love.
Yep.
It feels just like the old Games Workshop primer, except it's got the new super
A
cool
nicer
nozzle.
Yeah.
Yep, and it works great. Really, really like it. So if you see some P3 primer lying around,
I'm gonna
it's
have
about
to get some.
$10 a can, which is
Which is what Games Workshop primer cost 5 years ago.
right. It's still more expensive than auto primer, but it's. I think it's
Not
worth it.
by that much.
Yeah.
But you know
I
what?
like it.
We're not priming autos.
We're not. So I really like that. So that's my modeling. I'll take 2
Okay.
achievements for that.
You should. I've been building buildings like a madman,
Yep.
and I'm now going to list the buildings that I've done so far.
These are cowboy themed buildings.
These are Wild West buildings. We've got the saloon, the sheriff's office, the doctor's office, the Mercantile Exchange, which has actually 3 buildings in one.
Ooh, take 2 for that.
Okay, the bank, the church, the windmill, and I've got a bunch of other stuff planned. Next phase is painting, and I've painted the saloon, so I'm actually doing it with a wash. Because if you stain it, you're going to have some issues with it.
Now, these are all out of little bits of balsa all glued together.
This is all foam core and balsa.
Nice. So when you're washing it, what are you doing? You priming it first, and dry brushing and washing it? Or what are you doing?
These are what I think your 2 options are when you're making buildings like this out of balsa. Prime it and then dry brush the whole thing.
That'll work.
Or
so you did with Mordheim.
Yep, that's what I did with Mordheim. Yep. Or wash it with a dark wash, which is what I'm doing. You can't stain it. Or if you're going to stain it, you have to plan from the beginning that you're going to stain it, because anywhere that Elmer's glue, which is what I'm using to put it together, is out on the surface, the stain won't go in. So it's going to leave all of those areas glaringly white. Whereas the wash won't cover that quite as much as it will the wood, so it look a little bit different. It's not as glaring. And the way I'm putting these things together and the speed I'm putting them together at, there's just no way for me to be that careful.
Nice.
Especially a lot of the roofs are actually shingled with individual shingle sheets.
Yeah.
And I'm just not going to be that careful. I refuse.
Yeah.
So I'm all excited about that. I've got a whole bunch of
stuff,
posters and signage to put up.
Oh, yeah. I can't wait to see those. You've told me you hinted at what you're going to do with those.
Yes,
So
I did.
don't tell. We'll wait till the pictures.
Okay. Well, I'll have some pictures up soon.
All right.
And I got my banditos. So now I have a bunch of cowboys and a bunch of banditos. Scale and Company number 2.
Oh, I see.
So
What's that mean?
That means I now have 30 millimeter guys and 25 millimeter guys.
A little nervous with the weird guys because I looked at them. They're technically 32 millimeters. So I'm nervous.
I saw that when I looked online.
But I'll show you.
Your GOCD is kicking in big time.
You have no idea. I spent the whole.
Oh, I have an idea.
The whole day. Actually, let's see. Yesterday, 2 days ago, we watched Appaloosa. Not nearly as good as the book.
No.
If Sam Elliott had played the role,
maybe
then it would have been great. But Ed Harris, not so much.
Not so good.
And then I made up for that, though, by rewatching Tombstone, which is one of the
phenomenal,
amazing movie. And you have no idea how many guys who became famous in TV are in that movie.
Oh, yeah. I just watched
it's crazy. It's unbelievable. And then listening to music, but that's all other.
When I got this is out of the blue, but I got Call of Juarez today from Game.
Oh, you got it?
Did you?
Oh, I'm going to show Craig the intro before he goes.
Oh, cool.
It's very cool. Very cowboy.
Excellent. So, yeah, the Banditos are a smaller scale by a different company. They're by Artisan.
Nice.
And I'm still liking Black Scorpion for its detail better.
Oh, good.
Okay. And that's me for modeling.
Any modeling, Rafe?
Yeah, believe it or not.
I know why you've been modeling.
What's that?
Can I put 2 and 2 together?
You put 2 and 2 together.
He's modeled this week because what did he not do earlier?
He did not do Latra.
Right.
Right.
I think they're mutually exclusive. But go ahead. What have you been doing?
They really are, because it all happens at the same time of day. Yeah. Faced up the Civil War officer. Didn't prime him yet because I was waiting for my P3 primer, which I did pick up.
I'm looking forward to putting that guy on the. I think I'm going to call the city Brimstone that I'm making.
Ooh, I like it.
Is that a good? Is that a good name?
That's good.
If you think you have a better name, listeners, email me with your good Wild West town names.
Can I paint it
I like
red?
it. That's cool.
Can you paint?
Just to do High Plains
Town
Drifter
red?
once.
No.
This was a pain in the butt, though. I could not decide on my paint scheme. So I've had my 10 Black Reach Marines painted up. I've literally painted one Marine 10 times. I kid you not.
Wow.
I've painted it so much that the ribbing on the shoulder pads are practically
thickening
painted.
up. Now, why is that?
I just can't decide, and it's because of what I was talking to you one time, Russ, on the way home from work was, back in the day, I would paint a pretty good army that people would, if walking by a table, would come by and go, wow, that looks really good. But for whatever reason, I don't know if it's my age or what, but I can't get into it anymore.
I don't know. Your privateer stuff looks great.
Well, the last time I painted something was maybe like 8 months ago. So in other words, I'm saying to myself, I just want to paint these guys up. I just want to make it look nice. I want to get it on the table. But when I do it simple, I look at it and I'm like, God, that is so boring.
You're having a hard time finding a happy middle ground.
I think you're having a hard time speed painting.
Exactly.
You're trying to do either super detail like you do the War Machine, you have 10 models, and now you realize you got 30 Marines to paint. And
right.
You're trying to,
So I'm seriously debating sending it out to Painted Figs.
You should. They did a wonderful job on my...
I don't mean debating because it won't come back as good as mine. Frankly, at this stage, it'll come back better. What I mean debating is in the past, have always enjoyed the painting part. So that's weird for me to think...
No, Do the centerpiece
that
stuff
guy.
yourself. Do the centerpiece stuff yourself. Do your fun stuff, the drop pod and the vindicator.
I think that's what I'm going to do.
Send those 30 Marines off to painted figs. Let them do the hard
Yeah,
stuff.
I think that's what I'm going to do, actually. Yeah.
Now you don't own the paint those tactical Marines yet, right? So
Well, I've got the one that Dave gave me from the Black Reach, but other than that, I don't have the Scouts. I don't have Jump Packers,
yeah,
so I could.
I mean, you're it's more economical to do the whole thing through them.
Right.
Right. But I don't want to be that guy.
No, you could be that guy.
You know?
Yeah, but see, that guy isn't that guy anymore.
No, he's
I
not.
know. That's
more
the
and more
problem.
people are doing that.
Well, plus the other thing to remember
Especially
too
you're
is
not taking
this,
it to a
this isn't a tournament army, dude. This is just for your own edification.
I know.
You know,
I really am. I've
like that,
decided that
Nice
I want to do
edification.
it.
That almost makes up for some of the earlier stuff.
I have to get a good one every once in a while.
I've decided I want to do it, but I can't pull the trigger.
Pull the trigger.
Davin, send me an email if you're listening.
Naveen.
Naveen,
First,
sorry.
you might want to get the guy's name right.
Right.
Naveen, sorry. for
Naveen
the
will hook you up. Why don't
pronunciation.
you send him an email saying, Naveen, here's what I'm thinking. He will tell you all about it.
Can't pull the trigger, but
Look you up.
if somebody, Luke, email me. Somebody help me out. And then Craig, way back when Gordon had a store, and I bought that. I call it the transistor station. It was in a blue box, and you had like 6 sprues, and you put them together in their big route like an oil refinery.
Yep.
Yeah, I was building that too. Man, I had a blast building that thing.
I built one of those a while ago.
So I built that.
Those
That's
are
my
fun.
modeling.
You get cheated for that.
Now, is it the one with all the pipes, or is it the one
Yes.
with? Yeah,
Nice.
that's a lot of fun.
All right. In other things we've been doing,
Yep.
just a quick summary of Russ's movie season so far. I've been catching up my movies.
Not just your movie season, buddy. I've seen all the ones you've seen
All right,
plus.
here we go. This is the order of the movies I prefer.
Oh yeah, I didn't see that.
Interesting.
All right. So I would say of the movies I've seen so far this summer, Up was my favorite in terms of cinema. And then I would say Star Trek in terms of great sci-fi. Then I'd say Transformers and just a fun film. Plus I like the political subtext. And last and way down near the bottom is the only epic fail so far. I think Terminator was not that good. Didn't like it.
For me, I haven't seen Up, which I know is a crime.
You
Russ
should.
has been evangelizing Up.
Oh, it's awesome.
He's not like, yeah, Up was good. He's like, Up is an awesome movie. You need to see it.
Dude, it's Pixar.
Well,
It
it's
can't
because
suck.
his true faith in the company there, Disney made it.
Right.
Oh, no, dude, Up is phenomenal.
But God forbid you mention to him that, I'm going to do it again. I'm going to do it again. Screw you.
Do it again.
That people didn't like it. He's like, that's not true.
No, dude,
Nobody I knew.
It's one of the most critically acclaimed movies of the year.
It is
dude.
not
Yes, it
one
is.
of the most critically acclaimed movies.
Send your email to Craig at
the
the D6generation.com. This is like last
send
year.
Send links to negative reviews to Russ.
This is like last year where Craig's like, Wally was okay, but Wanted was a far superior film, and we got like 6 level 2
I never
iTunes
said
reviews.
superior film. I said first of all, I don't think those words, other than making fun of you, have ever escaped my lips. I said I enjoyed it more.
So what's your take on your summer films so far?
Other
Craig?
than that, I would put them probably in the same order. Although Transformers and Star Trek but Star Trek was good, but I'll say Star Trek and Transformers in that order.
I think Transformers is a little bit lower because it has that whole scene from Gremlins in it, which wasn't necessary.
Yeah, I don't really like the twins either, but they weren't in it.
Yeah.
They didn't Jar Jar the movie.
No, but there was
They
nothing like
weren't
that in
big
Star
enough,
Trek.
but-
Star Trek was solid the whole way.
No, you're right.
That's
That's why I said.
all right.
You can't even
I'm
agree
not,
with
no,
him.
just-
Jeez.
What did you have for
True.
dinner?
He gets on his
Man.
rant about
What-
Disney and Up.
I know.
Just forget it.
It's just forget about it.
Just
forget about it.
Who do you agree with? Send email to
I did
Craig.
not think.
What?
I did not think Terminator kind of sucked.
You didn't? Wow.
No, I didn't.
So now
I
you're
thought-
telling me that
Because I
Up was
wanna
not
see
good
it.
and Terminator was awesome.
Oh, is that what I said?
I think
Russ?
so.
I feel like I'm talking with my angry wife. That's right. The words coming out of my mouth,
So now
not
he's
exactly
saying-
what he's hearing.
Now he's saying Terminator is better than Up. That's what I heard.
I haven't seen Up.
Okay.
All I commented on was
He hasn't even seen Up, and he's saying Terminator's better than it
Craig,
now.
Craig, the operative word is it's what I heard.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah. So anyway, I would still put Terminator down there at the bottom, but I didn't think it sucked. It had some awesome that opening scene where they're assaulting.
No, the effects were great, but the story was totally
the story.
pants.
The story
Is that the movie where Christian Bale went off? Was it
Yeah.
from Terminator?
Yeah, and Karen actually pinpointed the scene where he went off.
The story
which
is
is kinda
total
funny.
pants. What's this Hangover thing?
Hangover is a movie.
What is that?
It's the highest. It's the critically acclaimed, highest-ranking R-rated comedy ever made.
Really?
It's like totally blown the pants, literally off everything ever.
Really? So is the Hangover is this like a Hugh Grant movie?
You've never heard of the
You love this,
Hangover?
don't you?
No, actually, I enjoyed it, but it to me it was like one of those kind of like wild, a little bit over the top movies.
Yeah.
It had some.
Hugh Grant movie.
Hugh Grant hasn't made a movie in 5 years, but that's okay.
I know what Hangovers. Hangovers the one where they all go to
Hugh Grant.
Vegas and they happens.
What happens to them?
They
You
get some
don't know.
There's some kind of problem.
Oh my
That's in the
God!
preview.
Did you hear that? He didn't like it. He didn't even see it.
I
Oh
didn't
my
see it.
God!
I'm just saying, I didn't see it.
One of the
Calm
guys.
down, dude. Man,
One
what's
of
up
the
with
guys. Yeah, really. One of the guys actually purposefully gives them all roofies, thinking that he's giving them all acid to make their experience a little bit better, and then they all black out and they can't remember what happened.
Nice.
And over the course of the movie, they have to slowly piece together what happened the night before that resulted in a tiger in the bedroom.
You gonna give spoilers away now? I'm just warning. Spoiler warning.
I hope that came across because I did literally just hit him in the head with his mic. I really hope.
Oh,
that
see,
sound
people
came
thought the
across.
last show was a little dull. We got to liven it up a little bit. All right, so here we go.
A good premise.
All right, so
it was very funny. I mean, it wasn't like the best movie ever.
I know, geez, who
And,
keeps saying that all the time? It's so
And,
annoying.
I mean, like, it wasn't a fantastic film. But
Say it. Jeez.
but yeah, but it was funny
How's
and
it
it
compare to
entertained
Up,
me.
Greg?
How does it? I don't know. I haven't seen Up. And
like
unlike some people of our acquaintance, I wouldn't review a movie I haven't seen.
Good.
Is Hangover worth movie ticket money or rental?
I have to get an achievement for.
If you have children, it's probably rental material.
Okay.
I mean,
Is Terminator a rental or movie
that's a
theater?
definitely rental.
total rental.
Oh,
Definitely.
it is. It's that bad.
Oh, it's pants, dude.
It's not pants.
Is Transformers
You-
movie
you
theater?
should
right?
really
Transformer
see that
must
in
be
the
seen in the
movies.
theater near the front row so you can absorb the craziness that is that film.
Yeah.
Perfectly
Okay.
IMAX. That movie
Right.
is incredible.
Even if you're not like, I did like the last Transformer movie,
Yeah,
but I'm
no,
not a Transformer geek. I don't know.
No,
any
you
of
don't-
the
neither
people.
was
you don't
I.
have- Neither am I. You're not.
Okay. All right.
And I would say this story was at least as good as the first.
I think so
story.
too. I like. It.
Okay. Cool.
All right, now I was requested.
Basically, what I've done is actually try to put off the next bullet point.
See, now I didn't want to put this in here.
I'm even a little nervous
But
about the next
Facebook,
bullet
the Facebook folks asked me to put this in here because what turns out is Nicole and I are discussing some things on Facebook, and on Sunday I had to fix the toilet. So I have been asked to take in a toilet achievement this week. So here you go.
Which has
There
about
it
as
is.
much to do with gaming as Rafe's modeling advice.
It's just the other category. I fixed the toilet. That's all I'm saying. No, the reason it has something to do with gaming is here's what happened. Okay, so Saturday night I went to Ian's.
Let's take up
Here
more-
I'm going to bring
let's
it
take
together.
up more time.
So Saturday night I went to Ian's party. I was out till like 1 a.m, and Nicole put on the Twitter feed that she hates when I go out to 1 a.m. and game because then I'm always cranky the next day because I'm tired. And on Facebook I
So
said,
she's doing her nagging on
not,
Twitter.
yes. So and on Facebook,
Gee,
so I
I'm
got
so
to
sad
respond.
Karen doesn't have posting
So
privileges.
I was able to say, look, wait, I not only was I not grumpy, but I fixed the toilet. And then the guys on Facebook were like, you should take an achievement for that. So that's how that's the story.
Uh-huh.
And it does come back to gaming. So there, I'll take another
Interesting.
achievement for bringing that in.
Wow.
There you go.
So your little domestic squabbles are on the Twitter
They are.
feed now?
It's all for the world to see. Yep, pretty much.
Interesting.
My life is an open book.
Wow. I'm going to go back to what I said about Facebook, and privacy
All right.
in America is dead, and we
And
can thank those two.
It's getting really long, so I'm going to
Thanks.
stop with achievements now. What do you guys got?
I'm picturing Russ at Ian's gate and he's checking.
HeroLab's awesome. This,
Juno.
No, I don't check my Twitter feed while I'm gaming.
This,
I have standards.
HeroLab's awesome. You hear about it later on in a lot of the
Yeah.
things that I did. Yay.
my God.
And that's all I've got.
What do you got, Granger?
I'm still laughing over you getting shootout.
All right. Well, is that the end of achievements then?
What's a Welsh building?
No, I'm not.
It's a bulldog. A Welsh bulldog.
Oh,
right.
Bulldog. Yeah.
I need to know,
we
Russ, does this count if I'm off the grid? I called up Comcast,
Yeah.
and I was all ready to go with Vonage,
Yeah.
and they matched Vonage's price.
Yeah.
So I didn't have to go to Vonage.
Yeah.
Canceled all that junky cable.
Yeah.
I got just the basic cable. Canceled TiVo.
Nice.
Just have the internet.
There you go.
So am I off the grid? Because I
think
still have
you're-
the phone through Comcast. Because
Well, no, I think you're as off the grid as you can get. While still,
right?
If you're not recording shows on DVR and you're watching most of your shows over the internet, then I'd say you're close. You've
Well, I haven't gone to the
produced-
internet part because we just haven't watched shows.
Well,
but
so that's
yeah.
fine too. Watching less TV is okay.
Okay.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, Army
We're not
building
really off the
equals
grid.
awesome.
We're as off the grid as we can get, and still being using the
Yeah.
internet from there.
Yeah, so Rafe's off the grid.
Yeah,
And it was funny. It was funny, Russ. I was listening to an old episode, and I was saying, Russ, I think you're onto something. I'm probably like 2 years away. It's only been 1 year away. So
That's
I'm
right.
1 year away.
There you go.
Yeah. So Army Builder's awesome. That's important to know because A, of our interview, B, because I'm playing 40K around, so back into Army Builder.
All right.
And Craig, I got a Welsh Bulldog.
Yes, I met her.
I've decided it's not an English bulldog. I've decided she's a Welsh bulldog.
Oh, nice. Achievement for
So way to
dog.
go, Owen. And have a big debate, Russ.
Uh-huh.
What to do. Do I get Wolverine?
Yeah.
Do I get Blood Bowl?
Yeah.
Do I play Lacho, or do I get Sims 3?
Of those games,
You
I
do
think
more painting.
I think you'd enjoy Wolverine the most of those games.
Wolverine, okay.
Yep.
And Craig already talked about why he's so pissed at me up in the other segment.
Yes. All right.
I'm not pissed at anybody. I'm just disappointed.
I'm disappointed you haven't seen Up yet. All right.
Yeah, you keep being disappointed.
That's achievements.
We will pass through the American patrols, past their sonar nets, and lay off their largest city, and listen to their D6 generation while we play our Russian board games.
Dice are our vice.
Greetings from Myriad Games, your friendly professional game store.
We hope you're enjoying our Myriad Games presentation.
Each of our shows are topically titled so that you can see at a glance if there's something that piques your interest.
You can subscribe through the links at myriadgames.com or through iTunes.
Please email us through myriadgames.com with your comments, questions, suggestions, abuse, and general ridicule. If you enjoy our shows, we encourage you to post a positive review on iTunes. We'll even send you a free pair of Myriad Games dice as a token of our appreciation for your support. Myriad Games has been nominated for America's Favorite Game Store. Voting is open July 1st through July 15th at favoritegamestore.com. We humbly invite you to lend us your support in our ongoing efforts to be your favorite game store. Vote today at favoritegamestore.com.
For more about a myriad of games, visit your friendly professional game store and be sure to visit us online at myriadgames.com.
Myriad Games. So many games, so little time.
So start playing.
And now, the news. Brought to you today by Beshkano. Welcome, my fellow game lovers from around the world. And now it's time for me to get down with you one-on-one for this brief period in the show and talk to you about my favorite topic, gaming news. Let me check out what the latest thing here is in my stack of stuff. Oh, look, here we go. Dominion wins the Spiel des Jahres Award. Now, this is pretty unusual because the Spiel des Jahres Awards are German, and they've been going on annually, obviously, for since 1978, and of course it means Game of the Year. And this award is usually awarded to very family-style games that are very simple, easy to play. Not that they're easy to master, just very simple, straightforward rule set that the entire family can enjoy. And past winners have been things like Ticket to Ride, Carcassonne, and Settlers of Catan. Now, Dominion winning this thing was pretty big. We haven't really talked Dominion much about Dominion much on the show here, but Dominion is a card game. Comes in a big box, and there's all kinds of different ways you can build your deck as you play the game. It's not super complex, but it was thought to be too complex possibly to win this coveted award, just because it's much more complex than games in the past. But it did pull it out, which is very exciting, and maybe this is sort of a sign that family games are getting a little more complicated out there. And it did manage to beat Pandemic, as well as some other great games. So that was pretty impressive. That was kind of interesting. So what else we got here? Let's see. How many games did Michael Jackson play? We've talked about him enough this week. Oh, look, here we go. Privateer Press announces the release of a game called Grind. And Grind is going to be a board game. Now, Privateer released a special rule set for Grind that you could use the Iron Kingdom's models to play. But now they're going to release, this is coming out, this fall, a boxed board game that's going to come with 10 plastic game jacks, and the jack in their universe is a war machine. It's like a big metal steam-powered robot. There's going to be 10 plastic jacks in there, 5 of them red, 5 of them blue, with customizable weapons that it looks like you can snap them on and off to change what they're armed with, sort of different. I don't mean like shooting weapons as much as they may be. We don't really know, but it's more like different weapons they use in the game, like different kinds of equipment. There's going to be 10-ton war jacks trying to smash each other and get this giant spiked ball to roll down the hole, which is essentially the goal on their side of the board. Looks kind of like Blood Bowl meets the Iron Kingdoms a little bit. It's going to come with a 22-inch by 31-inch game board, and it's going to reuse the Monster Apocalypse dice. So if you're familiar with Monster Apocalypse, then you know what kind of dice are going to be in the game. Looks very much like a hybrid game. We kind of talked about that a little bit last episode, or a couple episodes ago. We talked about miniature war games and what games might be a good way to intro you to miniature war games. And some folks actually emailed us saying Blood Bowl might be a great way to do this because it is a board game, but also you can paint your guys. But, of course, Blood Bowl's kind of hard to find. This is a specialist game, but this game, Grind, might be a great way to get started as well. Although because the pieces are already pre-colored either red or blue, you certainly don't have to paint the game. So yeah, it's going to be Iron Kingdoms in the sports. And the other exciting news is being headed up by Eric, the baddest man in gaming, Yapel, who we actually interviewed on the show a few episodes ago. And it's coming out in October, so hopefully we'll have more information about that as it gets closer. Let's see, 1 versus 100 on the Xbox is starting to give out prizes for skill. They were just giving out, that's not very exciting, I guess. They were just giving out prizes for random drawings. You play the game, and now if you actually play the online game show, you actually get prizes if you do well, apparently, starting next week. But that's a little fuzzy. They're not really having announced exactly. But that's 1 versus 100 on Xbox Live if you're into live game shows with 30,000 people or more. Oh, here we go. Here's something really interesting. Fantasy Flight Games has just put out Road to Legend Descent plot cards for free for download in PDF formats. Now you can download new plot cards for your Descent Road to Legends campaign. The plot cards are used by the Overlord during the campaign to give him sort of special objectives. It's another way he can win the game. Sort of adds a lot of theme to the game, and this gives a whole new theme for a few simple cards. Makes the game a little more interesting. So if you played a lot of Road to Legend and you wish you had some new fluff for your campaign, check out the Fantasy Flight Games website, and of course that's totally free. Can't go wrong with that. We like to see free stuff so companies give them out, so keep more coming, please. Oh, and speaking of Fantasy Flight Games, remember a few episodes ago we talked about the Battlelore Hero previews, and now the Rogue preview is out up on the Fantasy Flight Games website, so you want to check that out too. Last time they previewed the Cleric, and these are new hero classes that you can basically command as the leaders of your army, and that will eventually level up and get more powerful as you play the game. Kind of neat. Oh, and one more piece of news about Fantasy Flight Games. I think I have it here someplace. I know it's in here. Oh, there it is. Fantasy Flight Games is making the older Warhammer Fantasy Battle RPG stuff available as PDFs. They just released, I think, 2 or 3. The Old World Armory, Plunder Vaults, and the GM Pack and Toolkit are now all available through your favorite PDF store online to get those. So check out, I think it's RPG Now and one other one. Go check out fantasyflightgames.com for that information. Oh, here's a funny one. So, yeah, just because you need more iPhone apps, right? Because there's not enough of them to go look through your iPhone. So they got a brand new one now. It's the Munchkin level counter for your iPhone. That's right, folks. Right for your iPhone. You can actually, it tracks the level of your Munchkin because it's pretty hard to find something to track them with. We use Battlelore figures, but I guess if you want to use your iPhone, you could. It tracks the level, it rolls the dice, and it gives you an occasional in-game bonus card that just appears in the iPhone, I guess, and gives you a bonus stat in the game. This is available from the Steve Jackson's website, Steve Jackson Games website, and of course, I think it's the low price of like $5. So if you've always been wishing you had a Munchkin app for your iPhone, now it's time. And here's a little bit story from a little known manufacturer, not quite as well known. Weird Miniatures they've been making sort of they've been kind of a quiet little studio. They do great artwork, and they also been making little miniatures on their own for a while now. But they have announced the release or pending release of the Malifaux, I think that's how you pronounce it, game, and it's going to be a alternate reality Western game, which is going to merge sort of the Western theme with magic and sort of some kind of chaos invasion of the universe there. And they have got some preview pics of some of their new factions up on their website already. They came out on July 4th, and some of those preview pics include some guild wallpaper for your from the guild faction for your computer, as well as some stat card pics of one of the characters, so you can check out how their stat cards are going to look. And there's a sample card art from the Fate deck. Now, what's interesting about the Malifaux system, Malifaux, someone else email me and tell you how to pronounce that. If anybody at Weird Miniatures is listening, you know my inability to pronounce anything correctly at all. So, and by the way, Weird Miniatures, if you're looking for their website, it's WYRD. But yeah, you got to check out this game. It sounds kind of interesting. What they're going to use for combat system, instead of dice, you're going to use decks of cards. You're going to draw cards and somehow build a hand, and those cards are going to somehow determine combat. And while you can use a regular deck of cards, apparently the game is going to come or be able to buy specialized, stylized decks specifically for the game with more artwork and more details on the cards. So you don't have to remember that the 4 of clubs does this. It'll tell you on the cards. It's kind of neat. And that's what's in the news.
Are you having trouble fitting your whole army into one carrying case? Ever had your heavy centerpiece models break through the sides of their foam tray to scrape against their neighbors? You'll never have to worry about any of this again with Battle Foam. The trays from Battle Foam will hold over 30% more models than any standard tray, and they make foam to fit any box, including all manufacturers' carrying cases. What's more, they will custom cut your foam trays to fit any miniature. The boys at battlefoam.com can even personalize each tray by etching Army logos, personal text, or images right onto the foam. So go to battlefoam.com right now and pick up the best foam on the market. You've spent more time and money than anyone wants to think about on your models. Shouldn't they be as safe as you can make them? Battlefoam.com. Hooah!
Hi, welcome back. And now we're very excited to have with us today. Who we have today? Vera excited.
We're Vera excited.
Verily
So excited he can't even speak.
Verily
Well,
are we
it's
excited.
because our guest is from Scotland, and apparently Russ is trying to make him feel home.
Am I? Is that what's doing?
Vera.
Probably
We're
not.
Vera excited.
We have Colen McAlister here today. How are you doing, Colen?
Hi. Hey there. I'm doing great, though I think the bagpipes that Craig was trying...
Apparently we need to just stick to the dialect, like Russ.
Right. Now, Colin, you work for Lone Wolf Development, correct?
Lone Wolf.
Lone Wolf. What about for me today?
Yeah.
More coffee.
Indeed. Lone Wolf Development, famous purveyors of software of all kinds. I've been working for them for a bunch of years now, and I would just love to tell everybody about their products and, of course, answer questions for you guys.
Excellent. Well, before we go there...
What a coincidence, because that's kind of why we brought you.
Yes, but we have to ask you a very important question we always ask all of our guests, and that is,
All right.
are you now, or have you ever been a gamer?
Yes.
Could you please describe some of that for us?
Would you like to elaborate?
What kind of games do you play?
Well, sure. Right now, I'm mostly doing role-playing game stuff. I run a Shadowrun game for my gaming group. We also do a hard sci-fi game, Space 2600, that's set in the far future, the year 2600, where we're fighting monstrous aliens and so on.
Nice.
That's where I'm kind of at right now. But the whole reason that in fact, the whole reason that I'm here for this podcast in the first place is because back when I was 15, 16 or so, one of my friends asked me, "Hey, do you want to, come around to my place? We can play some Epic." And I played Space Marines in Epic 2nd Edition and got soundly trashed. And things have been going up from there.
Oh, good.
Nice. And so you got involved with the Games Workshop hobby via Epic, or is Epic the only one you played there?
Yeah, we started off with Epic. It was a bunch of us from high school, and Chris's father was the one who was really into it. Every game that came out, he would kind of buy the box set, and so he ended up buying a whole bunch of stuff because obviously he was actually employed and had an income. and then the expansion, and then a few armies for it, and then we'd get them painted. And then the rest of us would get our own one army, but we still had this kind of, he had all this terrain and all these game boards. By the time we all moved away, it was kind of weird. We all started off in this, a small town with a population of about 15,000 people. We all went to high school there, and then one of us moved to Aberdeen. I was in Edinburgh. Somebody else went to Southampton to get a PhD in studying black holes.
Wow.
Somebody else went to London, and so everyone just broke up at the same time. But by the time we'd finished, we had gone through Epic 2nd Edition. We had done Warhammer 5th, I think Warhammer 4th Edition, Warhammer 5th Edition, Warhammer 6th Edition, 40k 2nd Edition, 40k 3rd Edition.
There you go.
So you just dived in with both feet.
I'll stop there.
Great. Well, that's awesome. So now so you said that because you played Epic, you got involved with all of this. So we haven't even mentioned what Lone Wolf does, but you, of course, one of Lone Wolf's most famous products, of course, is Army Builder.
Yes.
And is that how you got involved with the company? Was via Army Builder?
That is. I actually bought I asked Rob, and I think I actually bought the 16th copy of Army Builder that was ever sold.
Neat.
Back in 1998, I think, when Army Builder, we were really into Warhammer 5th Edition at that point, and Army Builder had just come out, and we thought it was the best thing ever. And so I asked Mum if I could borrow her credit card, and I went online, and it helped because the exchange rate was so good, and so it was something like $30 or $25, and so it only ended up costing £10, which is not very, very much at all. And so it was great. And so I used that for Warhammer for a while. We got into 40k, but there were no 40k data files. And that was just when 3rd edition was starting to come out. And you guys probably know that 3rd edition, there were some major, major changes in there. There was the whole force organization charts in there. Yep. And so I emailed Rob, who is the founder of the company, who had been working on Army Builder for the last few years. I emailed him and said, hey, all this stuff's going to be added for 40k. Is Army Builder going to support it? And I went back and forth with him. We found some information I think it was on Portent.
Right.
Yep.
Back in the day,
about
Portland,
how,
Good old Portland.
about how the new edition was going to work. They had like
I remember all that.
Yeah.
And so based on like two grainy photocopies on Portent, managed to get their hands on like photocopies of the Space Marine Codex or something really weird like that.
That's some serious detective work there. That's
Yeah.
pretty good.
Yeah.
Now, is this...
and
Go ahead.
so and we worked out how the army construction charts in 40k third edition
Nice.
were going to work. And I ended up working on the Warhammer 40,000 data files because we were playing it, and I just ended up doing that. And I did a pretty reasonable job on it. And so Rob said, "Hey, are you interested in doing stuff for these other games as files as well? I'll send you the stuff to. I'll send you all these game books, and you can create the Army Builder data for them." And I said, "Sweet, I can get game books out of this."
I'll work for codexes. Right.
Exactly. And so I started doing stuff. I did the data files for the I forget what it was called. It was the Legend of the Five Rings miniatures game that HG was doing.
Yep.
And then for Babylon 5 Wars as well. And then I graduated college. And Rob said, "Hey, would you like a job?" And I said, "Sweet, I don't have to do an interview." And
I could skip all that garbage time.
Wait, I have a question.
Go ahead, Rafe.
Colin, hang in here. This will make sense in about 8 seconds. Craig, what was the edition that we all played when I first met you guys way back when? Was it third?
Transitioning to third, yes.
Okay. So, Colin, you were the Colin when we were looking at Army Builder, but that wasn't until... That's that Colin that would say it's Colin, no, not Colin, spelled C-O-L-I-N, right?
that wasn't me.
That was you, right?
Yes.
That was him. Yes.
Wow.
Wow. So for those people that were using Army Builder back in the day, when you would read the data files,
This is Colin, not Colin.
This is Colin, not Colin.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
Wow.
And it's kind of cool because I've just gone on from there and kept up with it, and it's like 10 years later, and hey, I'm still doing this stuff, and it's great.
I feel like I'm talking with an old friend or
It
something.
is, yeah, because I remember we'd send emails and everything. Okay, when's the next file? That's awesome. So then you moved to California, and now you've been working with Lone Wolf ever since.
Now, before we started interviewing Colin, but nobody else knows other than the little joke where he came from. Right?
Well, Scotland.
Scotland.
Yeah.
Edinburgh.
We kind of.
I guess we're not doing an interview. You
Hang out here.
You and I will just discuss where it's from.
Go ahead. I have to ask him a question.
It's easier for me if you guys just want to go ahead. I can just...
There we go. That's all I got. Okay, never mind. So from Colin was a young man in Edinburgh growing up. Transition being from Scotland, where it's not often very sunny, to California. How did that go for you?
It was pretty cool, actually.
I can imagine.
I moved into an apartment in it was north of Fresno, and I moved in like December, January, I think.
Oh yes.
And that I was up in the mountains, pretty close to Yosemite, actually. And when I was just obviously I hadn't any means to take stuff other than like clothes and books with me, and so I was. Really taken much with me from Scotland. I mean, I'd been living with my parents until then. I hadn't had my own flat, so I didn't have anything to take. Going around spending money on stuff like sponges, and I was trying to back out of the
What do you mean for the first time? They don't have like sponges and dishwashing soap out in Scotland?
He lived with his parents. They
on his own.
always,
Yeah, they bought all that stuff.
your parents provide
so
that
you mean
sort of
actually
thing.
bought them? Okay, I got you.
Yeah, somebody
It
emailed
was that day when I arrived in California and they made me take a shower.
Yeah. Well, you've got to forgive Rafe, Colin. He thinks all of Scotland is like Braveheart.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
So did
you have to take off your kilt
did
when
you
you
know
arrived in
William
California?
Wallace or?
Right.
I'm sorry, I got a little confused. What were you saying?
No, never mind. It was a joke that didn't work from the very beginning.
No, it didn't work because I was talking too.
I think we can expect many more of those.
Yes.
Colin, please.
Clearly, he's listening to the show. All right. So Colin.
Yes.
So now you got to California and of course you're working with Army Builder. What exactly is your position there now? I mean, what is your title?
For a while, I was a chief engineer of Lone Wolf Development,
And he had the Scottish accent and everything.
Oh yeah.
Yep, it was sweet. But right now, I'm actually working for myself. I'm actually president of my own company for legal reasons, and so I am president now. But I'm still working for Lone Wolf Development, and I'm one of the. We actually have 3 developers right now. one of which Matthias is working on the Cortex data files for HeroLab, which I'm sure we'll discuss.
Yes.
And I'm working on Army Builder 3.2, which I'm sure we'll also discuss.
Absolutely.
And Rob is working on HeroLab stuff, including World of Darkness.
Excellent. So now, just to be clear, Rob is of course the founder of Lone Wolf,
Yes,
right? Yeah, okay.
the founder, the original creator of Army Builder.
Right.
Nice.
So let's talk a little bit about some of that. What's it like to work for Lone Wolf? I mean, are you guys what's the corporate culture there? Is it very much like everybody just coding away, or do you kind of do you meet regularly? Are you in the same building? How does that all work?
We all work from home. Rob and I live about half an hour apart, and so we talk on the phone. We actually before I talked to you guys today, I was actually in the middle of a 3-hour conversation with him where we were just discussing a new feature, and of course we eventually decided not to actually implement it.
Isn't it fun when you put all that time into something and it doesn't actually happen? It's great.
Yeah, but we talk every day or two on the phone for at least half an hour about stuff. We send a lot of emails, and I just have my desk set up in my apartment with all my game books and then everything set up. Same thing. He has an office in his house, and then Matthias works at a desk himself as well. And so we mostly he communicate by email. Every now and again, whenever we need to talk about, like if we're proposing a new product or some major new work of engineering, I'll go around to Rob's house and we'll mock stuff up on the whiteboard. We'll talk and then go out for dinner. But other than that, we're usually just working from our own places.
On your own, working up your deadlines. That's good. That's cool. So let's talk a little about some of these products here. There's Army Builder is one we're most familiar with.
One that's been around the longest.
And the longest. Sure. And of course, we use it a lot as miniature war gamers. Can you briefly describe for people who are listening to the show that we have a lot of people who listen who are board gamers also who are not familiar with miniature war gaming? Can you describe briefly Army Builder? Just in quick overview.
Well, let me discuss the problem that Army Builder was created to solve first.
Okay, sure.
So with miniatures war games, this was especially true back about 10 years ago. The game systems themselves were getting more and more complex. You have to add up all these points when you're creating your army. You have to abide by various restrictive rules, like you can maybe take one unit of these super elite knights. You can take as many of these guys as you want, but they don't count towards composition requirements. And then this guy can have a weapon that costs 5 points. That guy can use the same weapon that costs 4 points, but only if this other guy is present in the army. Right. And so you have to use a spreadsheet or just add stuff up by hand, but that takes a long time. And so that was one of the reasons that Rob decided to write Army Builder, to sit there with a calculator and some paper to write down your army. The other reason that Rob made an Army Builder was because one of the people in his gaming group could not read the rules. So he would turn up to a 2,000 point Warhammer Fantasy game with nothing but 3 Dark Elf Lords on black dragons.
Nice.
And so Army Builder, you see, solves both those problems because not only does it add up all the points costs for you, and so you know that you're under the points limit of like 2,000 or 1,000 points. It also validates the army, so it can tell you that maybe 3 black dragons isn't the right number to include in a small army. And then of course it can also just create a lovely printed summary of the army with all sorts of information about what it do. And that's useful because you then don't have to look through 1,000 rule books every time you want to put the different things to do anything, because all the summary information is right there.
Right. And of course, that was the original genesis of it. Later, it came to have even other helpful things, too. For example, when tournament play became more and more popular in the late 90s and early 2000s, having, especially informal tournaments, having the ability to have players submit their list on Army Builder and know they're right was a huge boon for that group.
Yep, I know a lot of game store owners and tournament organizers require that lists be submitted in Army Builder format because then you can just get the list, load it into Army Builder, and you can be sure that whoever was writing it at least had some basic conception of the army composition rules, because Army Builder would be flashing big red lights at them if they broke them.
Right. And most
Colin,
importantly,
I have a
it's
question.
legible.
If you know,
go ahead, Reeve.
If you know from Rob, what fascinates me both as a user and as a lawyer of businessmen is, so he has the idea. It's like, hey, this would make a neat tool. What, especially in this industry where people just put this kind of stuff out in the internet and say, here, use it. What enabled him to have the courage to say, you know what, I'm going to make a program out of this, and I'm going to try to sell it, if you know?
Rob had done, before he started working on Army Builder stuff full time, he was a consultant who'd worked on a whole bunch of projects and had got a lot of experience about, not necessarily about releasing boxed software, but just about how stuff worked. So even before he started working on Army Builder, Rob had many, many years of experience just in the computer games industry.
Gotcha.
And so he was very capable at putting together the software in such a way that it could be expanded later without working ourselves into any holes. I think he started off by demoing it at one of the games days. He was originally not really sure whether he wanted to make it a commercial thing or just do it by himself. But he took it to a games day, and he had a laptop, and he set up a laptop beside the games table, and people kept coming around going, "Wow, we need that."
Yep.
And he decided that maybe he could have a shot at selling it, and so he set stuff up. And this was also back in 1998, so it was a lot harder than simply, calling out and setting up an account, set up with the bank, set up your own online purchase system, all that stuff.
It was brilliant. I remember back in the day, it was like you could get a demo, and after 30 days, the demo would lock down. Or something, or I couldn't remember how it worked in the beginning, but it was perfect.
It was pretty impressive just to get all that stuff in, and. Just because there was just so little infrastructure then, in terms of both the code that was available to use, and also in terms of the stuff on the internet, and also the fact that so many fewer people had the internet, so the audience was a lot smaller.
Yeah, yeah, that's right.
Now to bring it out of history a little bit, that demo element is still there, right? And there you have the opportunity to try these programs out on your own in a limited basis.
Yes, all of our products, CardVault, Army Builder, and HeroLab, all of them have a demo mode. For Army Builder and CardVault, you can basically download them. You can check out different games. You're just limited in the number of cards or the number of units or whatever that you can add. Yeah. For HeroLab, you can do whatever you like, but you can't save or print.
See, that's what I think is brilliant. To cut you off, Colin, is you get the full version. It's not a taste of the version. It's a full version.
Yep.
Exactly. Let's say that you're you've just been to Games Workshop for the first time. You just bought your Space Marine Codex. One of your friends tells you, "Hey, you should check out Army Builder." You go download it. You can download it and start putting together your Space Marine commander and mess about with it and say, okay, I'll give them a retinue, and then I'll give the retinue Terminator armor, and then I'll give them a transport, and I'll just have all that stuff happen. And then I'll take away their Terminator armor. Oh, that transport's not valid anymore. I'll take that away. No, I'll add this other weapon as well. Instead, it kind of directs you instead of you just looking uncertainly at the rulebook thinking, what do I do first?
Right.
You can play around with it, at least Army Builder, unit by unit, and get a really good idea of all your options. And then when you want to pull the trigger, you've got this whole panoply of things available to you.
One other thing about Army Builder that's really clever too, I think, is and all your products are this way too, is you leverage something that really didn't start until the mid-90s, and that was the idea of in the computer game world was the idea of mods, right? Where the designers would create a program, and they'd give the community, the world, the ability to go in and tweak the program and make new levels and make new characters and do all these things. And Army Builder basically does that because Army Builder itself comes with no data, right? You got to download somebody's data files if you want to make, in the beginning initially, right? You had to download this thing and make it work. And the fans in the beginning were as you did, right? Make these data files for the application.
Exactly. And one thing that I guess now's a good time to do as any, just thank you to all of those people who have done files for Warhammer, for Flames of War, for War of the Ring. All of those guys, all of you. Thank you to I know that the 40K data files are done by a team. Mm-hmm. You guys are doing great work in letting people use Army Builder to make their hobby easier. And without them, Army Builder probably would. Army Builder
basically says, I am just a tool, and if you want to make your 40K list in this thing, you can download, Flames of War or Lord of the Rings or whatever you want and put it in the...
would not exist because one of the reason that was done originally, although it's locked,
right,
and so we can't include any of the Games Workshop data. But the essence that you can code for it, independent authors can go ahead and make data files for Warhammer and for Flames of War and for Warhammer 40,000, and users can then go ahead and use those. I know Games Workshop has come out with 2 attempts at doing something similar.
Mm-hmm. Attempts is a kind word. It's really a very kind word.
Well, they're not around anymore.
No, they're not.
And so if it wasn't for Army Builder, people would be stuck with Excel spreadsheets or even worse, pen and paper for making their armies. And that's just not something that I would be happy with in terms of playing the game. I like to be able to do the important stuff of choose the guys that are in my army and not spend 10 minutes going over the points to make sure I added it up correctly.
And that was pretty much the biggest challenge that all 3 of your flagship products share this same challenge, which is they're gaming aids for someone else's IP, right? Essentially. And so how has that been the biggest challenge? Do you think now that companies, because I know in the beginning Games Workshop in particular, but other companies I'm sure too, we're kind of probably pushing back on this idea that, hey, you're selling a product that really helps us sell our product in the aggregate. It's better for Games Workshop you exist. But I'm sure in the beginning they were sort of a little nervous about it. Was that a big challenge in the beginning? And do you think you've gotten past that issue, or is it still sort of that hovering in the wings kind of thing?
It's still somewhat here. Most of the companies now that we've talked to are totally happy to have Army Builder data files out there. It's actually a little different across all of our products. Army Builder, right? It's not like that. It's not that anybody who would otherwise. Because they correctly recognize that having Army Builder data files available for their game is a good thing. It's not like we're taking money away from them.
Right.
Just because you have Army Builder doesn't mean you're not going to go and buy some army book for your game. You're going to buy it anyway because the game has the full explanations of all the rules. It has all the context information. It has all the fluff information. Buy Army Builder and use Army Builder, and potentially stay in the hobby for longer and have more fun. All the numbers, 3 different times, getting 3 different answers, getting discouraged. They're going to be able to just make an army in 5 minutes, make an army in 5 minutes, make an army in 5 minutes. We actually had somebody at Gen Con a couple of years ago come up and talk to us about one of the games and say that Army Builder was basically the reason that he was still in the hobby, because if it wasn't for Army Builder, he would have gotten burned out of the whole creating rosters by hand a long time ago. And so it was just because he had the ability to make rosters quickly and efficiently that he was still playing. And so that guy's still playing. How much money is Games Workshop made from him?
Right. But there's something interesting here, though, that Russ has hit upon. Because I remember back in the day, as we've talked before, with GW particularly, you couldn't have a logo of a Space Marine or Space Marine on your website that was selling GW products, or they'd shut you down. They seem to have this contrary view to be like, I'm promoting your product, and they're like, nope, RIP, shut it down. So here, during this whole time, so here's Army Builder, still cranking along. People could say, go ahead, Colin.
That's because we're not actually selling. Our Army Builder is not actually selling the data files. We're selling generic software, and then the data files are made available.
But what always stumped me, and I don't know, was it was right during Napster. And that was the time frame. It was right when Napster says, not us. We just provide the engine. And it's the people out there, they do desktop-to-desktop sharing.
I think there's an important difference. And
that's what I was getting to, yeah.
That important difference is that many Games Workshop employees use Army Builder.
Right.
Ah.
In fact, I think it's gotten to the point now where Lone Wolf's Army Builder is influencing the industry, and here's what I mean. I think some of these game companies now, when they're building a new game and they're starting to get complicated in their army design, I wonder how many of them sit around and go, "Yeah, this Army Builder, they'll figure it out." You know what I mean? Like, if you didn't exist, it might be simpler.
I've actually been keeping track of the Warhammer Fantasy is still my favorite game. Yeah. I've been kind of keeping track of the new releases coming out from that, and over the last, I think, the year, I've looked at the army lists, and they have just been so simple compared to the old ones. There's hardly any. It used to be that you'd look at an army list and there'd be You'd have, Dark Elf Assassins who had their own separate set of magic from that list or one from the other list. The Battle Standard Bearer could take this or the items effectively.
Yeah.
You could take incredibly complex sets of weapons, like one from this list and one that or this other thing over here. You could have, limits on this unit, limits on that unit, but that's all kind of gone away. And now they're just getting a lot simpler. I think because they've realized that adding all this complexity to the army creation doesn't really add value to the game.
Right. Yeah.
Nobody's going to buy the new Space Marine Codex for its incredibly complex army creation rules.
Yeah.
They want something that they can read and that they can understand and that they can make armies with,
Right.
without extraneous rules and restrictions.
Yeah. Now, Colin, when I'm going through my army builder files and building my different armies, I notice that some of them, when you right click on the items, it'll give you all the rules, and other data files, you right click on it and it says see certain page number in a certain rule book. Is that down to the people that are writing the individual files, or are some companies kind of like, please don't give them everything, so they at least have to have the book sort of thing?
It's a mixture of both. I know that the authors of the data files for the Games Workshop games, they definitely don't want to step on Games Workshop toes, and so one of the things that they do is that they don't include the rules for a lot of stuff to make you look it up in the codex.
Right.
There's also an enforced 1 month delay between the release of any new codex or rulebook and coming out in the data files. So I know that I've seen people complaining about that a lot, but buy the rulebook first and then. Use Army Builder. So we're just trying to make sure that the reason for that is we just want to reinforce the people to actually nobody uses Army Builder in place of the rule books.
Gotcha.
I know that some of the other game companies are also happier if we don't go into detail on certain things. That's actually one of the differences between our products. For Army Builder, because miniatures games companies tend to sell the rules as products, they tend to be a lot stricter about that. Whereas for CardVault, depending on the company that you're working with, you can hardly move for getting hit by a dozen Excel spreadsheets full of spoiler data that they throw at you.
Let's talk about a little bit about the other products.
Okay.
So how about CardVault? Now, what can you describe briefly what CardVault's primary role is, and what does it do?
Sure. CardVault is a deck construction and inventory management program. It's for games, collectible card games, collectible miniatures games like Magic the Gathering, HeroClix, Axis and Allies miniatures.
Monsterpocalypse?
I'm sorry?
Monsterpocalypse?
Monsterpocalypse, yes.
Sure, yeah.
The idea is that you've got 3 boxes filled with Mage Knight stuff, or a suitcase filled with Monsterpocalypse stuff, or 12 shoe boxes filled with your Magic collection through 10 years ago. When you're building a deck, you don't want to have to go through all that. And so CardVault is a card database that includes the information for every single card or every single mod that those games have ever produced. You can build decks with that, so you can say, okay, add some emblem, add, so many of this card, so many of that card, and you can also track how many you have, track your inventory of cards, the quality of each card, the number that you own, pricing for those if you're willing to sell or buy them, whether you have foil cards, bad cards, good cards, all that stuff. So it's both tracking your inventory, you're tracking your collection of cards, so you can see how many cards you have and think, oh my word, do I really have that many? And also for building your decks. For the deck building, we have statistics. You can see the percentage of lands, percentage of each color. You can even do probability calculations. So you can see stuff like the percent for Magic to use as an example. You build a deck and then say, okay, statistically, how likely am I to get 2 lands in my starting hand? And then tweak your card counts up or down based on that stuff.
That's really cool. And now you said that the industry, the collectible card industry in particular, has been more receptive to your product. They don't really mind that your data's in there as much because they know the money's in the cards.
A lot of those companies, Wizards is a really good example. Wizards of the Coast is a really good example of this for Magic. You can actually go to their website and they have all that data freely available online. They even have card images online. That you can also display in CardVault, incidentally, available. It's called the Gatherer for Wizards, and anyone can go there and look at all that information. The rules, they're selling the physical products,
right?
And that's what they make their money on. So for them, the information is basically free. It's you need to buy the booster packs, the starter decks. And so card companies, because collectible game companies, official cards, official models that are the sales things for them, whereas Games Workshop sells their codexes. Private Press sells their War Machine books. Mm-hmm. So they're kind of wary about having that income stream compromised. And so they try to they asking our data file authors to not necessarily put all the information there. And we're happy just to make sure that nobody can use that stuff. HeroLab, our other product for role-playing games, is actually a slightly different example, because for HeroLab we actually have license agreements with all the different game companies. So we license Mutants and Masterminds from Green Ronin, we license World of Darkness from White Wolf, and they actually get a royalty on each copy of HeroLab sold, because for role-playing game companies, they don't have all they have is the rules,
right?
And so to do those games, we license from them.
So would you say that how you use HeroLab, and we'll define HeroLab in more detail in a second, but would you say that you learned, Lone Wolf has learned from how the first two products work, and you kind of knew going into HeroLab and said, hey, we really want to do this product, but we know we just got to start into with these guys from the beginning, because there's just no way they're going to buy this, letting us do this without that license.
Absolutely. If you think about the volume of products that Games Workshop puts out, they put out an army book every couple of months.
Right.
And if you think about the volume of products that Wizards of the Coast puts out for D&D, or White Wolf puts out for World of Darkness, to support stuff in HeroLab, we need to use and incorporate a much vaster volume of the copyrighted material than they do for the miniatures games, because Games Workshop has their army books that they release every few months, but then they also have the trillions of tons of pewter and lead that sell to gamers to actually play their games. All the role-playing game companies have is their rules.
Right.
So they're very protective of those, quite rightly so. And so we get effectively, I think you said, in bed with them.
Right.
Green Ronin was extremely helpful when we were developing the Mutants Masterminds data files, where I had questions about stuff. I was emailing the developer about, how does this mechanic work? How does that mechanic work? So Green Ronin and White Wolf and all the rest of the role-playing game companies have been very supportive.
So HeroLab, in addition to automating all the character creation process, even is like a built-in FAQ, because you've talked to the game designers when you have questions about it. Maybe you'll make sure it's got it right.
That's right. There's I check the forums for Mutants and Masterminds, which is one of the games that I personally maintain, and I see people posting questions saying, "Hey, this errata over here that is not necessarily general knowledge," and so that's hard to get corrections into the hands of the people that already have that stuff, whereas with ours, this doesn't work correctly. And then another forums user will post, no, that's how it's meant to work. If you can solve, that's another of the advantages of using the software that can be updated. This ability has changed. So next month, release a new version. We're good.
Nice.
I didn't even think of that. That makes a lot of sense.
So let's quickly define, Colen, what is HeroLab exactly? What does it do for the role player?
HeroLab is character creation and management software for players and games masters. It does for role-playing games what Army Builder does for miniatures games. It lets you actually do the job of creating your hero, your character, without having to keep the rulebook open beside you to keep track of the stages of character creation, or writing stuff in and then erasing it when you decide, I want some extra strength instead of that constitution. It lets you. It's much more complex than Army Builder or CardVault, because the role-playing games are so much more complex. You can create or modify any facet of the character. So let's take the D20 system, 3.5 Dungeons and Dragons, as an example. When you load up HeroLab, you start off with it starts off by asking you what the character's name is and what level they start at. Then you can specify their ability scores, which classes they have, pick their feats, pick their skills, and HeroLab will warn you if you're trying to do anything that is illegal by the game rules. So, for example, let's say that you decide to be a lawful good character, and you look through the list of classes, HeroLab is going to disable anything that is invalid for being lawful good. So you won't be able to be a barbarian or a bard. That stuff will be grayed out, and not only will it be grayed out, it'll tell you that you need to be you can't, but you need to be chaotic or neutral, whatever it is, to be a bard. So if you think about it, in effect, that's the same as me creating a lawful good bard, going to my games master at the weekend saying, hey, I've got this character, and him, who has much more experience with the game, saying, no, you can't be a lawful good bard. Mm-hmm. So we're all of the stuff that you know if you're an expert, HeroLab incorporates, and it has that expert knowledge there and says, no, you can't take this feat because you don't meet these 3 feat prerequisites, you don't have these 2 skills at the required levels, and you're not a barbarian.
Now, when you say that that it's a tool also for game masters, I was playing with it extensively yesterday. Can you go into a little bit of detail over what it offers the game masters?
Absolutely. For Games Masters, there are a bunch of interesting features. You can, depending on the game system that you're using, there are dozens of stock portfolios. So for again, using D20 as an example, you can basically, let's say that you're in the middle of a game and your players, as they are so wont to do, go off in some random direction that you weren't expecting.
Really?
And they go off into the forest for some bizarre reason known only to them, and now you need something for them to do there. And so, okay, there's going to be a level 9 ranger.
Yep.
Okay, and I need his 3 polar bear animal companions in the forest. And so, I need a level 9 ranger. Click, 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 bam. You've got his 3 bear animal companions. Click, click, click. You've got the 3 bears as well at the same time. So you can see the enemy ranger, his animal companions, and the hero information about them. Anything else like special abilities that they have is available via mouse over. So and you can also maintain all of the heroes themselves in HeroLab, see all of their skills in the tactical console, all of their ability scores, their current health, all the useful information that all the information about that encounter is concentrated down into this one format. Yep. If stuff gets nasty, like if the players would unwisely throw steak to the bears, maybe they could start some sort of battle. HeroLab will automatically roll up initiative for all the enemies and the players. If you want to do that automatically, the players can then roll initiative for themselves. Oh, I've delayed my action. These other 2 guys act. Oh, no, I want to act again. It'll reposition him and get all that order appropriately. And then HeroLab keeps track of who's next to go, who's already acted for during the encounter. Yeah. You can track health conditions. So let's say that let's say the ranger, and click the deafened checkbox, and then see how his stats change. And HeroLab maintains all of that, all of them in the initiative order. It takes care of all of the bookkeeping stuff that don't have the time to look at his character sheet and remember, now, what exactly do I do if I'm deafened? Do I lose initiative? Or we handle all that stuff for you, so you can just concentrate on playing the game, and not doing the math.
I have to tell you, just playing with it yesterday, far longer than I was supposed to be.
Not because it was hard, because you got distracted for hours.
I can't tell you. I was supposed to be writing a script for tonight's show, and I spent 4 hours just playing with the Cortex rules. And it literally took me less than 30 minutes to recreate from scratch the entire party, put them all on individual sheets, put them into the tactical console, and get ready for a battle. And then I just started playing fake battles over and over and over again.
Oh, and another little thing we discovered, which is really cool about this, because I had not had much experience with HeroLab either. I used Army Builder for years, loved the thing. You were kind enough to hook us up with the Cortex system beta, which I know is coming out soon, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But so Craig has been running, as we talked about in the show before, a Serenity play-by-email campaign. And so I popped my character into HeroLab, had no problem at all, selected the Serenity is just a subset of the Cortex system, so that's in there. All my skills are in there. And then I realized I can just email this guy to Craig, the POR file it creates to Craig, and he can just import it into the thing. Oh, and then when I level up, he doesn't have to retype everything, because he's remote, so I have to send him my leveling up. He's got to go modify my character sheet, erase all my stuff. No, I just level my guy up. He knows it's legit because HeroLab makes sure I don't cheat.
Yep.
I email him the PR file. Boom, it's updated in his tactical display.
Fact, we did it yesterday because we randomly both picked the same picture for 2 characters.
So I was like, oh, wait, I'll find a new one. I went online, got a new picture, stuck it on my guy, and the pictures are embedded in the PR file, right over.
Which is beautiful.
It's awesome.
I literally, just from playing with it, I would have to say that as far as live role-playing goes, if I was GMing a live role playing game, I would have to go get a laptop right now.
Yeah.
Because just from playing with it yesterday, I would say without any fear of being wrong that HeroLab is now going to be as important to every gaming experience for me role playing wise as Army Builder is for wargaming. I mean, it does so many things for you that are tedious. It's keeping an eye on everything, and it's reminding you of all of the other stuff that you're going to forget over the course of that it takes care of all of them, but not only that, but at the same time, it's making sure that everything's valid. It's keeping it's of that combat, and it was it was amazing.
When we were developing HeroLab, 2 or 3 years ago, we had long discussions over what we needed to do to make HeroLab as useful as possible to gamers, and we ended up realizing that laptops are becoming more and more common. We have all these wee netbooks that are really, really cheap but still decently powerful. You should make HeroLab able to be used as an electronic character sheet. Instead of having a scrawled bit of paper with your character on it, you'll want to have an e-reader or a laptop or a netbook in front of you with your character on it that, you say I've been mauled by the bear and my movement speed has been decreased. Okay, I'll just go in and modify that. And then see that flow through to, since my movement speed's decreased, now my jump skill my climb skill has gone down. You can see all of those effects that are caused by that, all of those knock-on effects are all handled automatically.
Well, you can see that attention to detail too in the log feature, which I love, especially kind of play by email. So if Craig says, "Hey, you're in a gambling, you're having a card game, and your character just won 80 credits," I can just go into log. Craig's over like, "How'd you get that extra 80 credits?" It's right there in the log. Yep. Boom. So all this is really easy to use. It's really easy to remember. Type in plus 80 credits and the reason, and then it handles my total money, keeps track of it for me, and then and again, it goes back to if you had the thing live at your session, you could just do it all in real time.
Yeah, the journal was one of Rob's big things right from the start. That was one of his core features that he really wanted to include, and that's come in so useful for the games that I've used it in. We did my high school gaming group. We at least until recently we did, and two of them got addicted to Lord of the Rings Online.
Yay!
D&D games, over the net. But we only did them every once a month or so because I'm in California. Jonathan's in New York. Chris is in like Dundee or somewhere like that. We're all in these bizarre time zones, and so our schedules would match up. And so we would. I would load up HeroLab and think, what on earth did we do last time? Look at the journal. We did. We killed the guy. Oh.
And the journal tracks different things depending on the data files, right? Depending on the game system. For example, it tracks plot points and advancement points for Serenity and for Cortex, and for D&D it's something else or whatever.
One of the other ways that HeroLab is different from Army Builder and CardVault is that different role-playing games are just so different that HeroLab's user interface changes based on the game that you're playing. So for D20, you can track all the different types of currency, platinum, gold, silver. For Mutants and Masterminds, you can track accumulating the wealth that it has. You can everything is totally different based on which game you're playing. So if anybody listening to this, hopefully they will, heads off to our website and downloads downloads the HeroLab demo. If they play D20 and World of Darkness, for example, check out both of those games. They both work totally differently. They'll be able to just download the different games and check out that they play and check out each one and see how that come from D20. And so the HeroLab needs to handle those two games totally differently.
Now, Colen, you mentioned for people who do go over there and check that out, when we were talking about licensing, explain when they're picking so if they get confused or I wouldn't want them to get the wrong impression to be like, what is
you're getting that program and then the data files are found elsewhere.
Absolutely. For Army Builder and CardVault, you're buying the program, and then data files are often done by the independent authors.
But that also means in Army Builder, you can have 40K, no problem. Flames of War, no problem. Whatever. You can have 20 miniature games loaded if
they're
no problem.
They're all free online.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
For HeroLab, that's different. We have license agreements with all the manufacturers that I mentioned earlier. We pay whenever somebody wants to use HeroLab for World of, and that's related to the reason that there's two reasons for that. The first reason is that we need to track it per game. So basically, when you buy HeroLab, you pick one game. We have to pay White Wolf. For Mutants and Masterminds, we pay Green Ronin. So we need Cortex. Should be out next week. We're going to be releasing Pathfinder RPG support by Gen Con. That can be D20 system, World of Darkness, Mutants and Masterminds, Savage Worlds. We've also got 4th edition support in there, I believe. You would pick one of those games to use. You can use that game that you guys are playing. You have HeroLab for the D20 system. Some of your friends say, hey, we should try World of as much as you want. You can create as many characters as you like. All the other games are still in demo mode. So let's say Darkness game this weekend. You can load up the World of Darkness demo in HeroLab. You can play with it, create a character with it, check it out. And basically look at it, take it for a test drive, evaluate it, and then if you start playing World of Darkness as a more often, you can take the plunge and buy World of Darkness as well for a cheaper price than just buying HeroLab again. So you can you buy HeroLab for one game, and then the other games are available as add-ons. Exactly. For Army Builder and for some of those games, Mutants and Masterminds, for example, there's actually an add-on to the add-on.
Interesting.
The Ultimate Power and Masterminds Manual supplement are fully supported, but they took a long time to implement because there were a lot of really crunchy new mechanics that made a lot of difference to the way that the game works. And so them and a bunch of other products are bundled together as an add-on for Mutants and Masterminds. Sure. Army Builder and CardVault are, as you guys changed to Warhammer, Flames of War Machine. Sure, go ahead.
Nice.
Right.
Now,
right.
So let's talk a little about. Well, I guess we don't want to keep you too long here tonight, Colen. What else are you guys working on right now? What's coming down the pike soon? What's the new stuff on the block?
Right now, the newest stuff. Right now, we're kind of in Gen Con crunch mode. We'll be at Gen Con this year, incidentally, which I hear you guys are going to be as well.
Yes, we'll see you there for sure.
Awesome. So we're in Lone Wolf is in booth 1810. So
cool.
If anybody wants to see a demo or just chat to us about anything, just please stop by and say hi.
Great.
We're in the run-up to Gen Con. We're getting the Cortex data files finished up. That should hopefully be released next week with support for Battlestar Galactica and Serenity RPGs. And so we'll be releasing HeroLab data files for Pathfinder on the day that the RPG itself launches, which is pretty sweet.
That's
nice.
sweet.
Very sweet.
After that, it's kind of hard to tell right now. We'll probably get back from Gen Con, take a day or two off, and then we're also looking to have the Pathfinder RPG supported for Gen Con. And then we have a bunch of interesting opportunities that we would that we might follow. One of the things that's been on our plate for a long time, for example, is Shadowrun data files for HeroLab.
Ooh, yeah.
The Shadowrun license has been in in a sort of mysterious state for the last 2 or 3 years, but Shadowrun was the very first game that gave us enough of a go-ahead to actually start writing HeroLab in the first place. So we want to get Shadowrun in there for a long time. Shadowrun would be one way, no promises, that we would go after that. We've also got some really cool new features for Army Builder that we would... can I talk about Army Builder 2.2 real quick?
Yes, please do.
Absolutely.
So right now we're beta testing Army Builder 3.2. It's a new release of Army Builder. It's going to be released sometime this month, July 2009. It's a free update for anybody who has a current Army Builder license.
Cool.
And we've got a bunch of cool new features in it. You'll be able to save rosters PDF files. We've got model lists output, so you can create an army, hit a button, and it'll say, okay, for this army you need 5 of these guys on horses, 10 dudes with swords, 10 dudes with
owners are like that.
Yep.
Here's your shopping list. Now go have a fun.
Precisely. So so I want to start Warhammer with an Empire army. Oh, great. Okay, so just sit them down, show them how to build a simple army. Hey, here's what you need, and I happen to have that right here.
There you go.
We're also going to be adding output for mobile devices. You'll be able to build an army and then view it on your iPhone. You'll be able to touch a unit to expand it, show all the statistics and the details, touch it again to hide it, because on a mobile device that small space is at a premium.
Yep.
We've redone the user interface. It's still looking the same as the old AB, but we've reshot a lot of the art to make it look a lot nicer. We've made a lot of improvements to make stuff quicker. We're taking advantage of the larger screen sizes that computers have nowadays. One of the weirdest things that has happened to computers is that Army Builder was first released in 1998, and at the time the system requirements were like a Pentium, and you had to have 800 by 600 resolution, which was a big deal for some people. And that was just 11 years ago. And now I look at my computer with memory. The computer's got 4 gigabytes of memory, and Army Builder is still pretty much the same, works just as well as ever. So what we've done is we've tried to a lot of the stuff that was done in the original Army Builder release was intended to make up for the fact that, well, you really can't see all of this data on screen at once. And so we've been able to change a bunch of stuff and make it a lot nicer if you've got a bigger screen. So it still works fine if you've got an old laptop that uses that has a small screen. But if you have the space, Army Builder will fill it a lot more nicely. We also have a bunch of changes for data file authors who are beta testing it right now, that are hopefully going to make it easier for them to write data files, which is good for all our users, because that means that the data files get to the users faster and they're of higher quality. So that's one of the things that I'm working on right now, as well as the Cortex stuff and the Pathfinder stuff for Gen Con. We've got some cool new stuff that I can't really talk about, but that's kind of our plans.
Excellent. Well, any other questions, guys?
I know he pretty much killed all my questions with that last little bit.
Good. Well, Colen, thank you so much for taking the time to be on the show, and thank you to Lone Wolf Development for helping sponsor the show.
Thank you very much, and we look forward to meeting you in August.
Definitely.
Yes, definitely.
Yep. See you guys at Gen Con, and hopefully see your listeners there too.
Oh, absolutely.
Tired of pen and paper? Take your game to the next level with Army Builder and HeroLab from Lone Wolf Development. Army Builder has been the standard for Army construction software for miniature gamers since 1998. And coming out in July 2009, Army Builder 3.2 includes PDF support, streamlined user interface, mobile device output, and lots more. And for RPG players, HeroLab is the award-winning character creation and management software for players and GMs alike. HeroLab supports all the major RPGs from D&D to World of Darkness. With Army Builder and HeroLab, point-and-click simplicity lets you spend less time prepping and more time playing. Download a free demo from our website, www.wolflair.com. Discover for yourself why 100,000 gamers have chosen Lone Wolf Development. I'm Rafe, Hollywood Granger, and this is the Hollywood Minute. Today is a nice shout-out from Elon to the gaming group, a.k.a. the War Games alumni, Danny, Eugene, Sammy, Rob, and the Bens, and our expatriates, Arthur, Brett, and John. I hope we get a chance to try Infinity. And here is my special Hollywood rebuttal to Craig's rendition of It's Not That Easy Being Green. Now, here's a little story I've got to tell about 3 bad brothers you know so well. It started way back in history with Craig, Russ, Wiggin, and me, HD. I had a little game called Agricola, just me and farming and a bunch of stuff, playing across the land, kicking up sand, got your posses on my tail cause I'm in demand. One and only D6G I be, all by myself without nobody. Hammerhead beating down on my baseball hat. My game was getting long, my bowl was getting flat. Looking for a farmer, I ran into a guy. He said his name is Wakeland. I said howdy, he said hi. He said, my name's Russ, I've got a license to kill. I think you know what time it is, it's time to get ill. Now you know your game, and it's really lame. I run this lane, you understand, and I want your fame. We played for 6 hours at our local spot. The store was jamming and the place was hot. This dude was staring like he knows who we are. He took the empty spot next to me at the farm. Wickle said, yo, you know this kid? I said, I didn't, but I know he did. Now listen up, 'cause this ain't funny. The name is Craig G, and my meeple got a gunny. Pulled out his meeple, aimed it at the guy. He yelled, die farmer, and let two fly. Meeples were running sheep, cows, and men. He blasted two more as they ran from the pen. My name's Craig G, and I demand respect. Battle starring Gutshot is what I expect. Now Wickle was with it, and he's my ace. During the Dodge City expansion, got punched in the face. The cowboy was out, the farming stopped. Dave showed up, and he got dropped. Russ cleaned up the board, Craig watched the game. I grabbed my meeple saying, farming's not lame.
Need to add a big unit to your current force and don't feel like painting that many grunts? Or maybe you want to start a new army and really don't have time to paint it up. That's where PaintedFigs.com can help. For 3 years, their staff with over 20 years of experience in the industry have been providing gamers with high-quality, affordable paint jobs on miniatures from the most popular games, including Flames of War, Warhammer 40,000, Fantasy, War Machine, Hordes, and even a variety of board games. Their full-service packages include the cost of the models themselves at wholesale prices, assembly, painting, and basing. Because they're able to get the models wholesale, you end up with a package appearing on your doorstep full of ready-to-play models at only the fraction over their retail price. Their name says what they do. PaintedFigs.com. High-quality miniature painting at the lowest rates on Earth, even with shipping. Be sure to let them know the D6 Generation sent you.
When wives attack.
Hello, and welcome to a special episode of When Wives Attack. I am Karen, Craig's wife.
And I am Nicole, Russ's wife.
And I am Marisa, Rafe's wife.
And I'm Craig, Karen's husband.
And I am Russ, Nicole's husband.
And I'm Rafe, Hollywood Granger.
Marisa, how does that make you feel?
Do you see how it is?
We have a momentous situation here. We not only have Marisa Granger, who's never been on the show before.
Oh, they're Eskimo kissing over there by their mic.
Isn't that special?
We have all six of us here, men and husbands and wives together, which we have never, ever had.
No.
It's wicked fun. So,
here's a little New England for you.
Okay, we're doing our version of the Newlywed Game, but for gamers. So, if nobody knows how it works, we're going to ask the women questions.
And we're going to leave, so we won't know what the answers are, because we won't be listening at the door.
They're in a soundproof room that Rafe has constructed in his living room.
And then
story.
And
we're sticking with it.
And then they'll come back and try to match it, and then we switch. And first round 5 points, second round 10 points.
So it's kind of like wife swap.
This is awesome.
Just like that.
Wasn't that a Munchkin card I think you guys had?
Probably.
So we're going to do first round 5 points, second round 10 points, bonus question 15, and the winner is what?
Best gaming couple ever.
We're going to win.
We're all sharing mics here, so it's a little bit different for us than sitting with our spouses.
We're throwing elbows and stuff. Except for Marisa and Rafe, they're all kissy over there in the corner.
I like how Russ just kept telling us to hit the sweet spot.
Oh, gee.
PG-13, folks. Come on.
Right.
Okay, so the boys can leave.
Here we go.
Okay,
Bye.
we're gone. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Get out of the room.
Okay, so the boys are leaving, and we're going to start with the first question. I'll read one question, Nicole will read one, Marisa will read one. First one is multiple choice.
Marisa's putting on her glasses. She's like, I'm putting my glasses.
Here.
I'm so serious about this now.
Okay, it's multiple choice. You can just write down a word or two. He has all day Saturday free for the first time in forever. No wife, no kids. What does he do? A, calls his friends immediately. Let's get some games in. B, paint. C, read White Dwarf, his new codex, anything else gaming related he can get his hands on. Or D, time to go shopping at the game store.
Okay, I have to answer first because he would so do every single one of those things. He would get up at 7 o'clock in the morning and he would not go to bed until 12:01.
Take advantage of the whole day.
So can I say, is there an all of the above option?
If you want to, but he may not pick that. You can do whatever you want.
I want to say all of the above because Russ would so do every one of those things, even if it meant he had to paint and read and talk to somebody on the phone.
Should I add all of the above? Go ahead, Marisa. Do you know?
I think if it was impromptu, his answer would be C.
Which was
He'd
C.
read his codex, and also he would nap.
He would nap.
That's all he would do.
The infamous Hollywood nap.
All right, so we have, and my answer, knowing my husband, would be B. He would paint for
I would say that
150 hours.
But he would paint one model. Because he paints with such precision.
All that time. Question number 2?
Question number 2 is, you're about to play a game, and he says, pick your meeples. What color do you pick? Any color or I don't care?
I would pick purple.
You would pick purple?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you could pick any color. I don't care. I'd pick purple. It's the color of our wedding.
What are my choices?
Whatever,
any color.
Any color?
I believe that whatever you want, or you can say I don't care.
I would choose black.
Okay.
You would choose black? Was that the color? Was that the color from your wedding too?
My favorite color.
I would choose red.
Red.
I would choose red.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
And we have last question of the round. Gotta stay at the mic.
All right. You can only play one game for the rest of your life. What do you choose?
What would I choose?
Yeah. What would you choose?
Personally?
Yeah.
What would you choose?
I would choose Betrayal on the House on the Hill. I think he's gonna say Carcassonne, but it's Betrayal on the House on the Hill.
Oh, what would I choose? It would be Battlestar Galactica.
Really?
Because I love that
It
game.
is a good game.
And I have a Starbucks card,
But
lady.
see, I feel like that game's new. But you're saying no, it's good forever? Like it's not just a new game?
I love Battlestar Galactica. My car says Raider. I would play Battlestar Galactica with my
Reese's like,
special...
I don't even know a game.
I know, she has no idea. With my special Dirk Benedict card, that's what I would play.
I know no games. What game would I be?
Reese's like,
could be Scrabble?
Whatever. How many things you can get your husband to do for you.
Yeah. You can write that
Her
if you
game
want.
would be create a honeydew list over and over and over and over.
Yeah,
Let's see how many times I have to ask Rafe to take the trash out.
That's the game.
I don't know a game.
You can put that if you want, if you don't want to name a game.
I don't know.
Okay.
Okay.
You going to put I don't know?
Yes.
Okay.
She's like, yes, I choose. I do not know.
Alrighty, and we're going to call the boys in. Here they come. There come Jalopian in.
Clump, here
Yeah,
come the
clump,
men.
clump, here come the boys. And they're sitting.
Men. Oh, okay.
Manly men. No.
All right, so don't let them see your answers.
Don't look at my answers.
All right.
Russ is cheating. Cheater.
Okay. We are
I saw a
starting.
vowel.
Question number 1.
Did you move this?
Question number 1, and it's
business.
multiple choice.
Okay.
We'll start with Nicole and go down. And
Okay.
All right.
You're going to get them all wrong.
Okay.
No, you're going to get
I'm
one
ready.
right. Russ
I'm
is
ready.
going to
Start
get
with
one
Nicole.
right. The very
ready.
last one.
You have all day Saturday free for the first time in forever.
You do, Russ.
No wife,
The boys. Okay.
no kids. What do you do? A, call your friends immediately. Let's get some games in. B, paint. C, read White Dwarf, my new codex, anything else gaming I can get my hands on. Or D, time to go shopping at the game store.
A, please.
A, call your friends immediately. Let's get some games in. Nicole
I
said.
said all of them because you would just get up at 8 a.m.
Was that
and
even
do
an
them.
option?
We told her.
Nicole breaks the rules.
We told her that. That was her
Yeah,
choice.
that-
I clarified.
doesn't
I
work.
said, can I pick all of them? And she said yes.
Come on.
That's awesome, Russ. There's no way you're going to win if she keeps cheating.
That's right. Craig, that's
the
the just like a real
rule
marriage.
maker,
You
the
can
rule
never
breaker.
win. Okay. Your wife is always
Whatever.
right.
That just doesn't count.
Craig.
I'm going to say B, paint.
Paint.
It would have been B and D, but I wasn't going to cheat.
And Rafe.
I was distracted due to a
Sure. You have-
8-year-old boy.
You have all day Saturday free for the first time in forever. No wife, no kids. What do you do? A, call your friends immediately. Let's get some games in. B, paint. C, read White Dwarf, my new codex, anything else gaming I can get my hands on. Or D, time to go shopping at the game store.
I don't like any of those choices, so I pick A.
Boo.
Oh, it says C.
She improvised.
I said C and nap. And I didn't know how to spell codex, so I made codex.
You men have no creativity.
Maurice's answer was actually read a codex and take a nap.
Yeah, if nap was in there, I would have picked that.
That sounds like a feminine hygiene product to me.
Boys versus girls.
I like her.
That goes to Nicole.
Sorry, coughing. Okay.
Are you choking?
You okay over there?
I'm fine. Okay.
All right.
You're about to play a game, and you say, "Pick your meeples." What color does she pick? I'm told Russ has pointed me more at the mic.
Well, we start with Craig on this one. Craig, what color do I pick?
What color meeple would Karen pick when she's playing a game?
Karen would pick black meeples.
You're lying.
Oh!
No.
I'm out of here. I don't want to say no more. This show doesn't count. Hello, purple, the color of our wedding.
Oh, right.
Every single game.
Is there a game with purple meeples?
Yes.
What?
Isn't Carcassonne with 5 people at purple?
No.
Right.
There's people with purple.
Move along. Next question.
Purple people eaters.
Now it's Rafe and Marisa.
This is so easy. Black.
Yeah.
5 points.
I've been writing this down.
Right now, it's your turn. What color would Nicole pick?
Would I pick?
Oh, for your meeple?
Yes,
Pink.
sir.
Oh, boo, red. Close.
Oh,
close.
red.
It's in the same color family. Shall we cheat again?
What game has pink meeples? As Craig said.
No, there are pink meeples.
So right now we're tied for 5-5-5 with
In
one
fact, I
question
believe the
left.
wives gave away pink meeple.
No,
We did. We gave away a giant pink fuzzy
Oh, you got
meeples.
nothing. That's right. So
We got zilch.
we got one more question. Right
I'm
now,
sorry.
Rafe and Marisa are at 5. Craig and Karen are at 5. And Russ and Nicole are at 0.
0.
Cheaters.
We're not winning the trip to Hawaii, sweetie.
Question number 3.
Number 3. If she can only play one game for the rest of her life, what does she choose?
Scrabble.
No, I said I don't know any games. Sorry, baby.
Russ and Nicole.
I'm going to go with any game involving vampires.
Oh, see, now he's doing your thing where he's not giving a straight answer.
Yeah.
I've been trained. They're picking off the
No, you were wrong.
Oh, that was a good one.
Battlestar Galactica.
Really?
She's a good choice. Yeah.
See? Well, thanks.
No, I mean, I could have called that one. But I was going off the reservation after that first one.
Russ, can I talk?
I love
again.
seeing the
Interrupt
interplay
No, you
here.
can't talk. Go ahead.
I'm going to say, and if I'm wrong, she's lying, Betrayal at House on the Hill.
The trail on the house.
I would have said Carcassonne.
You were gonna say,
now.
I thought he was going to say Carcassonne.
Or like on Small World,
Well,
but I
that's
don't
just
think she'd
now.
want to lose for the rest of her
Pick
life.
2, Craig. You should have picked 2.
It's always picking 2.
All right, so we're 10 points. Craig
5.
and Karen, 10 points. Rafe and Marisa, 5 points. Russ and Nicole at 0.
0.
All right, boys round.
Russ and Nicole have the
0.
short bus
And
score.
they've been married
Girls
the
are
longest, too.
leaving.
I think they're drifting apart.
All right, the girls
We
are
will
leaving.
be back.
Oh, I'm leaving.
Okay,
the road.
Drifting
bye.
apart. Here you go.
Back side.
Literally.
I thought they'd never leave.
I know. Man,
This is insane.
this used to be our show. I just want to point that
our
out.
show.
It was.
I'm going to blame Marisa.
Was is the operative word.
Yeah. Okay. So we have a sheet of paper, apparently with questions on it. We haven't been allowed to look at it yet.
Only Karen knows all the questions.
Right. So apparently we're each going to take turns reading a question,
All right.
and we'll answer. We'll write down our answers on the sheets. Okay.
Yep.
Question number 1.
Excellent.
Question number 1. It's Friday night, and for whatever reason, the two of you are in the mood to play games. You pick up the phone and ask who to come over and play. Russ, why don't you go first?
Ooh.
Who do you invite over on a Friday night to play games?
That's a tricky one because it depends on who's nearby.
That's true.
So-
or what game you're going to play.
Yeah, I would go. It's between 2 guys, my brother or Christian. I'm going to go with Christian because he's usually available.
Okay, so your answer is the Flores man.
Yes.
Rafe?
Well, I don't know how to answer this because I don't know if she's going to say nobody because we don't play games or if she's going to stick to it. And I'm going to say...
oh, come on, man.
I'm going to say nobody.
Nobody? Okay. All right. Write that down.
Who are you saying, Craig?
I'm going to say John and Susan because they live 5 minutes away.
Yeah, that was an easy one. They got a softball.
Okay. So I'm going to say John and Susan. Right. Now, question number 2.
Number 2. I guess I'll take this one. You show her your latest Dreadnought or Space Marine that you just have painted some really cool color scheme on, and you ask her what she thinks. She responds from one of the following choices. You ready?
Yep.
A, she sounds sincere. Oh, that spaceship robot metal man looks great. You'll definitely win with those things. Or she chooses B. She sounds very honest. Well, the blue looks a little weird, and the clashes with the helmet. The ones you did yesterday were awesome. I don't know about these, though. Sorry. C, she chooses sarcastic. Great, fabulous. When are you going to paint the hallway like I asked you for those toys? Or option D, which is probably what Granger's going to pick. D, my wife could not care less, but I love her anyway.
Ooh.
So let's start with Craig. Craig,
yeah, that sounds like that was written by a wife.
Craig, what would you say for this one?
I'm going to have to go with A, because Karen always does a really good job of sounding sincere and complimenting my painting if and when I show it to her.
All right, write that baby down. So he said A.
Yep.
So Rafe, what would you say?
Yeah, actually, Marisa will do the same thing. She'll feign interest, which doesn't quite, it's not spelled out in A, but I'm going to go for it. I'm going to pick A.
All right. I'm actually going to go with B. I think because Nicole worked at the store with me for a while, she'll actually give me an honest answer about how she thinks.
Okay.
All right.
And there you go. And we have
for Rafe's got to ask the question.
I think the questions need to get down to me.
Here we go.
Okay.
Number 3. You can only play one game for the rest of your life. What do you choose? Now, wait, I'm going to admit
That's
I'm
you.
confused.
That's you.
So she has to guess what I would.
What you're going to pick now.
What one game you're going to play for the rest of your life.
Play.
She has no idea.
All right. You want to go first?
No, I'll go last anytime.
Okay, who are you asking then?
Russ.
All right.
Russ, what game would you play if you had to play for the rest of your life?
See, yeah, because if I pick a miniature one, she'll never guess it. Wow. Tough call. I'm going to cheat. I'm going to go with
Surprise.
video games. I'm going to go to broad
You
category.
can't do that.
I just did. She didn't pick an answer on the one.
Yeah, I think you can.
So you're basically seeding the whole game then.
I'm just guessing which is going to happen here. Okay.
Okay.
Craig is next.
I don't know either. I'm going to say miniature game. No, because she'd never guess that.
She'll never guess whatever you pick.
I'm going to guess. I'm going to say.
Pick Carcassonne. Try to suck up.
No. Yeah, suck up. Yeah. No, she'd be pissed that we lost points.
Carcassonne. You go beat her with a card like you do on the show.
There you go.
All right.
I'm going to say Warhammer 40,000 because I think that's what she's going to say.
All right.
See, I think you've got a good pick there. I'm going to go with Mini-Men. That's what she calls my miniature.
She's going to say Mini-Men?
Mini-Men.
All right.
Okay.
Got it down, Mini-Men.
So that's it. Okay, we all set?
All
we all locked in?
We're locked in.
And all right.
All right.
Round 2 with the boys.
Okay, so the question was...
They're all worth 10 points.
These are all worth 10 points. The score right now is Craig and Karen with 10, Rafe and Marisa with 5, and Russ and Nicole with the small bus score.
All right. Here we go.
Okay. Question number 1 in round 2 was, it's Friday night, and for whatever reason, the two of you are in the mood to play games. You pick up the phone and ask who to come over and play. Nicole, who do you call to come over and play games if you're in the mood on a Friday night?
Not you, me.
Who is Russ? Who's
No,
playing?
the two of you. The two of you together.
No.
Nikki and Chris?
They said Nikki and Chris, which to the initiated know the Floreses. Russ, what was your answer?
Christian.
I say we give it to him.
Yeah,
Well, I thought the question was for me, not for the couple.
It worked out anyway.
It did work out.
We're going to give you those
That's
points.
10.
Okay,
We're back in the game.
Karen.
Mine's narrowed down. It's either going to be Sheree and Andy or John and Susan.
No.
And I'm going to say Sheree and Andy we usually pick ahead of time.
You just got to pick an
Last
answer.
minute, because they're 5 minutes away, I'll say John and Susan.
The answer I said was John and Susan! And
Question number
fair. Marisa?
Marisa would never call anybody to play games.
Listen, my idea of a game would be to wait for Rafe to hook himself up on a video game and then pretend I want to make whoopee. Just to see if he'll play the game. So I would invite nobody over. I'm not a gamer.
Rafe, what did you say?
The answer is nobody.
All right. So after question 1 in round 2, the scores now: the Gallants with 20, the Grangers with 15, and the Wakelands are on the board with 10. Russ, let's go to question number 2.
All right, question number 2 says, he shows you his latest dreadnought or space marine that he just painted some really cool color scheme, and he asks you what you think. And you respond, ready? A, you sound sincere. Oh, that spaceship robot metal man looks great. You'll definitely win with that thing. Or B, you're honest. You sound very honest and say, well, the blue looks a little weird and clashes with the helmet. The ones you did yesterday were so awesome, but I don't know about these. Sorry. Or you choose C and you sound sarcastic. Great, fabulous. When are you going to paint the hallway like I asked you to instead of those toys?
Ooh,
or
nice
option
dramatic
D,
reading.
I could not care less, but he loves me anyway. All right.
Oh, good God.
So
really?
what did I choose? What should we go for last? So Craig.
Yes.
Karen, what did Craig choose?
Whatever letter it was, I forget, but I am honest.
Honest, that would be B.
Be honest. I'll tell him if it looks good or not, in my opinion.
Yeah, I went with A. She would be complimentary.
Oh, I missed.
Yes,
I think that's wrong.
Granger. Marisa, what did your hubby say?
I would say C, except I don't let him paint things in the house.
Oh, I'm with you, Marisa. Russ is not allowed to paint.
I would say, cool, that's cool. I don't know which one is.
Would you be honest? Would you be sincere, honest, and give him your concerted opinion of his work? C, sarcastic, or D, you couldn't care less?
I would be honest.
Be honest. Rafe, what did you say?
I think you misled her.
Yeah, I think the responses are A, gee, dear, that looks great,
yes,
without
A.
really knowing. Yeah.
I would say
Marisa,
A.
what would you say? A.
I would say A. Gee, that looks cool.
Ding, ding, ding. A,
Right.
she would feign interest.
I don't know what that was.
Feign interest. That's a better word. Showing feign interest.
Right, yeah.
All right.
I would say it's me, right?
Yep.
B. I'd be honest.
To be honest. Woohoo! I think I did say B. Woohoo! All right, we'll score another
They're
one.
back in the game.
Yes, they are.
Yes, Russ and Nicole tied with
us.
with 20.
And the
Rafe
Grangers
and
are in the
Marisa,
lead.
25.
All right, we got it.
For
Now,
stupidity.
Rafe's ready for the last question.
Here we go.
I can only play one game for the rest of my life. What do I choose? And you're answering first.
Did that come across? We need to beep that
We'll
now.
have to beep that out.
There's only 2 games I know. One goes, Farrah, where are you?
That's Prince of Persia.
And the other one has a dog barking. Those are the only 2 I remember.
That's cryostasis.
So maybe one of those, but I'm probably wrong.
You are wrong. Those are video games. I chose Mini-Men. That's what you call my miniature.
That
was a game.
Oh, well. I said it's epic fail. Epic
Wow,
fail.
yeah.
Let's go with Craig
sorry.
next.
Okay. Karen,
I love you,
what did I pick? What's the one game for the rest of my life?
40K.
Oh, I picked 40K. Why?
No.
Why 40K?
Why?
Why would you say 40K?
Because that's your favorite game of all time, and you can paint them, and
okay.
you like to play them and watch it.
Okay, there you go.
Game.
It's my favorite game forever.
Now wait,
that.
what's the score? Let's do the score here
Well,
before
before the Wakelands go?
the Wakelands answer. See if they're going to win it with this or tie it or
Well,
what's
they
going
No, I
to
don't think we can win.
There is a bonus question.
All right.
Rafe and Maurice are at 25. Craig
Yep.
and me are at 30. Russ and Nicole are at 20. So this will tie for first place.
All right, let's see what happens.
We're gonna get
What was
a
the
bonus
question? Please
question.
repeat the question. Judges, please repeat the question.
All right, you got it. What game will Russ play for the rest of his life?
If he could only play one game.
One game.
Right.
What
Can
does
you
he
use it in a
choose?
sentence? One is the Xbox a game? Is video like he would play
You can say
video
whatever you
games?
want. Say
I would
whatever
say
you
he'd
like.
play the video games on the Xbox for the rest of his life.
All right.
Video game.
Oh, look at that. They earned points by cheating together.
Yeah,
All right,
well,
that's round one's cheat. We did it again. All right.
You cheated and didn't get any points in round 1. You cheated in round 2 and got all the points.
We're getting much better at cheating. We're getting much better at it.
There's one bonus question.
Okay, so right now we're tied. The Wakelands and the Gallants at 30, and the Grangers behind only by 5 with 25.
So this can be anybody's game with the bonus question.
How does this
Which
work?
is
oh,
worth
we
what?
get to answer it too.
15
Okay.
points.
15 points on the bonus question.
yep.
I have no idea how
No,
this is
nobody-
going to
How
work.
does this work?
Because you guys, the girls, I'm going to ask the girls will answer, and the boys either just say that's true or not true.
Okay.
Okay?
So we have to be honest.
Yes,
All
honestly.
right. Okay. This is easy.
Okay. I think Russ and Nicole are going to take it with this.
All right. Here we go.
Name 2 full armies that he owns.
Oh, nice.
So she names 2. You can just say, yeah, those are 2 of my armies.
Yeah.
He has. Oh my god, I'm trying to complete blank of every army that Games Workshop
Oh,
ever
no.
made. Has now because he
harder
got
than
rid
it
of a
seems.
bunch of stuff. But I'm going to say armies
She
that
said ever owned, didn't you?
Yeah, any 2
ever
armies that he
owned?
owns.
Ever
Yeah.
Space
Ever
Marines
owned.
No,
Space
name 2
Marines?
full
Space
armies
Marines
that he
sold them
owns.
all.
and
on eBay.
Lizardmen.
Lizardmen, both true. Both true. I own a
Yep.
fantasy Lizardman and Space Marine.
That's true.
Okay, I'm going to say Space Marines because you guys talk
That's a
about
safe
Space
guess.
Marines
Yeah,
all the
that's a
time.
safe bet.
And I really I remember the guys with the diseases, and I don't remember their name that you made with all the diseases.
I don't think
and
that counts.
I think
We
you
need a
have to
name.
name it.
We need
I
a
think you
name.
have to
Okay,
name
I'm
it.
gonna
I'd
give.
say you have to name it.
I am. I'm going to give you one name, but I don't think you own it. It's the only other name I can think of, besides the Undead, which I know you don't own.
He owns like every army but 2.
Tau.
Oh, he
I
owns
do own Tau. Okay.
Russ mentions that army a lot. That's the
I
only reason
do,
why I
I
thought of
do.
it.
This is rigged.
Well, Rafe hasn't been painting any armies in a long time. Otherwise,
much
I would have
latro.
recognized names of the armies. But
That's
I do
probably
know
true.
sometimes he threatens to join the army. So that's all I know.
All right.
I think it's the Marines he
Good
wants to
effort.
join.
Can you even describe any of them or the colors?
Some
or
of them are red.
we should
He has
get
a red army
we
and
should
a
get a
green
handicap. I think
Oh, yeah. And Lou bought you the biggest and best model,
that's the behemoth.
the Behemoth, whatever that
Yeah.
goes.
War
with.
Machine.
Okay.
Good effort, though.
Oh, War Machine. Is that
That's a
an
game.
army?
That's a game.
Oh.
Fedor's the army.
Good
but good.
try.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think this is a total crock for
But
Marisa.
it's something that you do at home. Can she name one?
No, I'm fine with it.
I
She
know.
already
Alright,
named
hold on.
Marines.
We lose because I don't know.
No, she named Marines, and she, I think, clearly identified the Khador in War Machine.
Get a color.
Absolutely.
Get a color and the fact that Lou gave him something.
Yeah. Oh, wow. The Wakelands are being hardcore about it.
Man, he's always the technician, isn't he?
Wow.
Okay, we'll give it to him.
Okay.
The score is Rafe and Marisa with 40. Craig and Karen at 45, Russ and Nicole at 45, so we need a tiebreaker, which I think maybe name one more army? Or who?
No.
who can look-
No.
Oh,
I
was
think
gonna say, go
we-
back.
No, we should think up a question.
Oh, okay,
we're
no,
gonna-
we can call it.
No, we're gonna come
That's
up.
for all the people that I say are
Rafe's
competitive.
talking.
I'm
What,
ready
Rafe?
with the draw.
Marisa and I are gonna come up with a question.
Okay.
All right.
Go ahead.
Oh god.
Tiebreaker
Okay,
question.
you want to take a second?
Yeah, we're gonna
Okay.
confer quietly right now.
Okay.
Okay.
Do you guys want to leave the room? And we'll put
Sure.
it on,
We'll,
put it on
why
the
don't
air.
you two leave the room? Because that's 2 people instead of 4.
Okay.
Of course, it is your
Good
house.
idea, Craig.
It's the wrong game.
Boom, boom.
My guess is it's totally not going to be gaming related.
Yes, the rest of the pizza is.
I guess it won't be able to be aired.
Yeah.
They're back.
Dramatic entrance,
They're back.
too.
That's very, high
very
drama. I
dramatic
like it.
entrance.
High drama.
High drama.
I'm nervous.
All right,
This
here we
is the
go.
only
Are
question
you
I don't
ready?
know. Yep.
Let's rock it.
Nicole,
Yes, Marisa. She looks
what is your husband's favorite dessert?
creme brulee.
Oh, that's totally correct. Totally correct.
I think he's lying.
No, creme brulee. He
No,
gets
no,
it
it's
all
fine.
the
I know,
time. Creme brulee.
Okay. Karen,
Carrot cake.
That's true.
damn it, we need another
This is
tiebreaker.
a game now. Let's just call it a draw.
All right, we can call it a
Come
draw.
on, draw.
Nobody wins.
Oh, I think.
We'll tell Rafe what we go. He tells everybody on our contest.
Instead of calling a winner, let's just call a loser.
We're all losers.
You're the loser, Rafe.
We're all losers.
I'm a loser in this one.
I'm half inclined to give it to the Wakelands because Karen knew some of the questions.
Yes, that's true. I wrote the questions, so by
That's
default.
okay. We'll call it.
I say the Wakelands edge out by
I didn't even
default.
think about that. She wrote the sticking questions for the guys.
Yeah,
But we got a lot wrong.
Yeah.
Same amount as you.
So, are we going to wrap up?
Yes, we are wrapping
Sure.
up the first time all 6 of us are on the microphones.
Wow.
Thank you for listening to our Gamer
Very
Wed
special
Game.
episode.
Very special
The
episode of the
very
Wed.
special
I hope you
episode.
enjoyed it.
I
feel
do
like-
have one more thing to
Oh,
say.
yeah.
Oh gosh.
I
here he
am
goes.
Rafe, Maurice's husband.
Somebody,
For now.
somebody decided he wanted to sleep in his own bed tonight. That's cute.
We will see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Hi, this is Jeff Carroll, the host of Podhammer, the world's first Warhammer fantasy podcast. Join me twice a month for the latest tools, tips, tales, and tactics from the Warhammer world, featuring witty and experienced co-hosts and special guests from across the globe. Get the most out of your game and download the show from podhammer.net or subscribe through iTunes.
I am the herald of the Northern Powers.
Welcome back.
Thank you, Craig.
And now we would like to do our thanks to all of those of you who did some iTunes. The last time was around episode 23 on April 29th.
Yeah, iTunes reviews are very important to the show. They help us get promoted within the iTunes system, and it's still the number one way people get podcasts.
Yep.
So we really appreciate you taking the time to go in through that sort of arcane system and to leave a review.
Wow.
And so we just want to kind of give the feedback.
Which isn't to say don't go to Podcast Alley, because you should go there too.
You can go there too.
Everybody should go there once a month.
Yes. But thank you very much for the folks. So, Rafe, do you want to do some of the folks in the US of A?
Sure do. And I was actually just checking the real iTunes because I think you jip us and you cut and paste incorrectly.
Okay.
For example, I was reading Prometheus. Oh, you did put that in. Okay.
Yeah. Try to stick with the bullets because
we don't have a lot of
Prometheus
time.
from the Prometheum from the USA says it's frustrating, not frustrating.
Yes, he did. He said that I pronounce frustrating. I often leave the R out apparently. And say
A lot of people do that,
Otherwise,
yes.
did he give a good review?
Yeah, 5 stars.
He did.
Okay.
He did, yeah.
But wait, what about you skipped about 4 people there? So why don't we
I
start
know,
with
because Grenache, hey, Craig, likes
Yes.
the rapid fire best part.
I like
yeah.
Grenache.
Yep.
Badge 713 says Rafe is the logical left brain. I don't know if that's true.
I have no idea where
I don't know how that works.
Logical and left brain. I'm not sure about that. Craig breaks into song.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't. No, I don't. No, I don't.
You do.
And Russ can't stell.
I can't spell. That's correct. I cannot spell or apparently
pronounce tonight.
frustrating.
Yeah.
Frustrating.
Lawn Dart
Seashells,
Omega.
Seashells. Yes. Lots of great
You know what?
names.
He understands that the point of gaming is to have fun, and
That
he's
is
saying that our
bullcrap. The point of
podcast
gaming is to win.
says the same thing.
Yeah, he
Yes.
likes that we
Yeah.
say that.
Yeah.
We do.
All Kingmen, he just thinks, frankly, we're outstanding.
Which is nice.
Braxel, less mediocre than he expected, and I'm glad.
I love that line, and that's going to be on a shirt. That's like not too horrible. I love that.
Me
Less
too. I love that.
mediocre than expected.
Less mediocre than
Glad
expected.
we're able to meet his expectations.
You're right. Lowered expectations.
Mr. Jamela, which I keep thinking is like Romeo's wife or something, because
Okay.
his wife's name is Jama.
wouldn't be
Best
Mr.
gaming podcast.
Thank you.
Junior 1983. Keep making fun of Hollywood.
Woohoo! Go,
You
Junior.
betcha.
Go, Junior.
Junior, you know what he needs to do? He needs to go back to school. The Haggard.
Nice.
Best buddy casts.
Yeah, that's before Russ decided he was going to evangelize Up.
Yeah, I
What?
agree with that.
What are you talking about? How's that doing it up?
You are not my buddy anymore.
Oh, nice.
All right, I don't get this one.
You didn't see the movie and you're dissing it. Yes.
Warbog of Ghetto D. He says we're veteran of future wars. I don't get it.
I don't either. Veterans of
Oh.
Future Wars. I don't get that at all. That's what he
Okay.
said. He said we're
I
like the
feel
veterans of
I
Future
feel
Wars.
like I am a veteran.
So
of
I
the
assume
future.
that's a compliment. So thank you, but I don't know what that means.
Maybe it's not. Maybe we only got a 1-star review. I don't know.
No, he gave us 5 stars. It was
cool.
just, I don't remember what it meant.
Endless Joe.
Yep.
The best, most well-rounded show. Period.
Yeah, nice.
Nice.
Ian of SF. great. Long, but great.
Yeah, he does say that he now can't wait for it to come out again. So he, even though it's long, he still loves it. So yeah, he gives a nice review too.
Ballville mentions words cannot do this show justice.
Thank you. That's very nice.
Clockwork D20 says Gamer Americana. We stay on target without even using a targeting computer.
Stay on target.
Yeah, the force is strong with us, apparently. That's excellent.
On target.
Thank you. I like the Gamer Americana. That's kind of cool. I like that.
I do.
I dig it.
He says we're like a fine wine.
Nice. We're getting better with age. I hope so, because I'm getting pretty damn old. All right, Craig, what about Canada?
Craig, why don't you take Canada?
Okay, I'll take Canada. Ritmaris says he loves the show. Rafe picked on the province of Saskatchewan, so pick on him some more.
Ouch.
You betcha.
Yes.
Two Top, don't change a thing. How about if we just change picking on Rafe a little bit more?
Or maybe we could just move iTunes to the middle of the show.
There we go. Bandit 1138 rates on Russ style. That bothers me because that is Craig style. Thank you very much.
What's splitting
Russ,
into two?
Russ always gets credit for your accolades.
I get it. No, he's right. He's splitting it 2+ with a reroll for gamers,
But
4+ for all others. I think that's being very charitable.
He's
for
not
others.
saying. He's not saying that you have. I don't have style.
I get it.
I am Big Willie styling though. I'm just saying.
You are. Yeah, you're big anyway.
I'm getting jiggy with it.
Mysterious Mr. G says the quintessential gaming podcast. Thank you, and awesome use of the word quintessential. And the bitter guy, pack a lunch, kids.
I love that one.
The bitter guy, was that you? Did you post into that?
No,
okay,
but it could be. I'm getting bitterer by the moment.
Right.
And Russ, why don't you bring us?
Got to bounce back to Granger. Just
bring us back home to the UK.
Okay, UK, which is not Ireland. Elfwin.
Actually, it is part of Ireland.
It's part of Ireland.
Elfwin? Well, not on iTunes, because UK is a separate entry than Ireland.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
what you're
but
saying.
you know, if you're in Northern Ireland, you're probably posting under the UK.
I'm just saying.
I'm just
telling you what's
your knowledge of that part of the
send
world.
Send your email to
weird.
Steve Jobs. My knowledge is based on iTunes, right? Which is probably weak. You know, I'm just telling you. Elfwin, I guess that's how you say it.
Elfwin.
There you go. He says we're not a Dyson. Which could you send me an email? Explain what not a Dyson is. Are you referencing
like a Dyson sphere?
Yeah, I was thinking it's like Dyson sphere.
So we're not huge and hollow.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I guess
I thought he meant like the chicken manufacturer.
Or
that's
that
Tyson with a T.
Oh,
right. Not the boxer either, which is also Tyson with a D. Captain Strobe. And when you miss your game night, the D6 generation will pick you up and hold your hand.
That's true. So true.
We're happy to do that for you. T-Smuggler, which is a great name. Favorite show on the Wargamers Radio Network.
And
you have been warned. Thank you very much. And Limbo Wraith, cut wood, some slack, he saw a string. That was
nice.
I just like that a lot. So thanks again for the feedback on iTunes. We do really appreciate it.
We do.
But you know, there's another way we can get feedback on this show.
There is?
And that is voicemail.
Ooh, voicemail.
Our favorite way to get feedback. So let's listen to some of our listeners who called in with some voicemail.
Hi, D6G guys. This is Bert Miller from the podcast known as Noisemaker. I just wanted to let you know that I really love your not too horrible humor, and I really enjoy the show. I listen to it every single time it comes out.
Aww.
I'm anxiously awaiting episode 34 right now. You kind of threw me for a loop there, but I think we'll be okay. I kind of delay for about weeks before I set my show out there, so don't worry. You're doing great. Wanted to also let you know, I got a question for you. What do you think of the use of plastic miniatures in helping gamers build up a quick, big-sized force without spending too much money? I have about, a couple thousand plastic Napoleonic and American War of Independence figures in my basement right now, about half painted total, and I really enjoy playing with them and enjoying basically solo gaming with them, moving them around my battlefield and having a great time with that. But just wanted to ask you about that, and plastic, I think that's one of the ways to go. You guys, you all have a wonderful day, and I really appreciate what you're doing for the hobby. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Oh, that was a very nice email. Voicemail. I think what he means, because it's a little confusing, because he just said plastic, but in his email, he sent us an email also. He kind of clarified the plastic was like the plastic toys, almost, like the little plastic army men we have over here, that kind of thing. And I don't know, what do you guys think about using those as a miniature wargaming aid for large model count events?
I I think that if you make it a themed event and that's all the models that you're using, you can have a lot of fun with that kind of thing in a game that's not scale dependent. Like a lot of these games have a sliding scale,
Right.
and you can use up to. In fact, they'll actually tell you in the gut shot rules that you can play with Cowboys and Indians plastic cowboys.
There you go, the little old red and blue ones, or whatever they were.
Exactly.
Yeah. So you can use that. I mean, it depends on your aesthetic, what your game is looking for.
Exactly. If you could go all out with a thematic event like that, and you could probably really get a lot of attention and have a lot of fun with a big crowd.
Yeah.
If you sort of embrace that style,
embrace the madness,
and embrace the madness. Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you mean like you're doing, you've got like a lot of Perry twins, Napoleonics, and then a bunch of little plastic army men in the middle, I think that might bother me aesthetic wise.
Yeah.
But I think there's a potential there for you having a lot of fun.
I think so too. What do you think, Rafe? Any other comments?
Yeah, I agree. At first I was going to say, I'm trying to picture it, and I was like, the scale. But then when Craig was explaining it, I agree 100%.
Yeah, I think if you stick through, I think it'll look fine.
Yeah.
But, it depends on your group and what you guys are looking for.
Totally.
But that's cool. That's a neat, clever idea.
Hi, this is Elon, or Squid Eye from Toronto, and it turns out I'm not Juan, so that clears up that confusion, I hope. A couple of things I wanted to mention. One is some friends of mine and I took a road trip down to Ohio, not for Origins, but just for a wedding. It was a great wedding. But we did bring along Small World and Roll Through the Ages, and had a really good time with them, except for the fact that while playing Roll Through the Ages, I was really excited, having a lot of fun, but was still a little wired from all the truck stop extreme coffee that I'd been drinking, and people kept grabbing the dice away from me before I had time to allocate all the workers, and grabbing my pencil before I could write down my score. And I understand that there can be a little bit of an issue in any of these games where you allocate resources and workers with analysis paralysis. But one thing to be aware of is if people are doing their thinking, then the least fun thing you can do is to take their numbers away from them and force them to do all the math in their head when they're already a little on edge. So
makes sense to me.
Yeah.
So great games. Had a lot of fun. Small World in particular, enjoying a lot. But do be careful that that you make sure that in your enthusiasm to keep
little PSA there
short-form games running, but when there's a lot of math to be done in your head, make sure you let the people do their thinking. A couple things I also wanted to observe. One is gamer ADD. Craig, I feel you, man. Infinity is my latest vice there, and the figures are beautiful, but I will never find anyone to play with. It makes me sad, but they're beautiful, so that's kind of fun. And one final thing is that I noticed the sides. Much like in a 3-player board game, the sides changing a little bit. I really felt last episode that Russ was the one you were ganging up on. So the power dynamics at work here, because that keeps things exciting. All the best, guys. Take care.
Thank you. And you do not want to mess with Squid Eye when he's trying to make decisions, because you know what you get? He'll give you the ink eye.
I was going to say, you get the ink.
Give you the evil eye.
Mess with the squid, you get the ink.
When I hear Squid Eye, I think of Squid Eye for the straight guy.
Okay.
All right.
Well, on that
or
note,
the fish guy.
So thanks.
Squid Eye for the fish guy.
Squid Eye for the fish guy.
That's why you're the talent. You always make it one better than mine.
And you know what? He's also friends with the bitter guy.
Is he?
He is.
I get that.
He
now.
actually is.
So, Rafe, what number can folks call to leave us voicemail?
Oh, I don't know. I'm still reading iTunes reviews.
Okay.
339-368-6051. That number again is
not creepy.
Hey, you know what's really sad is Billy Mays passing away.
That is.
Yeah.
That is very sad.
It's been a rough couple weeks for the
totally
famous.
Is.
Yeah. 339-368-6051.
You can even comment.
And that so is Juan. I don't believe it for 1 second.
We do. That's not Juan. Forgot we wanted to mention something.
Yes.
We talked about Twitter and we talked about Facebook. And last week was a very rough and interesting time in the world. And Facebook and Twitter both became very prominent internationally, in Iran in particular.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And we actually received our first ever subscriber to our Twitter feed
from Iran.
From Tehran, right. Iran.
Which is pretty neat.
So we would want to we want to make a special shout out to all of our listeners and friends in areas of the world where peace may not be the rule right now. And stick in there and play your games, guys. Because if you can play your games when things are going like this,
that's right.
Then you're a special person. And we're thinking of you.
Stay safe.
Stay safe.
You're here.
You come to us for your gaming news, rumors, analysis, and insight. And if you're not careful, you might even have a laugh or two.
Because that's how we roll at the D6 generation. Dice are our vice.
This RVR is going to be great. I can't wait to show this Chaos Scum the might of my Ironbreaker. Here I go. I've got him targeted. That Black Ark is moving way too fast. There's too many people on my screen for my ancient PC. Oh, no. I'm screen locked. Now I have to reboot. I'm just going to bed.
Rafe, don't grip your pillow at night in PC frame rate paralysis. It's time to level up.
Level up? I can't. My damn computer's too slow.
That's the point, doofus. With a Doghouse System PC, you can have just what you need for the best in MMO play. Play your game at the highest settings, experiencing the very best frame rates available, and all at an affordable price. Now go back to sleep.
When I wake up, I'm going to www.doghousesystems.com. It's time to get in the house and level up.
Welcome back.
Welcome.
And now we're going to talk about, we're going to have our first ever cage match. Wait,
ready?
Hang on, wait, Craig, go.
Cage match review.
All right. We thought this would be a fun thing to do. We got a couple short games here that are very similar in their target audience.
In fact, they're being marketed. One of them is being marketed right now as in its similarity.
We've talked about Werewolf on the show briefly before. We've never fully reviewed it or analyzed it.
Right.
And there's a brand new game out, not even released yet. Looney Lab sent us a demo copy to check out.
Very nice of them.
Which is very nice of them. And we did try it out. We'll get more of that in a bit. And so we wanted to compare these two games because Are You a Traitor is being sort of billed as the new Werewolf. It's sort of the advanced version of the game, a sort of a rethinking of that sort of style of game. So, and we can't really talk about that without talking about Werewolf first. So let's talk about these games, and then at the end we're going to talk about which one we think executes what better, and where are they mutually exclusive? What do you do with these things?
And this might be, I don't know. I'm really wrestling with something internally, which we'll get to. Which is, I made a promise to our listeners. So,
all right, well, we'll get to that promise in a little bit.
I know.
So, this is one way to get around the promise too. We'll get to that later. So here we go. So Werewolf. Let's start with Werewolf.
Yeah.
Now, Werewolf is an old game.
It's been around forever.
And it's had several different names, and it's been published by several different people under a different variety of names. So
it's also known in many places as Mafia.
It's been known as Mafia, which is just a retheming of the same game.
Yeah.
It's arguable. I think that Mafia might have technically been first, but then Are You a Werewolf came out about the same time, and both those are published in 1986.
Nice.
So not new. And in the original version of Werewolf, there were these three roles.
If it was that time, like right now, 1986, I'd be at my prom.
Yeah. What are you eating, Rafe?
Hershey's chocolate bar, the really big kind.
That sounds awesome on the radio.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm glad you guys like it.
Very professional.
Very, very nice.
It's very smooth at this time of night. It's kind of that little aperitif.
Okay. Anyway, so it was originally called Are You a Werewolf? And also Mafia.
Drinking my coffee.
So there we go. And there were only three roles back in the day. There was we'll get into more on the roles in a bit, but there's just villagers, the seer, and the werewolves. Now, Looney Labs, the guys who also sent us Are You a Traitor, published a variant later in about 97, I believe, and they called it Are You a Werewolf also. I think it's called Are You a Werewolf. Now, the most common version, I think it's the most common version, the one you usually see
currently,
people walking around with, is a game called Werewolves of Miller's Hollow, published by a bunch of different publishers. Asmodee is one of them. And I think this particular version, it's in the little red box, right?
Yep.
And it's come out.
And it is a little box.
2001 was when it came out.
Little red box.
Yes.
Now, tell me, is that candy bar that you're eating, is that one of those rare heroin-filled candy bars?
Nice.
That'd be fun.
Yeah, sure it would. Don't do drugs, kids. So anyway, so Werewolves Miller's Hollow is the current one, and the current version of the game plays 8 to 18 players. So this is
the more the merrier
party game.
Yeah.
And really, the game itself, and there's lots of different wacky rolls, but the game is just a deck of cards. But these aren't cards you're going to randomly deal or have a hand. Each card just has the roll on it. You deal them out to all the players, and that's the sort of what you're going to be doing in the game.
Yep.
It's definitely a party game. The theme here is that you're in a small village, okay? There are werewolves preying on the villagers. Most of you are villagers, and a couple people have special roles. And basically, each night, the werewolves kill some people, and then during the day, the villagers try to figure out who among them is the werewolf and needs to be lynched.
That's right. It's all about the lynching.
It's all about the lynching.
Like any good party game.
As we learned in Gloom, 50 people with pitchforks and torches can't be wrong. Props to Atlas Games for that great quote. So let's talk a little about the rules. So basically, when you're going to play a game of Werewolf, you need someone to be the moderator.
Or
so
storyteller.
Storyteller, game master, whatever you're going to call them. This person is... I don't want to say they're not participating in the game because they really are sort of adding flair.
And it's not. And we learned
like a fun role.
We all learned the hard way,
but it looks fun.
That's not an easy role to play.
It isn't an easy role to play. I mean, because you can do it very dryly and just say all the phases of the game, or you can get really into it, ham it up, and make it a little more fun and kind of role play the fact that you're sort of this
not
guy.
Only that, not only the flat versus the hammed up, but keeping track of all the stuff that you're supposed to keep track of.
That's the part I couldn't do.
We've played several games where the moderator forgot like who
key things.
Yeah, like who was supposed to be killed by the werewolves, and we played one game where Jeremy was the moderator and Rafe and I were the werewolves, and this was at TempleCon.
Yep.
I think we actually talked about it. Where Rafe and I chose to kill somebody, and then everybody opened their eyes again, and Jeremy went, and the person killed is Rafe. And it was just cricket, cricket. And we all just stood there, and then Rafe went, are you sure?
Right.
And there goes that game right there.
Right. So the moderator's got a big job on his shoulders because if he screws it up, it's going to kill the whole round.
You've got to keep track
Not
of
that
a
these
lot
games
of
go
stuff.
for hours, but still, what happens in Werewolf is you're going to have a large... We played games like 10, 15 people before.
We've played upwards of 20.
You can play a lot of people. Yep. Now, I don't think we've ever played with all the roles that come in the basic Werewolves of Miller's Hollow, plus the expansion. There's lots of different sort of special rules for each character, and that can complicate it. So we just usually play with mostly villagers. So the rules are someone's a moderator. Most people are going to be dealt a villager card, and the card you get is secret. Okay, so not everybody knows what you have. So you got a card with a picture of a villager on it. You're the villager. There's a sheriff in there, but that person's actually a villager that's elected, right?
Yeah.
So he's not dealt a card yet. And then
he's got a card, and on top of what you don't know that.
Oh yeah,
some of the best games you'll
Sheriffs
have is
werewolves.
where the werewolf becomes the sheriff.
Right, actually, you're right. Yeah, because someone's going to vote. So the sheriffs have elected a position, and then there's the werewolves, and depending on the number of players, the number of werewolves you're going to have, which is mandated by the rules.
Scales by how many people.
And so then there's other roles like the town psychic, and sometimes there's local hunters there, and there's some lovers that make some weird rule mechanics. And there's a police captain and a noisy little girl, all these little things. But basically, the game is your villagers, your sheriff, your werewolves,
and go at it.
So, Craig, what happens? Describe a round of this game.
Okay, so the way this game starts, I will pretend to be the moderator.
Moderator, check.
And the sun sets over the village, and everyone's been working hard in the fields, and so they go to sleep with the sleep of hard work.
Craig's the ham moderator.
Meanwhile, deep within the village, an evil awakens and stalks the dirt streets looking for its prey.
Nice.
Everybody closes their eyes.
Yes.
Then I say, werewolves, arise. And the people who are werewolves, and you're all sitting around in a big, huge circle.
You could also just say werewolves, open your eyes, but Craig likes to ham it up.
You betcha. And the werewolves open their eyes, trying not to make any noise, so you don't want to gesticulate or anything, because we've seen many werewolves brought down by their need...
By a small noise.
Exactly.
Right.
I hate when you have an exposed connector, and then you gesticulate.
That one didn't really work.
That was an epic fail.
Okay. So the werewolves...
That's what makes it even more funny.
First identify each other, so you look and you kind of nod so you know where the werewolves are, and then they sort of gesture by either tilting their heads and they have to communicate silently between the two of them or more on their target. They ultimately choose a target.
So they just point at a person.
Exactly.
And whoever the majority of the werewolves point at
is going to be killed.
Right.
Okay, then you say, okay, werewolves go to sleep. And if there is a fortune teller or a psychic, they have a special little round all their own. So you say, fortune teller, you wake up. The fortune teller opens their eyes, and the fortune teller gets to point to any other player in the game and is told whether or not that person is a werewolf.
The moderator will nod or shake his head.
Nod or shake his head, depending on
if they picked
whether
a werewolf or not.
Exactly.
Right.
Then they close their eyes. Then you say, and then the sun rises over the city, and everything's happy, and everyone starts to have their breakfast and get ready for work, except for Ross, whose bloody body is found draped over the well, bleeding into the only water supply of the village.
To get the scripts that Craig uses, send email to Craig at the D6 Generation.
And so, of course, right off the bat there, you've got a classic look on Russ's face when he realizes he's been killed.
So I've been eliminated from the game. And so now what happens is... the villagers then, right?
Well, first, if there's a witch present, there's a moment in time in which the witch player is allowed to save somebody. The problem there is they've now identified themselves as a witch.
And tomorrow night the werewolves will be eating them for supper.
Exactly. So there's a moment, and then Russ reveals his card, what he was. If it's a hunter... he gets to immediately point to anybody in the circle and they die because the hunter does not go down without a fight.
Right.
Unfortunately, mathematically speaking, the chances are pretty good that he's going to take down another villager with his big gun. But, there you go. Otherwise, it's either a villager or the nosy little girl. The nosy little girl is a great card because you get to peek all night long.
Right.
But if you get caught by the werewolves, they automatically kill you
instantly in place of another villager.
Exactly. And now, if you're the little girl or the psychic or the fortune teller, and you get that information, you find out a werewolf. The key then is you need to somehow impart that information in this next phase of the game without revealing who you are, because in the next phase of the game, all of the players, and including the werewolves, because they're hidden. Everybody votes on who they think is a werewolf, and that person is killed and eliminated.
Lynched.
Right. They're lynched, strung up right in the town square.
And that's pretty much the game. Now, the game continues until when?
The game continues until there are more werewolves than villagers.
Okay.
You don't
so what
go,
if there's no werewolves all dead?
Until the werewolves are dead.
So there's two end conditions.
Yes.
And so if the werewolves are all dead,
then the villagers win.
Otherwise,
and
the werewolves.
The survivors have a big party, and they all go to bed.
Right. So that's Werewolf. It's a very popular game at conventions or even any places that gamers gather and
I guarantee you we'll have it at Gen Con.
Oh, I'm sure.
And we'll want to have a big old game of that.
Yeah, and what I like about it is it goes very high count. In fact, there's variants. If you have two sets, you can merge them together and play up to 36 players.
Yeah, no kidding.
The expansion introduces all kinds of other wacky rolls. Now, the only problem with the wacky rolls I found is that
they complicate a very
they complicate
fun,
the game,
simple
and
game.
They tried to make the game language independent. So the cards have no words on them; they just have symbols, and the symbols can be hard to figure out which one's the witch versus versus the girl versus the. So you have to have the book, and then if you're looking things up in the book, people know that you're not just a regular villager. So you either have to have a group of really experienced players who all know the cards, have some kind of big card you hold up that has all the symbols on it. So it makes it a little more complicated, but they are kind of cool.
You forgot the sheriff mechanic.
The sheriff mechanic,
has two votes.
So so what after some?
No, but how you pick the sheriff too?
After the second day, so after the second round.
Oh, it is. You don't pick him right away.
No, after the second round, the villagers all vote on who should be the sheriff.
Right.
And whoever wins the position of sheriff actually appoints a deputy. Mm-hmm. So the sheriff has two powers. They appoint a deputy, which is the person who becomes sheriff should they die.
Some of these rules depend on player count and the variant of the game you're playing. So,
and other than that, when it comes time to choose somebody to lynch, the sheriff gets two votes.
Right.
Some of the like I said earlier, some of the most fun games you'll ever play of Werewolf is when a werewolf convinces the villagers to vote them in as sheriff.
Yes, it's awesome. So that's Werewolf pretty much. Rafe, do you have any comments on Werewolf? We're not rating it now, just any comments in general.
No, I'm not going to rate it. My comments is that it's fun, and even if you're having like 14 people playing and you're a villager and you're bumped out early, I don't find it to be disappointing. It's still just as fun to hang out and watch what goes on.
Yeah, it's a fun game. It's a very simple game.
And I agree with you said, Russ. It's fun with a sheriff and a hunter and a psychic and a witch. But after that, it's just be a villager. It's
there's some with like village idiots and there's all kinds of new rules.
The two lovers is the first rules I ever read that I thought, and we've gone too far. We've now jumped the shark. Is the two lovers, and it's like they have to find each other or choose, and then it gets
your mileage may vary on some of the wacky additions.
I mean, and I'm sure there are groups out there that do it all and they love it and they make up their own.
Well, and people make their own up. Yeah, you can see once you get the basic mechanics of this game, now you can see how you can just roll with it and do whatever you want, and why there's been so many different flavors, different versions of it.
Yeah, it's a very simple game. I mean, I made up my own version before I ever saw these cards based on stuff I found online.
Yeah. So that's Werewolves. Now, the new contender on the block, the new guy,
the new flavor.
In the one corner is the old veteran.
In the one corner, weighing approximately 3 ounces, the Werewolves of Miller's Hollow.
Right.
In the other corner, wearing the black trunks and weighing in at 4.5 ounces, Are You a Traitor? Well, there's a missed opportunity.
There we go. So Are You a Traitor? So Are You a Traitor is by Looney Labs, and it's brandy new.
Hasn't even come out
Not
yet.
even out. 2009, of course. It also is a party or social game. Also a game with only rolls. There is one deck of things. We'll get to that in a minute, but it's basically a roll game.
It's got a bit more card management than, I mean,
there's no real card management, but there's another deck. There's more cards to be had.
there is, because you've got the opportunity to steal something.
Treasure, yeah,
and-
okay.
I mean, not a lot.
Yeah.
Very minimal.
Right.
But way more than Werewolf,
Right.
which has none.
Yeah, right. Fair enough. So you got this game. Now, the player count for this game is 4 to 10. So it's a I can't believe I'm saying a 10-player game is small, right?
In this particular genre.
One of the challenges of Werewolves already, I'll just say it, is it's 8+ for player count. So how many times do you actually have 8 players sitting around? So again, Werewolf is a great game, and it's probably why it's so popular at conventions, because when else are you going to play this thing? You're not going to have 8 players lying around.
Or at party games at the Gallant House.
Or party games at your friends' houses, right. Now, Are You a Traitor, of course, is 4 to 10. And we should say also, we played tons of games of Werewolves because it's been around forever. We got the Looney Labs the Are You a Traitor game in about a week and a half ago or so, 2 weeks ago.
About 2 weeks ago.
We played one 5-player game, including Karen, Nicole, everybody on the show, basically.
Yep.
The 5 players. Then we had, shortly after that, on a Tuesday, I played a 6-player game with a different group of people pretty much entirely.
Yep.
It was just me was the only repeat player. And then at Ian's, we played a full-out 10-player game, including Rafe and I were the only repeat players, and I think one other player from the Tuesday night game, and everybody else was pretty much new.
And then did you play at Myriad Games or no?
No, I did not. No. So, but we played it 3 times. At what I was excited to get was 3 different player counts, because I was really concerned that different player counts it would be different experience, and because Werewolf really only shines at high player counts.
I wanted to bludgeon you with Empire Builder.
Okay.
At Ian's.
So there you go. So so that's the scoop with that. So now basically it's got rolls that we said, and there's going to be targets you're going to shoot. So how it's going to basically work is the fluff and the theme of this game is that there is this evil key, okay, and one of the players is the key holder. They have this key. That's their role. So kind of like we talked about Werewolf, there's a villager. So one guy's the key holder. There are these 2 wizards. There's a good wizard and a bad wizard. The bad wizard wants to get the evil key to use for evil purposes. The good wizard would like the key holder. The key holder's a good guy, and he's trying to get the key to the good wizard so the good wizard can destroy the key and save the world from evil. Now, the twist is that the evil wizard has made himself look exactly like the good wizard, so nobody knows which is evil, which is good. The other roles in the game, so you got the key holder and the 2 wizards. You also have some number of guards, depending on the player count, and then you have a traitor. Have I left anybody out?
Nope.
No. All right. So here's how it basically works. There's also that's the cards in the game, are these roll cards. And one other thing in the game is there's a separate deck of treasure cards, which have nothing to do with the primary play mechanics of the game. These are a victory point sort of counting thing, which we'll get to in a minute. So basically, you deal out the roll cards, and the instruction booklet tells you how to deal the rolls out depending on the number of players in your game. There's usually, for most player counts, there's going to be 2 wizards, and then some guards and 1 traitor and the key holder. After everybody's got their card, they secretly look at their card, and the wizards reveal themselves. Okay, so the wizards turn their cards over. Everybody know who the 2 wizard players are. Now there's a set of cards that are just the wizard's role, whether the wizard's a good wizard or a bad wizard. And now you deal just these cards out to the wizards. So you don't know which wizard is which. In a 2-wizard game, which is most of them, one of the wizards is definitely good and one is definitely evil, but you don't know which is which. Okay. Now, there's no moderator in this game, so everybody's playing, which is kind of a neat bonus. There's no game master. However, someone has to say, okay, now that the wizards have their roll cards, wizards, close your eyes. And the wizards close their eyes, and then the key holder will hold up, and this only works in 6 or more player games, but the key holder will hold up their key card so that all the other players, remember everybody except the wizard, knows who the key holder is. All right? And what that does,
aliens are trying to contact us.
So
what is that?
It's aliens trying to contact us.
So what that does is that
I always assumed Russ was a pod person.
That shows nice. That shows the guards plus the traitor knows who the key holder is, and the traitor is important.
Now, did you talk about who's hunting whom?
Not yet.
Okay.
So we've shown that the traitors, the guards know who the key holder is, and the traitor knows who the key holder is.
Everybody but the wizards.
Right. Now, the wizards will open their eyes, okay, and now the game is afoot. And the rules literally say...
Do you have to say that?
No.
The game is afoot?
The game is afoot. Now,
Can the game be a hand?
It could possibly be a hand, a head, maybe even a
I
nose.
wish it was a foot.
Now what happens
so you can
is...
step on it.
The players will engage in unstructured conversation. There's no rules for this part.
That's a key. It says in the book.
Totally unstructured.
Unstructured
until
conversation.
you think you know who you're hunting for. Now, depending on your role, you're hunting for different people. Okay? And what's nice is...
I'm going to do this part because you've been talking a lot.
Yeah, go ahead. So flip the back of the card over. Here's your tips.
No, I don't need
you don't
to. I got it.
Go ahead.
Okay?
You got it.
If you're the good wizard, you are looking for the traitor. Okay? Because the traitor is the person who's trying to hunt down... who are they trying to hunt down? They're not trying to hunt down anybody.
No, they are.
What are they trying to do?
Trying to get the key.
The good wizards? The traitor's not trying to hunt down anybody. I thought you said
you can't call stuff.
I thought you started with the good wizard.
I did.
Yes.
The good wizard's trying to hunt down the traitor. Okay. Yep. Well, I was going to try to do it in a circle, but you can't.
There you go. The traitor doesn't hunt anybody.
It's like anyway.
You're doing great. Keep going. You're doing fine.
Problem right here.
Here we go. The evil wizard is trying to track down the key holder because they need the key to do their nefarious deeds. The key holder is looking for the good wizard so she can get it to the good wizard so he can destroy it.
Right.
The traitor is trying to stop everybody and mess the whole thing up.
The traitor's got a kind of a weird role, but we'll get back to that.
The guards are looking for the traitor to stop the traitor from doing what it is they're trying to do.
Right.
Okay? At any time in the game when you think you've figured out who the person is you're hunting down...
Yes.
In Russ's version, and it could be in the rule book. I don't know. I never read it. You hold up your right hand like
stop.
you're oathing.
It's in the rule book.
You're taking an oath.
It's in the rule book.
You say stop, and you point to a person, and you say, "You are the so and so."
So whoever I'm hunting, right?
Exactly.
Now, the thing we should mention here is there are two teams going on here, okay? Because there's the good team and the bad team. The good team is everybody except
the guards,
the evil wizard,
the key holders, and the good wizard.
Right. The evil team is the traitor. It's always mostly two people: traitor and the evil wizard.
Yep.
Okay. Now, the traitor's got a weird role, right? The traitor can't stop the game, and he can't point at anybody. If he does, his side loses, and the good team wins this round, okay?
So self-control is important.
That's right. Because the traitor, remember when we talk about closing and opening your eyes, the traitor is the guy who knows who the key holder is. And remember, the evil wizard is looking for the key holder. So the traitor's job in this game is to somehow figure out who the evil wizard is, because he doesn't know who the evil wizard is either, and get the information that the key holder is Craig.
Oh, right.
You know, Joel is if I think Joel is the evil wizard or Rafe is the evil wizard, I might try to say, Rafe, point at Craig because Craig's the key holder. Now, the traitor can't point to anybody. Now, the problem is, as soon as I start making all these hand gestures and trying to point to the key holder,
the guards
go,
stop! Russ is the traitor!
Right, and as soon as someone yells stop, the round ends, and if they are correctly pointing at someone they're supposed to be hunting, then their team wins the round, and everybody on their team gets to take one treasure card. Okay, think of treasures right now as victory points. The losing team gets nothing, and then you reshuffle the roll cards and you play another round.
Yep, and that's the game.
Okay, now it's a game of individual wins because the first player to get 10 points in his treasure pile from pulling treasure cards is the winner by himself, period. But it's a team round in every round because in round one you might have been on the evil team, and in round two you might be on the good team, and so you never know what round you're going to be in.
Right. And so you could literally win this game without ever having actually done anything.
Yes. There's you can,
like other people could be active and you could be passive.
Now here's a few nuances to this
first,
game.
Just to clarify, because this was one thing that I had a question on when we played. The increments on the treasure, it goes from 0 to 5.
Right.
And the 0 and the 1 actually have special rules where if the 1 is assigned to a magic ring that allows you to steal somebody else's treasure.
Right.
And the 0 is a gilded statue, which is worth nothing, but if somebody tries to steal anything from you, they get that gilded statue instead.
Right.
So there's a little byplay, like I said.
There's a little bit in there, but most of the game is just this roll thing.
Counting up to 10.
Right. So Rafe, what did you think of just the play mechanics as you played?
Well, what
this
about
game?
what it sounded like when it was described?
Yes, how did it sound?
You mean just now?
Yeah.
I was sitting here thinking that even though I've played it for 3 times, I still don't get it.
All right. So what makes it interesting?
So if there's people out there that are like going, huh? And how come Rafe isn't like breaking this down? It just doesn't interface with me, I guess.
Yeah, so
it's probably because you don't have any exposed connectors. See, that's how you do it.
Yeah, very nice.
Would it be
that's right.
Genenicula? What word did he use?
Exposed connectors. Okay, so basically the thing is this, all right? So it is sort of a pointing game. It's sort of a game where you don't, like Werewolf, you don't know much information. Okay? Remember in Werewolf, when you're trying to point at people, you don't really know anything. You're basing it on some basic intuitions. Maybe how will you know your friends? Maybe their poker face. And you guys mentioned earlier, if you hear the noise of the werewolf, when we played the 10-player one, we started trying to figure out the traitor, the key holder's got to move their card and show they're the key holder. So people started trying to figure out, okay, I think the guy to the right of me just moved when he said, show the traitor card, the key holder card. And we had some guys, though, who just were holding up their hand quietly and someone else was moving their card, and people get confused. One round, Joel, I was the traitor, and so I knew that way across the other side of the table, Andy had the key, and Joel was a wizard to my left. And I just tapped Joel on the knee with my hand, kind of hoping that maybe he was the evil wizard, and he kind of raised one eyebrow, and I thought maybe he was. So I kind of started looking at him, and then I'd look at Andy, and I'd look at him, and I'd look at Andy, and all of a sudden Joel went, Andy's the key holder, and we got it that time, and it was kind of neat doing that little spy sort of thing. But what also happened, though, in some of the games we played, some people just intuitively thought that someone else was immediately the traitor based on how they held their hand or whatever, and immediately just stopped the game instantly and pointed and said, you're the traitor, right or wrong. And so because there's no structure at all, people can just stop the game instantly or stop the round and then restart it. People could take time and really think through and kind of make it interesting, but it's just sort of, I think your mileage really varies here on depending on your play group and how well they interact and how already warmed up to each other they are.
Right. I mean, from the description, it sounds a lot more fun than my experiences were.
Well, so let's go through a little bit of the comparison of the two games, and I think and let me just say I wanted to really like Traitor.
Well, this was supposed to be the big hotness.
I know.
We were all really excited to get
because
it.
I do like Werewolf so much, and on its surface, when you look at Traitor, there's so many cool mechanics there, and you sort of see what it's trying to do. So we played it first with 5 players. Now, here's my one thing I will say about this game. The game is unplayable, I think, at 4 to 5 players.
I agree.
Don't even bother. The box is 4 to 10, but here's why it's unplayable. According to the rules, in a 4 and 5 player game, the key holder does not display his card.
So it's purely a guessing game.
So you've got 2 wizards, a traitor, and a guard, and a key holder, I guess, in a 5 player, and then maybe there's one less wizard in a 4 player. I think there's just one wizard, and you don't know if he's good or evil or whatever. But basically, at that level, I mean, the traitor's got no role. He can't stop the game. He doesn't know anything. He's got no role. So it takes a huge chunk of the game.
Well, not only that, but there's no structure within which you're not looking like Battlestar Galactica when they do a certain thing. You could kind of judge, are they doing it the right way, the wrong way? There's literally no structure. So you're sitting around going, I'm the good wizard. No, you're not. Yeah. I'm the good wizard. And that's what happened in our 5-player game.
Now, a werewolf, you got the same thing. You don't really know, but as the game progresses and people die, you can maybe figure out a pattern. But
you don't have the same thing. That's the thing, because the werewolves just take action and then people react after.
Well, no, I mean you have the same thing in that werewolf is structured, right?
You nailed it. That's the distinguishing factor.
No, they're structured, but at the same time, in werewolf you have no information, but then some people do.
That's the thing. There's all kinds of mechanics there for information to infiltrate into the game itself.
So werewolf says don't even bother with less than 8 players, and I say for Traitor don't even bother with less than 6.
Yeah,
you got to have at least 6.
Yep.
Now at 10 players, there's actually a 3rd wizard, and you don't know, but there's 4 roll cards. You don't know, there could be 2 good, 2 evil, whatever. So that makes it sort of more interesting. And with 10 players, I did see the game getting a little more interesting, but even there. After we played our game, I went around and said, what did people think? And I polled our group. At the 5-player game, no one would play it again.
Right.
The 6-player game, Will literally gave it the worst D6 generation rating
We're
ever.
going to tell you. This is the first time ever we're going to have a listener
rate the game.
Rate a game because it's the funniest rating I've ever heard. And I claim rights. I'm going to read it.
We'll save it.
Right.
Well, here's the problem,
we'll save it.
Before we get to the rating.
Well, hang on.
This is going to go right here because it's before the polling. When you were explaining the game in the great big group, I was observing people for the purposes of this review. And there was a lot of like raised eyebrows and like, huh? And this is an experienced gamer group. It was hard to explain when people got their cards. They were like, I'm not sure what to do. I know I have a role, but what is my role? Who am I going after? And it's all there. It's on the card. It tells you who you're going after. So it was hard to even after it's explained.
It feels like there's like 2 or 3 rules missing from the game.
Here's what the game needs. The game needs the game needs a bigger piece of cardboard that goes in the center of the table that shows who's hunting who. It's on the back of your card, but it's not clear enough for those little icons. I think that's part of it, and I think it also it needs a little more structure.
Right.
I think the total lack of structure.
I don't know about the cardboard, but it needs some ritual to be done each turn so that there's some look for missteps and things like that.
And when we talk to everybody, because I think you'll learn who's looking for what after 1 or 2 rounds, and that
I don't.
And I think the problem was like everybody thought this game would be awesome if you just added this house rule or that house rule or did this. Like one suggestion that Dave had, which I thought was great, was force around the table everybody just asking one question and anything they want before anybody can stop the game or accuse anybody.
Right.
Something as simple as that would break the ice. Because we had games we played, or the game I played on Tuesday at the thing, we had someone's wife was playing, Dan's wife was playing, and she just didn't do anything because she felt sort of like, I don't know, and there was no like, help for it. So it was kind of interesting. But so I don't know about that part. It's just that's a little strange. But
let's go to the breakdown.
All right, let's go to the breakdown. So basically, here's the deal
with Werewolf.
So let's compare them side by side. Werewolf. One thing Ragnar brought up that was a plus for Traitor, and that's a weakness of Werewolf, is the elimination part of Werewolf is a bit of a weakness. If you're in a 20-player game and you're the first person killed just out of a random guess,
time to go play Rock Band.
You're stuck for who knows how long. So that
I disagree.
Sucks. Well,
I'm with Rafe on this, but I understand Ragnar's point.
Yes, I understand. You're knocked out. So however you slice it.
I have a blast watching it, but I can see where it would be a minus for people.
It also
some people.
It requires a moderator. So when you're thinking of your player count, add 1, right?
Also, when you're thinking about your player group, you need somebody who can keep some facts in their head straight. Right. Like I believe, didn't you have a bad?
I goofed.
You had a.
Yep.
Not nearly as bad as Jeremy.
No, I caught it, but I goofed enough I could have revealed something if I wasn't careful. It's easy to mess it up.
But it's hard, and you're not having the same kind of fun that everybody else is.
Right. If you're the kind of guy that likes being a game master, you'll probably be okay as a moderator. But it is sort of like that role.
Yeah.
And another big thing about Werewolf, 8-player minimum.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, and it really shines with much more.
Yeah.
So you need a big group for Werewolf.
You do. You absolutely do.
And most of the versions of Werewolf, the artwork, the components aren't that impressive.
They're not.
They're really not.
In the attempt, like you said, to make them sort of universal and simple, I would argue that the art direction went too far and simplifying it, and it's kind of like stylized. And
so you're really paying for rules there and some kind of functional card.
Right,
I mean,
exactly.
None of the versions are either black
Anybody
and white.
Who's played with both mine that I made totally breaking IP left and right and center versus these, it's just more fun to have something else to look at on your card.
So how does Traitor compare?
Well, you've got Ragnar's point.
Yeah, no elimination.
No elimination.
And you're on different teams every time. You're going to play there till the end, no matter how well you do. That's kind of nice.
There's a lot of variation in it.
Yep.
You don't need any person to act as a moderator.
Or track anything, which is nice.
There's tracking, but you've got the cards that do
it's
it
all handled by
you.
the game.
Yep. Rafe, what's your big negative on this one?
Well, Russ pointed out to me, it's just that there's no structure.
Right.
Therefore, information isn't banted. I was trying to say, well, what makes this different in a bad way? And it's the lack of structure.
Right.
And I think the lack of structure does 2 things. First of all, our power gamer friends, our gamer friends, are all looking for a way to break it or whatever.
They're trying to matrix it.
Right.
Where's the rule that I can look through and see?
And I'm okay with that. I'm like, okay, well, this is an uber casual game. But then you got people, like I said, we had first time gamers there. We had Nicole and Karen played it, and it was just too unstructured for them. It was like, you know,
structured for me.
Yeah, you don't know what to do. So it's
that's saying something.
So it's really that's that total lack of structure. I mean, I get it, and you could certainly add all kinds of cool house rules to this, but I think when you're evaluating a game in terms of a review,
now is it possible? Do you think that is it we didn't have enough buy-in? If you have a group of 10 people who are really super excited to just play this game and they're just really excited about it.
Well, no, I tried really
Dave
hard.
Thought of that.
Yeah.
So Craig, Dave, because Russ was haranguing us to play this game.
Yeah.
He was really had his D6G hat on hard. And I'm part of the D6G, and I still wanted to bludgeon him. And
with
Dave's like, okay, come on, let's play. Let's play this with as much fun as we can muster. And everyone laughed. He's like, no, I'm serious. Come on, let's really get into it to see if it's
so
us.
Did he DACA-moused it?
He tried,
he DACA-moused it. And we tried. I tried. I gave him my
If Russ
best.
with his DACA mouse hat on can't get enough excitement, then that answers my
here's
question.
The thing, and here's part of the poll. I said, after we played with the 10 players, you know, I said, look, because first of all, there was no let's play again. If that had been Werewolf, I guarantee that it would have said, let's play again.
Yeah, we play it over and over and over again.
There was absolutely, the general feeling was, what are we playing next?
Yeah.
And it's only, and by the way, this game is fast.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like maybe 15 minutes.
45 minutes to an hour.
Did it? No, it did not.
Yes, it did.
No, it
with
didn't.
Explaining and then playing.
Oh, well, yeah, okay, if you count explaining, but I'm talking about when the first card's dealt. The game is over. I mean, I think we went 4 rounds, and the rounds are over quickly. But here's the thing about this game. No one wanted to play it again. I said, well, who would want to? Now, one of the younger players there, Spencer, not to be accused of 40K radio, different person, was like, I think my friends in high school would really dig this.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's like, I think they would. So there's one. Now, also, maybe if you're drinking a lot, this game's better.
Okay.
And funny,
not the high school kids.
No, not the high school kid. Funny thing, 3 people said, I agree, and they all had beers in front of them. Which is so that was it. Most players are like, well, you know, if you did this or changed that, it'd be more fun.
Mm-hmm.
And then I said, would you go out and buy this game? And everybody said no.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, I think if you got the right group, it could be very cool.
Well, we also missed one positive, which is the art.
Oh, the art is nice.
The art direction.
The art is nice.
It's cartoony, but it's very, very
and
nice.
they're affordable. It's $15.
Yeah, it's no cutthroat
so
caverns.
It's very affordable. I mean, you know, you're not going to really hate yourself for buying it. So I mean, I'm not going to come down on this thing so hard, but it's just we had a hard time selling this game with our friends, and we have friends that have played just about anything.
Our friends are game hoes. I mean, they'll play anything.
They will. So again, I think you got
now.
6
What
to
do
10
you mean
players,
by
though.
sabotaged?
Oh, here's what I mean by it could be sabotaged. In this game,
You're saying either game can be sabotaged.
if you're bored, like Rafe got a turn where he was the traitor, or well, I don't remember what Rafe was, but Rafe immediately as soon as Rafe just one round, just as soon as the cards are dealt, Rafe said, it's you. And
Really?
Stop the end. So I think if you're bored and just want the game to be over, you can just keep saying, stop, it's you, stop, it's you, stop, it's you. And that's totally within the rules.
Yeah.
The guy's being kind of a jerk. I mean, I don't
being
think
an
Rafe's being
asshat.
a jerk, but
There is asshattery
so
about.
it's just trying to get through the game, you know, and so that's, you know, the mechanics have that little weakness in them that can be done. Now you can do that in Werewolf too, but there's a moderator there. There's if you're peeking, you get ejected. You know, there's
killed.
So that's some of that too. But
And there's no incentive to do it in Werewolf.
right. I mean, and it's a 50-50 shot. Really, I mean, if you're the key holder, you can just guess the good whiz. You got 50-50 chance.
And actually, I did that in the 5-player game, and I wasn't being it to be a dink.
Right.
I was doing it because I'm like, okay, there's 2 wizards, a key holder, I'm a guard. These are my chances. I've got what?
Maybe
3 and 5, 6 chance.
I mean, maybe to be fair to this
50-50.
game, if you really played it a lot with your friends and you really understood the rules really well, and you knew all the nuances of it, I think it could get kind of interesting.
I'm ready to rate it. I got a lot to say when I rate it.
So let's go. So that's
First,
2 games.
Yeah.
So, Rafe, what you
Now
want to
they're
do is
head-to-head.
you got to rate them both. Which one's better and why?
Okay. Oh, I didn't know I was rating them both. All
Yeah,
right.
rate them both. We're doing a double review here.
But first we have to explain the D6G rating system.
Yes, we do. We had a lot of
We
questions.
should. We
D6.
really should.
Now, for most people, the rating is for the average gamer. But for me, I give the rating, if you were me, you'd like it. So you take a D6, you roll a die. 6 is bad. 1 is awesome. And a reroll is even more awesome sauce.
What is
on
he
top.
talking about?
I don't know.
Right?
I don't know.
No, it
I don't
never
know.
gets to a 1.
Oh, 2
Here's-
plus. Whatever.
2 plus with a reroll is the best.
It's the
6 plus is the worst. That's it.
And a reroll
It goes
adds awesome
6,
sauce into it.
5 plus, 4 plus, 3 plus, 2 plus with a reroll. You can get rerolls into any of those, and that basically kind of makes it like a half. Okay, and that's it. So you're looking for a 2+ is great, a 6 is bad.
Right.
Werewolf. Okay, I got to give it a Russ rating. You're at a party. You're in the mood. That game is 3+ with a reroll.
Okay.
3+
You're
with
at
a
a game
reroll, okay.
store. You could play Agricola. You could play Lahar. You could play Empire Builder.
1+. 1+ with a reroll.
1+ with a reroll, whether or not you have a sharp stick to the eye.
Werewolf's a 5+. Okay? Now, here's what I got to say about Traitor. I really struggled with this part here, the rating.
So it would be
the Looney
part
Labs
of the part.
was awesome to give us this
Very
unsolicited.
nice.
They didn't ask. They just said, hey, you guys want to review it? We're in a unique position. Because somebody emailed and said, hey, do you guys just love everything? And it dawned on me, well, the answer to that
It's
is
weird.
we've
It
only
dawned
reviewed
on you, but it's been an actual conscious effort on our part since we started the podcast.
Yeah, Rafe just comes up with these things.
But go ahead.
No.
Go ahead, Rafe.
No, it dawned on us because we picked the topics that we wanted to review.
Right.
So we picked stuff we like.
Right.
Right.
On purpose.
Right, on
Right.
purpose.
With
but we
forethought.
pick stuff we like, so of course the review's going to come out great.
Right.
So we're just now starting to get Munchkin got sent to us, and other things are getting sent to us. And so I feel I have to be honest. And Looney Labs made a great game. Flux, I've never played it, but I know it. I've heard it's a great game. And I just don't see how this one made it out of playtesting. So I have to assume maybe it's me. Maybe if they make Flux, and Flux is a great game, maybe our game group is just not the type of great game group that would enjoy this game. That could definitely be a possibility. But I would not buy this game. I wouldn't play this game. I'm going to save, not steal Craig's thunder. And I agree 100% with Will.
All right. So Rafe would like to rate it the real rating, which we'll get to in a moment.
Yeah.
So Craig, do you want to go last so you can do the Rafe?
Yeah,
the Will rating? Okay.
I'll go last.
So you said Werewolf was a what was your final rating there?
3+
Craig?
with a reroll,
if you're at
or
a party
5+
and you're in the mood.
If your options were Le Havre or Agricola or Empire Builder,
5+.
or a sharp stick to the eye.
All right. So here's my thing. Werewolf is a interesting psychological game. I think it's really very clever. I think Traitor's clever too, but I think Traitor's weakness is it's too clever for its own good. I think is the problem with Traitor. But I think Werewolf is great. I would give it a. I think if you're at the right venue, there are very few games that can handle 10 players, never mind 18, in a reasonably fun way. And Werewolf does it more than a reasonably fun way. It's a very fun way to do it. So I think any opportunity I can have to play that many players in one game, I will take. So I would give it a 3+ if you're ever at a venue where that you could do that. I don't think it's something you break out at the local gaming store with 3 friends at a table. Obviously, you can't. But if you got 8 or 10 players and you all kind of want to do something together, a little social, and relax, kick back, have some beer and pretzels, Werewolf is a phenomenal game for that. I think so. 3+ for Werewolf.
Okay.
You going to have a beer at Gen Con?
Nope.
He doesn't drink.
I don't drink beer. I can have root beer and pretzels. Traitor. Are you a traitor? I think Are You a Traitor tries to fix some things with a werewolf in terms of the elimination factor, which I think it does do that well. I think it's very clever the way there's a more integrated sort of interesting little story going on there, and the wizards and the trying to guess who, and if your players are willing to stick some house rules in this game, I think it could make it very interesting. Either a very simple put a timer on the table before anybody can yell stop, which people could just kind of plead or try to get information out or whatever, and then counter. The traitor could say he's the key holder, and someone else could say, no, I'm the traitor, he's the key holder, because if you pick the wrong guy, the other team wins. So, but you need a little, because it's really going to come down to whoever can get their stop yelled fastest and pointing the right way as soon as someone is, because our gaming group basically said to themselves, if I say anything, I give information away that someone else is going to win. And so they all kind of clammed up is sort of what happened both times. Or you just went for the gun real quick and tried to outdraw your opponent. So it's kind of, I think it really depends on your group. I got to give it, I think if you're a group that really likes this kind of stuff, I'll give you a 5+ on it. But I think it really going to depend on your group. I think it could be a fun game, but not out of the box. You got to think a little bit about it.
All right.
That's me.
I think Werewolf is a great social party game. It's not a game store game Although if you're in the right game store, I mean, it's very dependent upon your location. It's very group specific. But the groups that I've played it with have been very diverse. We played it at Halloween, and everybody. It was the last game we played at Halloween. We played probably 5 or 6 games of it. And
have you ever only played one round of Werewolf?
No,
me neither. Always several rounds.
Okay, so which is my Halloween party is not all gamers. My Halloween party is a lot of our adult friends, many of whom aren't gamers. They loved it. We played it. It was the last game we played at PattyCon, which was all gamers.
Yep.
And we all loved it. I play it with my classes in theater in particular because of the whole storytelling element. I've played it with a class of 20 high school students in a theater class, which means it's got really high-level students, really low-level students. Everybody's interested in kind of communication and theater, but love it to the point where I can't do anything else for the rest of the week without hearing, why don't we play the werewolf game over and over and over again? Okay, it's Friday. Okay, we're going to do our little speeches, and then can we play the werewolf game? I mean, it's crazy. They love it. We've played it at conventions. I'm going to give it a 3+ with a reroll only because I think there are environments where you might be on the fence, maybe let's try it, and it doesn't work. But I haven't met anybody who's spoken to me after we played it who said, yeah, I didn't really like it. I mean, there have been rounds that have been better than others, but it's a great fun game.
What about Traitor?
Traitor, let's just do... I'm not even going to speak about Traitor. We're just going to talk about the math. Okay, I did it in my head while you were giving your review. We have 18 distinctly separate people playing this game while we tried to test it. 2 people said, yeah, okay, I might try it again. I might buy it, which is not quite a 6+.
Yeah, I think in the 10-player, I think we're giving it a 5+ because in the 10-player game, I thought we had 3 that would play it again.
Okay,
so
I only heard about the 2. I only heard
Joel, Ragnar, and Spencer, and then Dave was on the edge.
Okay, well, yeah, I don't.
Which is why I give it. Which is why I give it a 5+.
Yeah. I'm going to give it a 6+ with a forced reroll, which means if you roll a 6, you have to roll again.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is not as bad as Will's rating.
It is not as bad, and now we are going to give Will's rating. So this is Will, Shifty Will, and this is
small listeners, avert your ears.
Also, Rafe. No, I cleaned it up a little bit. Okay, this is also Rafe has also claimed this as his own. Will rated Are You a Traitor with a 6 if the die rolled off the table and landed on a 6, then got eaten by the cat. Then the cat pooped it out, and again, it landed on a 6.
Right.
That's
Will. And you have to understand, Will, anything that is remotely in a game box that is shiny, Will is all over.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he buys it, he evangelizes it, he plays it.
I'm telling you,
while we're playing this game,
he is the love child of Rafe and Ross.
I have never seen Will not like a game, and while we're playing this game, Will is like dying inside. He's like physically in pain.
Yep.
So, I don't know, Looney Labs. I thank you so much for sending us the
so
game.
nice to send it to us.
And we think we gave it a fair shot. And I think some game groups will really enjoy this game. And I know we're probably going to get some email going, what are you talking about? We played it, a month from now. We thought it was great. I hope you can. But for us, it just didn't fly.
Right. Maybe we like Werewolf too much.
And maybe we like Werewolf too much. Maybe that's our problem. It could be.
It could be.
But so anyway, we once said we were never going to talk for an hour on a game we didn't like. So what we cleverly did was we invented the cage match, which allows us to bring in games we don't like in with games we do like. So it's not an hour.
Especially if they're not big games.
Right. So that way we can talk about 2 cool games, and compare and contrast them. And not always will we not like one of them, but sometimes we may not care for one as much as the other.
Yep. There you go.
There you go. That's
and
Traitor.
There's no hate. We're
just really disappointed.
We were disappointed. We really actually were disappointed because we were looking forward to this and we wanted to like it more than we ended up liking it.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh well, can't win them all.
Nope,
can't win them all.
Thanks for listening, folks.
Bye-bye. Today's episode of Did You Ever Notice is brought to you by Elan, Squid Eye, and Justin, the Bitter Guy, a couple of Canadians who by this time should have recorded the first episode of a new podcast, Squid Eye and the Bitter Guy, which will cover RPGs, comics, the gamut of geekery, but sadly without the benefit of Craig's speaking voice. I'm not exactly sure how to take that. Did you ever notice that some people are never happy with things? Some people are always, well, for lack of a better word, grumpy. But within that subset of people, relatively common in the general population as well as the subculture we call gaming, there's a group of people who are really grumpy. Now, as small as this group is, it splinters into an almost infinite number of micro subsets. People who are grumpy for all sorts of reasons. People who are never satisfied once they have something, or are never satisfied once someone has done something for them, or people who are never satisfied with things that they do for themselves. But somewhere toward the top of the grumpy person pyramid is that most mysterious and enigmatic of people, the naysayer. The people for whom nothing is ever going to be good enough, because before they've even experienced it for themselves, they've decided upon some strange criteria known only to them, or maybe using some special sixth sense that only they have access to, that things are going to suck. They are the people who have tried everything already and know it doesn't work. They're the ones to whom benefit of the doubt is something that only happens to other people. You could be Einstein explaining the gravity of a ball dropped from a jungle gym, and these people will tell you all about the flaws in your basic premise, as well as what happened when they tried the experiment and crushed their little puppy Kiki when they were 12. In our cozy little subculture, these are the folks that know a new game is going to fail not to suck before they ever see the cover art. They're the ones who see the flaws in a new edition and what the flaws are going to do to an already flawed system, and they know that there's no reason to be optimistic because they've seen it all before. The most curious thing about these folks is that the more anticipated the things they are talking about are, the more excitement is being generated within those around them, the harder they work to bring the light of their truth to everyone else's lives. Take summer movies, for instance. This is a perfect time for these people to shine. For years now, we who like fantasy, sci-fi, comic book movies have been blessed that our stars, more or less, have been on the rise. Every summer has its share of these movies, and many gamers have come to take their summer movie fix for granted. Now, are we expecting every one of these movies to be Empire Strikes Back, Raiders of the Lost Ark, or Iron Man? No. Will many of them probably stink on ice despite or maybe even because of the fact that we're so invested in their themes? You betcha. But you know, and I know, that most of us will go see them. And even those that are pretty darn horrible will have something to recommend them. Either a scene or a character that will make it into our games or our discussions. Maybe there'll be a line or two that will pop up over and over the years. Or maybe it'll just be the guilty pleasure of, despite the fact that you didn't like the plot or the characters or the special effects, maybe, just maybe, it was pretty neat to see spaceships on the big screen. But these nadering nabobs of negativity will have their day, and it will begin long before you get a chance to see your movie. And the more other people are looking forward to it, the louder and more obnoxious they will be when they tell you how much you're going to be wasting your time and money. How many of you have heard the local characters, be they hammerheads, Matrix gamers, or such like, talking about how they would never go see Star Trek, or Transformers, or G.I. Joe, or whatnot? They've got all sorts of interesting reasons, and no lack of breath they'd like to expend in telling you all about them. Are they entitled to their opinions? Certainly. Do they have a right to talk about them? In America they do, sure. But you know what? They're not interested in just getting their opinion out there. They need to convince you that you're benighted, that you've been fooled by the corporate big brothers, and that you're going to be that much closer to going to hell if you go to see those movies yourself. They're not happy just bringing your day down a little. They want to drag you into the gray world of permanent disappointment and resentment where they live, where the only movies worth watching are dubbed cartoons from 20 years ago, and the only TV worth watching was made in Eastern Europe longer ago than that. But you know what? And now I'm talking to you. We don't care why you don't think these movies are going to be any good. We don't care that you aren't going to see them. In fact, we probably didn't go ask you to go see them with us in the first place. Keep your negativity to yourself for once, and let us enjoy our summer guilty pleasures, okay? We don't care what you think about the movies. We probably don't care what you think about any of the things you hate. For the love of God, just shut up! Sorry. And don't think the irony of me complaining about grumpy gamers is lost on me. Anyway, to the rest of you, get out there if you're so inclined and enjoy the summer movie fair. Or don't, it's totally up to you. Just don't expect me to care about why I shouldn't see something that you yourself haven't seen either. That's it. Have a great summer movie season, and good night.
Achievement unlocked! You've made it to the end of another D6 Generation episode, the podcast whose humor has universally been acclaimed as not too horrible. Please let us know what you thought of the show by either emailing us at info@the d6generation.com or by posting in our official D6G episode thread at the top of the DACA discussions forum on DACA.com. If for some inexplicable reason you actually enjoyed this show, you can help others find out about it by leaving positive reviews on iTunes. See you in 2 weeks. Thanks for listening, and happy gaming.
The theme from When Wives Attack comes from the soundtrack of The Last Night on Earth, the zombie game, courtesy of Flying Frog Productions, and is a composition of Mary Beth Magalanes.
With his headphones on, I'm a low talker.
You have to be
I like it when the man talks to me, this low talking voice.
That's right, baby.
Oh, God.
I'm going to whisper in your ear and talk to you about Agricola. I'm going to talk about farming, sheep, cows.
You had to go with the sheep.
Vegetables.